Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Gamer Actual, the weekly podcast dedicated on some of the biggest in gaming news. You can find us on all major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcasts and Spotify, with a visual version of this podcast being available on youtube.com/gameractual. This podcast is also brought to you in part by the guys over at X Elements. To find out more about X Elements and what they do, check out the podcast notes. You guys know what it is by now, bro. But without further ado, your boy Cash. Now we are with my esteemed co-host and our special guest, a very special guest, Jake Twitchin. Fellas, what's
Where's
good?
the hand clapping? Where's the cheers?
Hey.
Oh, I got the hand clap
on.
for y'all.
Yeah.
I got. Oh,
Good to be back.
Oh, it's good to have you back, bro. We were talking about you the other day. It was like, yo, we need to get Jake back on the show.
Yeah, Cash. 28 episodes. You can tell that experience is like it lead into that intro. That was smooth. That was smooth like butter.
I'm trying, bro. Ooh, Bama, bro. Thank you for the follow. Welcome in. But yeah, but yeah. Guys, we have a stacked episode tonight. We got a pretty stacked episode tonight.
We got a stacked lineup too. We got Jake in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got Jake. We got
I
more.
love that shirt. Like that tie-dye shirt. Lends
Right?
itself perfect to this show. You put on that shirt,
Herb.
think I'm gonna be on Gamer Actual. I have to look my best. I love it. That's the shirt. The shirt.
Fuck yeah.
But yeah, before we get into anything, guys, how y'all doing? How you doing tonight?
Doing good.
How we feeling?
Doing good.
Good, man.
Good. Labor Day weekend.
Nice episode.
Yeah.
Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
Screw barbecuing with the family. It's Gamer Actual.
We kind of had a big week in gaming this week.
Yeah,
We kind of had a big gaming, big week in gaming this week.
I was gonna say somebody's got.
Yeah. The news this week, I think was really cool. Lots of great stuff.
For sure.
All right,
Crazy
so
news, crazy games. I mean, I put up like 5 new games that I played this week.
damn.
Wow.
Okay.
For me, I've just been doing Soul Calibur and Grand Blue. I'm putting together like a FGC lore channel, and those are the 2 games I'm starting with. So I've been filming a lot of content.
Okay. So here's the thing. Usually I would ask our guests like what games they're playing this week, but I can't with Jake because Jake plays so many fucking games each week. Sorry, it's early. I know, but bro, I can't ask because he's just gonna take over the entire show.
We would need a whole other segment just for Jake's gaming.
Bro,
Yeah, trickle it in.
What 3 games did you like the best this week? I'll leave with that.
That works.
that's also that's actually a
Visions
good
of Mana.
Mhm.
Visions of Mana number
yeah.
1.
one.
Star
Yeah,
Wars
I rated out to
Outlaws
him.
#2.
While he was playing that game looked fire. That game,
I know.
was
We have
fire.
said
We're gonna get
news
into
about
it for
that.
sure. That's
We have
got
sad news about
big
that studio.
top 10.
That game
Yeah,
is what
potentially.
I, as a kid, was hoping Final Fantasy would play like.
Isn't that like the Secret of Mana series, right?
Yeah, it's part
It
of
is,
that.
yeah. It's the Mana
universe.
series, which started as Final
Final
Fantasy
Fantasy.
Adventure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's
And
I
like
didn't
kinda
know that
like
lore.
old school.
tried to
game.
distance
Old-
itself.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Uh-huh.
See,
Yeah,
that I
and then
didn't know.
I'll give my third game retroactively to Core Keeper, which came out in like 1.0 this week, but I have like 50 hours in it from early access. So
Okay.
out to Core Keeper.
50 hours, Jake?
50 hours, and you played Star
Yeah,
Wars too? Wow.
I beat
That's
Star Wars.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
Dude, Maury,
I can't
this
keep
guy's
up.
gonna beat you to the 100 platinum trophies. You better be careful.
I'm
Damn
not
it.
completing it.
Damn it.
I'm not going completionist.
This should be a race at
aren't
this
you on
point.
69?
Yeah, we do.
He's on 69, yeah.
69 plat trophies, I think.
I think he is. 69
Sick.
flat trophies the last time we spoke to him.
I'm down to put that
Nice.
race out there if we want. Like, let's put the race out there.
Who's gonna get to that
fuck
100
that.
first? Is it Jake
I'm not
or is it
beating Jake
Maury?
switching.
Yeah,
I'm not beating
no,
Jake.
I don't do completionist runs. I
I'm
only
not
have
beating
three.
Jake's
I
ass,
only have
no.
3 platinums.
But-
Una-
Okay.
Oh
So
no,
you
he
have
says he only
platinum
has 3
start
platinums.
already then.
Yeah, you have
Yeah. I'm not going. I don't go hard. I play a lot of a little and a little of a lot.
So
Yeah,
you
he's not a
just run-
completionist. He's
Fun
not a
you just run
completionist.
credits and
I have
on to the next
never
one?
platinumed a game.
Yeah.
In
I
my
have.
life.
I have.
I was like that.
Wait, hold on. By platinuming, you guys mean getting all the trophies?
Platinum
all the
trophy.
trophies.
That
That
is
never happened in my life. It takes a special kind
Yeah.
of brain to do that, and I just don't have it. I just don't have it.
But Heartless, if Pokemon had platinum trophies, would you have?
I
that platinum
never
trophy?
completed a Pokédex in any Pokemon
Oh.
ever.
Me either. Yeah.
Ever.
I don't think I have.
Three.
I don't think I have.
By the way,
No, me
Tinky
neither.
has an entire Pokédex of shinies from Sword and Shield era. He has a whole Pokédex. That
You
to
say
me,
that like that was
I
that
think it took
long
him
ago.
400 hours to do it. Nah,
Jesus.
Heartless, you say that was that long ago, Sword and Shield era. Like
it's 4 years ago. No,
I think
Yeah.
for me, I got to around 500 in X and Y, but that's like 200 less than the full Pokedex at the time.
no,
That was as far as I got.
That's crazy.
Jesus. That's insane, bro.
Crazy.
But yo, we got a bunch of games that came out this week. So Maury, just let the people know what the games were that came out this week.
Hit us.
Dude, I'm sorry. Dude, holy shit. My computer is like, it's guys, it's on its last fucking leg. Everything's like glitching up. I'm hearing like what one of you says, and then it comes back like 5 seconds later. So like right there, Cash was opening and he's like, dude, we're gonna go through the games of the week, and then it just cuts off, and then it just was silence. And I'm like, oh, they're waiting for me to start fucking talking. Folks, welcome back to Gamer Actual, a weekly podcast covering all things of games. God damn me.
Good save.
Good.
It was a busy
save.
week in the world of games. Very big week. Jesus fuck. I'm gonna open with DLC and expansions, and then we're gonna move off onto games. Guys, it's so shit, right? It's not going to like register that you're talking to me. So just I'm gonna run through it, and then we're gonna circle back to whatever you guys want to talk about whenever I get to the end. Tough. Fuck, this sucks.
Love it.
God bless America. Folks, the DLCs and expansion. Overwatch released with Juno as the new support hero, and that was on August 20th. We also had World of Warcraft released on the PC on August 6th, and the First Descendant one releasing on August 29th. Now for the games of the week.
The new hero.
Up, we have a very beloved someone here in Gamer Actual today, but I'm not going to be able to hear what he's saying, so it'll be fun. Core Keeper released on the PC on August 27th. Awaken as an explorer in a long-forgotten cavern, teeming with treasures and secrets. Harvest relics and resources, craft advanced tools, build your base and explore unique biomes in a dynamic, evolving world just waiting to be unearthed. That's Core Keeper. Crypt Custodian, released on the PlayStation 5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. That's a goddamn mouthful on the August 27th. August the 27th. Get ready to explore the afterlife and beat up monsters with your broom in Crypt Custodian. Step into the shoes of Pluto, a mischievous cat who's just died, and after a disastrous meeting with the Afterlife Guardian is sentenced to be the Afterworld's janitor forever.
Wait, I know you said to wait, but
That was custodian.
another game about cats?
Monster
What
Run!
is all these
The
games?
forest is under siege.
Not hearing
Huh?
you.
You know I'm deaf. You know I'm at a disability here. Fuck! Stop setting me up to look like a moron, Germ. Damn it.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
They can say all these things about cats.
It was so bad. I heard Germ say it. Dude, I heard what Germ said like 2 seconds later, and I was like, fuck me, man. I feel so inept. Did I did. No, I didn't do Monster Run. Monster Run on the PC, released on August 27th. The forest is under siege, and only you, a fire-breathing monster cat, can stop the encroaching human empire in
Poor
this action
cats.
RPG.
Like,
Oh
wow.
no. Oh no. Oh no. The Land of Magnates. The Land of Magnates, released on the PC on August 27th. An epic adventure of love, betrayal, and sacrifice awaits, rooted in Middle Eastern myths and legends. As Shabazz, a disgraced prince, travel across magical realms, defeat minions of darkness with the magic of your Land of the Sun. We also had a Kimbot, which released on the PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And that's 20. Play as expected sidekick Shipset. Blast your way through armies of robots, pilot spaceships, and forge your own path on a mission to save the universe. Set in a sci-fi world where only robots exist, travel the galaxy, experience non-stop robot mayhem, explosive action. Bloodless, released on the PC on August 29th. And it is a 2D action-adventure game developed by Point and Sheep. Players will partake in a journey of redemption as Tomei? I'm going to let you guys do this here. I'm going to see if it'll actually catch up in time. What is that? What name is that? Is that Tomo?
Tomo?
Uh,
I don't know.
Oh wait, where?
where? Emio?
Emio?
Bloodless.
Bloodless.
In
Let me see.
Bloodless.
It's Tomo.
Oh, sure.
It's
Tomo, sure.
second line of Bloodless.
Yeah, Tomo.
Players will part in a journey of redemption as Tomo, a Ronin who has relinquished her blade and forsaken bloodshed, master an array of disarming counters and powerful key attacks to defeat enemies. Emio, the Smiling Man, Famicom Detective Club, released on the Switch on August 29th. Hold on. The laptop's going to take a little second. There we go. As a member of the Utsugi Detective Agency, it's up to you to solve the tragic death of a student. A clue recalls cold cases from the past and an urban legend about a killer with a disturbing modus operandi. Gory Cuddly Carnage. What a phenomenal name. Gory Cuddly Carnage. Released on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. God damn, that's a mouthful. On August 29th. A third-person gore-filled melee combat game developed by Studio. Players will embody the deadly Gory and his shint hoverboard on an adventure to put an end to the adorable army. Gundam Breaker 4, released on the PS5, PS4, Switch, and PC on August 29th. Break, build, and battle like never before. Build your personal Gundam, I'm assuming, with parts from a huge collection of kits and explore the deepest customs ever. Put your to the test with robust, frenetic combat and show up your build in stunning detail with the new diorama mode. Monster Jam Showdown. PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, Xbox Series X and S, and Xbox One, and Switch, and PC. God damn, that's a mouthful. On August 29th. Race through massive off-road tracks, master insane stunts, and crush the competition. Guys, the next one's a big one. It's been going viral
But
this past week.
You gotta read it.
And it's titled...
This one's gonna go viral.
Hold on.
Yeah,
Can we
this
stop
is
him now?
what-
I gotta ask him a question. Do you not know what Gundam is?
No fucking way Mori does not know what
He
Gundam
asked
is.
us, is it Gundam?
said Gunpla.
Gunpla.
Oh no, that's what
is-
they call
It's a different thing. It's the art of making toy Gundams.
yeah.
Oh, see,
Yeah,
I
I
didn't
didn't
even
know
know that
gunpla.
word.
That's
I
I didn't
gunpla.
know
Yeah,
that's what that's
No
a
gunpla.
slang for those kids.
yeah, that's what
Okay.
it is. That hobby is called gunpla.
You know, those are hundreds of dollars. Like,
Yeah,
sometimes
bro.
Oh yeah, yo,
It can
I
be,
follow
yeah.
someone
They can
on
be cheap
TikTok
as-
that I met
Bro,
that
I
does
got
the
one
same
back
thing.
here. That is a
there's
Nike
there's a
Gundam collab.
video going viral for a minute where this girlfriend came.
Whoa!
and
Stop!
broke
Stop!
all
Stop!
his
Stop!
Gundams.
Stop!
Sorry, we got off
stop,
on a
stop,
tangent.
stop,
Sorry.
Stop! Wait! Heartless, what? He just said he had a Nike Gundam.
What?
This man just said he had a Nike Gundam collaboration. No
comes in an
fucking
SD
way.
I have to
box,
see
comes
this.
in a Nike
Take that out of the
Gundam
box. Take
And
that
it-
out of the
This thing
box.
is
We
a-
have to see.
Gundam action figure.
And it looks like a sneaker box.
It's a collector's item, baby. I had a copy.
God damn! How much you selling it for? How
That
much you
was,
selling it for, Hollis?
I got
That's his retirement right there.
Man said he has 2 of them.
Yeah, no, seriously though, I bought 2 of them just for this exact
2 of
reason.
them.
So if you're really interested, hit me up, DM me. DM me. Guess how much I paid for them each?
200.
$27 a piece.
Wow.
How much do they go for in the market, a reseller's market?
I should look it up. But this is a video game
Let's take a
podcast.
profit on that.
Let's let Maury get back to what he's doing.
That's a profit guaranteed. That's a guaranteed profit flip, no matter what.
I'm not trying to profit off cash. I'm looking it up
crazy.
though. But let Maury get back to what he's doing.
Yes.
Folks.
Maury,
Big
go
game.
ahead.
Big game this week. If you didn't know, one of the most anticipated releases, and that is Squirrel with a Gun, which released on the PC on August 29th on PS5 and Xbox, which are what?
12.
PC on August 29th, and it's releasing on PS5 and Xbox on October 12th. Squirrel with a Gun is a sandbox game that focuses on exploration and shooting combat. Defend yourself from random encounters with agents using various weapons, climb and jump across platforms with your natural squirrel skill, and use weapon recoil to cross even greater gaps. Explore the neighborhood from a squirrel's eye view. Talk with residents of the neighborhood and help them out for goodies, or mug them for the goodies. That's awesome, and we'll get back to that here in a
Wow.
second because my
If that's
computer's
not a
still
game
shitting
of the
the bed.
year description, I don't
God
know
damn
what
it.
is. Game
Visions
the
of
year.
Mana.
Wow.
Visions of Mana released on the PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, and PC on August 29th. This is the latest entry in the Mana series. Square Enix's action-adventure game returns. Embark on a new adventure with Val, the newly appointed Soul
Val.
Guard, as he sets off on a journey world to accompany his friend on her pilgrimage, Mana. And last but not least, a game that we're going to be covering later on in the show when this bullshit computer figures out that it needs to fucking run. And that's Star Wars Outlaws, which released on the PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PC on August 30th. Experience the first ever open world Star Wars game set between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. Explore distinct planets across the galaxy, both iconic and new. Folks, it's been a fucking pleasure. You'll see me in the next lifetime. God bless you.
Yeah, reset and come back.
Yeah, he's
Restart your
resetting
computer
his
and get back in.
yeah,
Yeah. So Jake, I want you to talk more about Visions of Mana while we wait for Maury to come back. He's frozen. Oh my god.
dude.
Oh
I could do 2 hours on. I could do 2
No.
hours on Visions of Mana easy. So you guys
Yo,
tell me when to shut
wait.
up.
Look how he stopped though. Yo, he reset his PC and he's just like stuck there. Like
I feel like he's judging my
But
Visions of
look at that
Mana
face.
impressions.
Look at that focus. Look at that focus. That's crazy.
High pressure, bro. I'm about to
gonna
like hold my hand up so I can't see him looking at me.
Right.
He's gonna come back live, and that PC is gonna be smashed against the wall.
Yeah. For
all
sure.
right, Jake, let's go. Let's talk more about Visions of Mana.
Yeah, man. So like review copy provided by Square Enix. Shout out to them for sponsoring my stream and hooking me up with a deluxe version of the game. Get ahead of that. And let me just talk about like are you guys familiar with the Mana series? Have any of you guys played these before?
I
I
am.
played it for Super Nintendo. That's about it.
Yeah,
The
I
Secret of
am. I
Mana.
played it back on the PlayStation and Super Nintendo days. I have a couple of the old ones.
Nice.
On my Switch. Yeah, I love
For sure. So this is the first entry in the series, and only like it's the first new entry in the series in like 17 or 18 years. And
Wow.
then it's also only like the fourth or fifth actual like entry in the series that's not a brand new that's like in the main, I guess, like storyline. There's a bunch of spin-offs and stuff like that. But this series started off as Final Fantasy Adventure and then became its own like identity in the Mana series. And essentially what it is it's like if Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest are your classic JRPG turn-based games, this is your classic JRPG action-based game where you are in battles, and when you get into a battle instance, it is square to attack, triangle for a heavy attack, that kind of thing. You can still cast spells and stuff like that. So it's almost more akin to like Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth than it is for like a traditional like older Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest game. Really dope. Beautiful graphics. The game looks like kind of anime cell shaded, almost has like a Xenoblade Chronicles or like a Genshin Impact style.
Yeah, I got that
visual aesthetic for it.
They look like Grand Blue characters.
Very stereotypical RPG look to it, like classic.
For sure.
Yeah.
And
Not
that's
only
like
that,
that's like Drew, that's such a good fucking way for me to like piggyback off of like what this game is and what this game is not. And what I keep on saying about this when I'm streaming it is I'm about like 13 or 14 hours into the game right now. I'm in the middle of what I would probably assume is like Act 2, basically. This game does not reinvent the wheel. Like it is the stereotypical JRPG. But what it is it is like polished to an immaculate shine. It is the perfect rendition of what you want this type of game to be. It is not a 10 out of 10, and it is not going to do anything that you've never seen before.
Fair to say this is sort of like if Dragon Quest still exists, this would be sort of its spiritual successor. I know it's its own franchise, but
it kind of looks like it.
Well,
it kind of looks
yeah.
like
So I use Dragon Quest as like a thing because Dragon Quest does still exist. Dragon Quest 11 is one of the best RPGs of the last decade, which I adore, and I compare it all the time. Whereas what I always like when I describe Dragon Quest 11, what I describe that as is it's a very classic RPG that is just done up to the nines. It has all of the quality of life and modern like features that you would want in a very classic RPG, and this has all those same things. It just has really nice things that like would eliminate friction that you would find in a normal RPG. So things like when you're in an RPG town, sometimes you'll look at the map and be like, oh, the shop's in like the southwest, so I have to go like down the bridge and then like take a left and then go straight and then I'll get to that thing. If you've already been to that, you can just press a button and teleport to that vendor and then teleport back to your save point. Just like really little like things that make the
stuff. Yeah.
I think as an option, yeah, because you can still run it if you want to. You know, if you want to be a traditional person,
you know, this really the games like these that still exist highlights constantly what I keep saying about how gameplay keeps games relevant. If you have solid gameplay, you can keep making games indefinitely, and this is a good case for that. I think.
Yeah, it's a very like traditional ass game. The action and like the actual RPG combat is really fun. It's fairly simple once you're in there. You have your spells that you can cast, you have your light attacks, you have your heavy attacks, and then the class-based system is really interesting too. So you go through and basically your story is that you are playing as the guardian of the alms, and the alms all are like representative of their element, right? So you have like light, darkness, earth, wind, fire, water.
Highlight something about this game that is actually not related to the game. Is the studio that made this game, unfortunately they released the game and they're already closed.
I don't think that's true. I think that was like big rumor that NetEase was going to be shuttering them
at this time, but it looks like this studio, it looks like it's very much in danger of closing. So if you like this game, give this studio another chance.
Yeah, until that's confirmed though, not actually definite, but I think it's like NetEase is reestablishing what they want to do with their Japanese studios or something like that. I'm pretty sure Square Enix is going to be satisfied with the product that is on their hands there, because the way that the class-based system works that I think is really fascinating for this game in particular is you have all of these, like they call them their alms, and when you unlock one, you get a new character. They give you sort of like their, I don't know what the little MacGuffin is called, but you get their alm of water, your alm of earth, and you can apply that to each of the characters to unlock a new class for them. So I have 4 characters so far. In each of those those characters have a set of 5 classes. What it looks like to me is that you're going to have 5 characters total and 8 different alms that you can equip to them. So it's a total of 40 different classes that you can mix and match, and each one of those comes with different spells that you can learn, different skill tree that you can unlock and apply to the other classes, so it benefits changing their class, learning a skill, and then switching back to another one. And then the coolest part, dope new outfits for each one of them as well. So every character has 8 outfits that you can rock. It's like, one time you're the water person or the earth bender or whatever you may be. But really good. When I compare it to Dragon Quest 11, I think that Dragon Quest 11 is in one column as like this like modern RPG with like classic sensibilities, and this is a classic RPG with modern sensibilities, where it is just action all ready to go, polished perfectly, and just like really fun. You look at this game, watch a little bit of gameplay, you'll know for a fact if this is for you, and if you think that it might be for you, it definitely is, because it does what it's doing perfectly. I think I'm like at like a 9 out of 10, like a 4 out of 5 on this game, and really hot on it. I've been streaming like
that's a good question.
I think that I am apprehensive to give a game that doesn't reinvent the wheel a 10, because I like games that show me something that I've never seen before. You know what I mean? Like you could be the perfect version of a game that I've seen before, and I might like it more than that previous game, but you got credit for being the first one to do it.
Real quick, like obviously if it's the first attempt at something, it's rarely going to be perfect. So isn't there always a chance for something to be perfected with a 10 or like tried and true gameplay?
Yeah, but I'd be more lenient on something that tries something new and doesn't get it perfect, but it's so revolutionary that it becomes a 10 for me. Like I think of like The Outer Wilds to me is a 10 out of 10 video game, because it does stuff that I have never seen before in a video game. And even though there are points of friction and things that frustrate me in that game design, there is no other gameplay experience that is like that. Whereas this has nothing that frustrates me, but it doesn't do anything brand new. So I dock it points for originality, I guess.
Feel fresh. I got
you.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome back, Mori. Welcome back, Mori, back in the house.
First of all, welcome back, Mori. Second of all,
Ew.
How could a game like this reinvent the wheel? You know what? That question is so hard.
That's somebody. That's on them.
When they do it, they'll get a 10.
Well, Final Fantasy's been trying to reinvent this turn-based / action RPG for a while, and they keep kind of they have successes, they also have misses. So they've been trying.
Like I would say, maybe Final Fantasy VII Remake is a good example of that. Of like that's how you do it. Is like now we are living in a world where turn-based RPGs aren't exactly what the world wants. Here, it's now an action RPG with these great little turn-based elements that maintain the feel of Final Fantasy VII. Exactly, like the active time battle system.
Also, the Tales of franchise would also be a good example. Is it's very good at blending traditional RPG elements like these with in a one room Dragon Ball's action RPG elements. So that would be another example, I'd say.
Definitely.
Tales of Arise was a great game. Really good, so good.
Yeah, this game looks sick. How much is it?
Yeah.
It's full price, $70.
Standard price.
Yep. Honestly, worth it though. If you're looking at it and you're like, "Ooh, this might be up my alley," it is up your alley. You know what I mean? Like it's not. There's no secrets here. Nothing's hiding. You know, like you look at this and you go, "Ooh, I could get into this." Then you'll be into it.
I feel it. It's the cozy gameplay. If you like this, if you like this style, you're gonna like this.
Plus, it's a single player game, Harley. So with single player games, if it's like a story, I don't mind spending.
If I only get 40 hours out of it, then I've essentially paid like $1.30 per hour to play the damn game. And if you compare it to Street Fighter, where I've probably paid less than a penny per hour.
I feel like you can't compare fighting games to like story games, though. That's the thing.
No, I know.
It took us a
I'm just
depends
joking.
on how you play them. I weigh my story games against fighting games in the same way, where like it depends on what you're looking for to get out of the game. Because if I weighed that the same way, then I'm paying like $5 an hour for the story of Street Fighter. You know what I mean?
I want. Personally, if I'm being honest with you, Elden Ring gave me 150 hours before I beat the game, and that is chef's kiss.
Yeah,
but you might get that kind of playtime out of this as well.
I'm with Jake here. Like, if I'm enjoying the game when the credits roll, that's enough for me. You know.
No.
As long as it's not under 10 hours, it's kind of bullshit.
Sure. For sure.
Yeah, I'm. There's no way I'm halfway through this game, and I'm like 13 hours in right now, and I'm skipping a lot of side stuff. I haven't done a single side quest.
God
Recurring
damn.
theme in
So
my
yeah,
life.
yeah, you can get that Heartless. You can get that.
Yeah, I'm guessing 35, 40 hours for the story if you mainline it.
You can get that. You can get that 500.
We have a
Heartless.
new
God damn it.
price for games, and it's just gonna take some time for me to get accustomed to it.
The
Mhm.
$70.
That's all it is. That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, let's switch up conversations a little bit since we got Mori back here. We are gonna hop on another game that came out this week. But before we move on, does anybody have anything else they need to say?
I just say Squirrel with a Gun. And when in a year where Game of the Year is still open, Score from the Gun is a solid contender. What's up with that concept? And plus, last thing I want to say about that is, have you noticed the last 3 weeks we have had cat, rats, we've had squirrel games, we've had what's with all these animal games?
It's Year of the Rodent, bro.
Wait,
Year of
what
the
about
Rodent.
Wave of
is
the
it a
future,
bean or a
man.
potato?
Yeah, we
Mhm.
had was it
Gun-
Killer Bean at the
Killer
showcase? Like all these
Bean.
weird
Listen.
concepts.
Oh, that
Put
game's
some
gonna
Killer
rip.
Bean.
Put some
Yeah.
respect on Killer Bean, bro.
I
Put
think
that-
Killer
You guys are
Bean's gonna do it to watch.
crazy.
Yes.
Y'all
Yes.
want me to play Mr. Potato with a gun? That's
I'm saying all these
crazy.
odd the main and the main characters of games are
Look-
getting weird
Look
again.
at the duality of gamers.
Yeah.
Wukong, son of Wukong, game of the year.
Not Son of Wukong. No
Yeah.
way he said
No,
Son
no,
of
no,
Wukong.
hold on. No, I need that son of Wukong, bro, and I need that Killer Bean.
Yeah.
That's
See?
the duality of
Squirrel-
a gamer, bro. It's
Squirrel with
crazy.
a gun is looking funny though.
Yeah, like what it's awesome. And the games like these exist. Console version next month or October. 2 months.
But yeah.
Mhm.
All right, so let's get back on topic a little bit. Let's get into the whole Star Wars conversation. That's another game that came out this week. Maury, I'm gonna let you kind of take the reins because Jake and I played the game, so I think we can both speak more to that. So if you guys have any questions in regards to that, y'all can just shoot them. Just go all out. But yeah,
Sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So Jake and Cash got access to this title early. They both got review copies.
10
for
days.
Star Wars
Sorry.
Outlaws. 10 days. 10 whole
Mhm.
days.
10 days.
I want to ask you guys some questions about what you guys thought with your playthrough. Have you both rolled credits?
I
Yeah.
haven't. Jake has.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I beat it.
I love it. Okay,
Y'all didn't
so
pay
let
for the
me
game, right?
Say
do
what?
what?
No,
y'all didn't
review
pay for the
copy
game, right?
provided by Ubisoft. What up?
Yes, we had a copy provided by
We
Ubisoft.
gotta let
Thank
that
you,
be known.
Ubisoft.
Which version of the copy did you guys get?
We got the premium edition,
Hot Fire
No
Edition.
fucking way.
the ultimate edition. We got the ultimate edition.
Living
So, like,
rough.
Yeah.
So before we dive into that, I have a question. So
Mhm.
because you guys didn't pay for the game, does that kind of color your guys' perception? Or
Not
is it-
necessarily.
no?
No.
But even
I
if
wouldn't
you
say
would have
so.
spent
Absolutely.
$130, you don't think it would have maybe skewed?
I
So
get
I'm
asked
glad
that
you brought
question
it up.
all the time.
Jake, you want to take over, or do you want me to? You can go first.
You hit it first.
go
I'll
first.
follow up.
All right. So my thing is, it's not $130. It's not $130 game. I see a
whatever.
lot of people. I see a lot of people that are kind of like marking this game. I can't believe this is a $130 game. It's so buggy. But like, there are different tiers to this game, and I'll say this to the chat. You can buy the standard edition, which is the premium that everybody gets, $70. Then you have the what, 95? Was it $95? The
Is
other
there
one?
less bugs than a $95?
109.
There's no 109? Yes, there's a $109 one.
Less
And
bugs
then
than
there's
that
the 130. No. And then there's a $130 bundle. And the fact that I've seen a lot of content creators, even content creators that I actually like, that are kind of spewing the same thing. And I'm like, bro, I can't believe you are actually like stooping to that point to call this game. I feel like it's disingenuous. It's not a $130 game. Sorry. It is a $70 game. If you want to get the additional content, which for the most part, outside of like the extra mission, which is I still don't agree with.
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
It's
Lots of the
cosmetic.
mission behind
Majority of the
$60
game,
paywall.
majority of the DLC is cosmetic. Let's just keep it real.
It's like
You
when we
don't
went
need that to
through
enjoy
Dragon
the
Age.
game.
It's like when we went through Dragon Age.
But we need
Those
the mission,
cosmetics are
though.
useless.
We-
Why would you pay
so
for
The
the
that?
thing
game
is-
is $130.
No, but
Because
here's
you
the
don't get
thing.
to enjoy that mission without the 100.
I get what you're saying, but at this, I feel like it's just mismanagement by Ubisoft when it comes to that.
I can buy the game for $70, and you can buy the game for $130, and we don't get the same game.
An extra 2 missions, you don't have to
We
play
don't
those
get
extra
the
missions.
same game.
I get no. I
In
totally
fairness,
get
the
that.
$130 version does include the season pass as well, which is substantial playable DLC coming
Yes,
for the
there-
future,
for
which
the
I think should be
future,
considered. But for the most part, I think there's 3 versions of it, and it gets a little weird when you got physicals
I need to
versus
hear this.
digitals as well.
I need to hear this. Can you
Go ahead, Jake.
No. I need to hear this.
Mhm.
You said that
Yeah, go.
there's gonna be more playable DLC in the future.
On the way. Yeah, on the way.
They're adding story missions in the DLCs in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this changes everything. That's really dope, actually.
Yeah, because you can actually buy a season pass. You can pay for a season pass
It's-
outside
yeah,
of
it's
like
pretty
standard
standard.
Are
edition.
these seasons gonna keep bringing playable content?
Yes.
Oh, that changes everything. I'm a hater.
It's pretty fucking standard fare. I think they've announced that like one of them has like I think it's like a Lando DLC pack and stuff like that. But for a
Right.
single player game, like it's a pretty standard season pass, includes 2 substantial DLC pack type of thing. But to answer your question about like, does me getting it for free influence my opinion on the game, is I'm always going to preface it with I didn't pay for it. You know what I mean? Like I legally,
Right,
the
exactly.
FTC requires I fucking say that. If I don't say that, I'm fucking up terribly.
Pretty
But-
much.
In addition to that, I always tell people to take it with a grain of salt too, because my perspective on video game prices and paying money for video games is skewed as hell as a content creator anyway. Because for me, I'll spend $60 on a game that I stream for one night because that's worth it to create content around and provide for my chat a view of like a game that we've been talking about for months. So I'm never really a very reliable source for is it worth it anyway, if I'm being honest.
Not only that, we can put it on our tax returns. Let's just keep it real. Like I put that all the games that I play on stream, I put that on my tax returns because it's
For sure.
part of my business.
Yeah, that's a write-off. No
Man,
doubt.
It's a write-off.
Chess while we're playing checkers.
I was about to say, I need to
I
start
do it
writing
every
shit
year.
off.
I do
Yeah.
it every year. Harless. That's why
Yeah.
I was telling you about.
Do you
But
just
yeah.
keep your
No.
When we
receipts?
went to Evo, Heartless.
Yeah, I keep my
all that
receipt. I
money,
keep my receipts.
I'm
What
gonna
I do,
write
I
that off.
scan them. I scan all my receipts and I have them in like a Google Doc. So by the end of the year, I have everything ready. Email them to my tax man and all the stuff that I spent on just like all of this. What I earn plus what I spend and all that shit.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just business expenses. You know, for X Element, yeah, everything that I've spent this last year with the FGC team, yeah, that's all going on tax return.
Yeah, so I don't think it really makes my opinion any less valuable because like I said, even when I was playing the other day on stream, I did say this. I did preface by saying, yes, I got sponsored by Ubisoft, but also you don't have to buy the Ultimate Edition. I got the Ultimate Edition. I was fortunate to get the Ultimate Edition, but you don't have to spend that money and get the Ultimate Edition. You can actually buy the Standard Edition.
Is
And
it fair
something-
to
There's
say
also,
that
especially
person
with
that's complaining about spending $130? Yeah, that is a choice that you made when the basic edition does exist. You know,
Exactly. It's not like they were forcing you.
If you read about this game, Ubisoft didn't wake up and take $130 from your pocket and say, haha, now you have Star Wars Outlaws, bro. You got fucking free will.
Right.
This isn't-
Pretty much.
This isn't the
Maury,
future
what are you
we're all
gonna say?
working towards.
It's kinda
Exactly.
like with your cell phone. If I want to have internet and text, I have to buy them together. You know,
Right.
Right?
Yeah, no, I was
There's
gonna,
that. Go ahead.
I was
Maury.
going to clarify that for the $130 edition, you also got 3-day early access. That was like one thing that I was
Yeah.
going to throw in there. Another thing I'll say is this in regards to Cash and Jake and whether or not they're paid shills. I mean, they're definitely paid shills, but nevertheless, right? But what I'm trying to clarify is that these guys have bought their games for what? You guys are pushing 50 years of buying games? Like
This motherfucker, bro.
You make a
Awesome.
good point. I paid my dues.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. These guys are honest reviewers. They've been buying games for a long time. So I say that to say I think we have some great people to talk about this title, and I want to pick Jake's brain first, and then we'll move over to Cash. But Jake, I want to know, can you give me a brief synopsis of your experience with the game without too much detail and without a score, but give me a feel of what you felt playing the game?
Yeah, I felt good playing this game because I'm a easy mark for Star Wars, man. I got 3 lightsabers back here in the background. I got Star Wars memorabilia all over the place, and I just love playing Star Wars video games. And it was such a hot topic. Sometimes I play games and people will come in and just kind of like idly watch or like maybe ask like a prodding question or something. But so often I found so many people coming in that were curious about this game as I streamed it, and I mainlined this thing. I rolled credits before the game was released for the $70 public. You know what I mean? Like I got the game 10 days early and I didn't touch it until my 1 day early access on top of the regular early access because I wanted to share it with stream. Like I know that I'm less of a reviewer and more of a streamer. And so many people stopped in and they were like, what do you think of this game? Is it worth $70? Is it worth $130? Is it good? Is what people are saying true? So I really got like my pitch down on this because I had to do the spiel like 1,000 times. And basically where I landed on Star Wars Outlaws is that this game is not a 10 out of 10. This game is far from perfect. It's a little janky. It's rough around the edges. But the same can be said for your existing favorite Star Wars game. When you think back to Shadow of the Empire, Empire at War, Jedi Academy, Jedi Outcast, Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, Knights of the Old Republic, Star Wars The Force Unleashed, none of those are perfect games. None of those are 10 out of 10s. None of them were crowned Game of the Year. Maybe KOTOR was. But a lot of them are like 5, 6, 7s, 8s, sometimes 9s. Star Wars games don't have a great track record of like extremely high quality. They get by on having, and I get it, that's like you can dock points for that if you so desire personally. They get by on being Star Wars IP, and for people that are like me, and there's a lot of us, that's enough, man. So I had a good time with this game.
Awesome. Cash, what about you? What was your experience with the title?
Pretty much the same. One of the biggest issues I see like people complain about is just the graphics, like character designs and how somehow I won't even get into that. Let's just leave that to the internet. But the characters, I'm like, guys, this is not what this is. It's just flawed character designs. That's why the characters look the way they do. There's no agenda. There's nothing behind this. Characters look like shit because they're at shit at doing character design. That's really what it is.
What did they give you guys the game for? Just to get roasted?
No,
Like,
but
can you expand on that?
I liked it.
Here's the thing. Here's the
Can
thing.
you expand on that, Cash? Like, what's
But
bad
here's-
about it? Like,
Just the
'cause
you can tell that I
You
don't know
look at
what
the
it
model
is.
fully.
Exactly.
She's not a
There's something
one-to-one.
off. Exactly. There's something off about just the character designs. But again, I say this to say this. Is that the only thing that we look at when it comes to gameplay, when it comes to video games? Or are we looking at the gameplay? Are we looking at gameplay? Is it fun? Are we enjoying the game? Can we find a way to get enveloped in the overarching story? Can we connect to the characters? Are those things taken into consideration, or are we just going to look at the fucking graphics of the game? Is that all we're doing? If that's all we're doing, fine, do that. But let it be across the board with every other fucking game, because there's a lot of games that the graphics are shit, and people still give it high marks.
Yes,
a lot of games.
Absolutely. Like they were, like I totally agree with what you're putting out.
People are
keep
excited
it
about that
consistent.
Deadlock game that's coming out, and that shit
Yeah.
looks like it could have
Like,
been made 10 years
I'm
ago.
glad you brought that up, Harless.
Exactly.
Team Fortress 2 is considered still one of the greatest games of all time, but the game today looks like crap. Like it doesn't. Those character designs have never been that good. You know.
Also,
surprised.
I also want to speak on the fact that I've seen the bugs. I want to point that out. I've seen the bugs, but personally, I did not experience any major bug issues. I don't know about Jake. His experience might be different.
They're hilarious though.
I was about to say.
They are. But the only major glitch that I saw was like the NPCs like kind of fusing with the background after I do like a takedown or some shit like that. And they'll fall, but when they fall, they like kind of fuse with the wall. Those are the shit that I've seen.
I thought we were
Those-
beyond that in gaming world now.
You still see it here and there.
Yeah,
in
they
gaming.
used to be
Let's keep it
standard
real.
practice in all PlayStation 2 and earlier.
So that was the only like major like bug issues that I encountered with the game. When it comes to, we can talk about NMAI. I think more might have a question when it comes to that, but I'll leave that for later on. But like landscape, I feel like landscape wise, the game looks beautiful, especially when you're on that first planet. That first planet looks amazing to me. I don't know, Jake. I don't know if you feel the same way about this, but like it kind of feels lived in, but at the same time, you can tell that it's kind of like a barren. It's intentionally a barren wasteland because of how like the environment is set up.
Is it a desert planet?
Yes,
Like
it is a
typical
desert
Star
planet.
Wars
Yeah,
desert?
kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not quite desert. It's weird. There's basically like not a spoiler. This is all on Ubisoft's website. You have four main planets, maybe 4.5 depending on how you look at it. Your main character's from Canto Bight, which is the casino planet from The Last Jedi that we see briefly, which kind of sandwiches the game. And then you have Toshara, which is the main planet that you see in a lot of the promo material that kind of looks like a desert planet, but it has some jungle aspects to it as well. It's tough to call it a desert planet when Tatooine is one of the other ones, which is a fucking desert planet.
Literally a desert
and then
planet.
you have Kijimi, which is the snow planet that we see briefly in The Rise of Skywalker, where they go and meet Babu Frick, the little munchkin that helps them like repair C-3PO or something. And then the last place is a place called Akiva, which is like pretty predominant in some of the expanded like Disney lore over the last 10 years. But that is like a thorough jungle planet. Think like more closer to like Endor, or like I compared it a lot to Gungaga, like if you know your Star Wars.
Like 3
Yeah, it's nice. There's good variety in the environments, which I really, really liked. One of the high points of the game. That's what I said, is that the areas are, for the most part in those planets, very, very open until you get to like a settlement or a city, and then they're extremely dense. And it really gave me the feeling of, I think I said this when I was talking about my preview on the last time I guested here, about how it felt less like I was playing a Star Wars game and more like I was walking through Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, which is the theme park that you can go to in Disney, where everything is dense and it doesn't matter what angle you look, there's something alive and there's something happening there. It was really surreal. I think that this, one of the more underappreciated things is how alive especially the dense areas feel in this video game.
This is awesome. So we're talking a lot. There's a couple things that are being covered. We're going to get to all of them. I think the first thing I want to open with is you guys have both agreed that the open world is impressive to look at. That visually it's quite stunning. I tried to do my homework in preparation for tonight, played the first hour of the game. First thing I thought to myself was, holy shit, these cutscenes look great. Those character models are rough. Can you speak a bit to the visuals of the game outside of what you guys have already said, which is that the open worlds themselves are very visually impressive? Cash, I'll actually start with you here. Visuals. Yeah.
Like I said before, the visuals are pretty impressive. There was I can't remember that first mission. I don't know if this is spoiler, but when that break-in, Jake, that was beautiful. That play, like, because it had this almost Uncharted feel to it. That level, like it really felt like, because you're sneaking in to steal something. But overall, I think the game really was able to pull off just the atmosphere of Star Wars, right? As opposed to, like, I'm not even really worried about the character design. Like I said this on stream before as well. You're seeing the back of this character's head. I don't really care. I don't care how she looks. I really don't.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But again, overall, like, I think the gameplay was fun and engaging. The story didn't really hook me as much as I wanted it to, but I kept playing because it's Star Wars, right? And I seen a lot of comparison to like other Star Wars IP, especially video games. They're like saying it doesn't feel like Star Wars, but I'm like, I say it doesn't feel like Star Wars, but in my opinion, that's a good thing that it doesn't feel like Star Wars, because you can have more than one experience in the Star Wars universe, right? You don't need to have Jedis. You don't need to have like freaking lightsabers and force wielders to enjoy the world.
I agree with that. Star Wars is a universe that involves lots of civilizations.
Look at it this way. It's like if we were used to like just seeing cops, like a cop story being told every day, and then they switched the perspective, and now we're focused on the people on the outside living their lives and how they experience their lives inside that world. Are we going to say, oh, this still doesn't feel like a cop show because, yeah, it's not supposed to. It's not supposed to.
Sure.
You're supposed to be focused on someone else at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe it's the same universe, but a different point of view. And I think that's awesome.
Like a lot of this is happening in the periphery.
So it sounds like it's like closer to like a Rogue One or a Solo than it is to like
pretty
something
much.
else.
To be clear,
it's really on the money as like a solo story.
This is taking place during the reign of the Empire, right? Like Darth Vader and all that are still alive, right?
It takes place in between Empire and Jedi.
Okay, so the Empire...
Han Solo's in carbonite. Han Solo is encased in carbonite.
So you're essentially against the government here, like, is what you are. You're against the Empire.
She's not really against the government. She's just like she's a scoundrel. Like she's basically a
Yeah.
pay for hire. She works for anybody pretty much.
It's neither. It's the exact
Trust no
stance
one.
as like it's the Han Solo stance. You're playing a smuggler and kind of just like you're playing an outlaw. You're playing kind of a scumbag,
survivor.
and you have very like gray decisions to make. There are no real like good or bad outcome. You're kind of just looking out for you and your little homie Nix, and that's all that really matters to you throughout the
So
game. And who
essentially the
knows? Maybe
police-
you'll make some friends along the way and start to care a little bit more. It's not the crazy biggest like reinvention of the wheel when it comes to like stories or anything like that. But I think I just want to piggyback on what Cash said a little bit to Maury's question about environments and how things looked like outside of that. And I think what Cash said was really like astute, comparing it to Uncharted is interesting because this game is touted as like the first open world Star Wars game, which it is, but I don't think that's where this game excels. Is like it almost funnels down and you have these like different experiences. So you have the open world that everyone's talking about, then you go down a level and you have the cities like I was talking about, where things start to feel more and more dense and more curated. And then you go down one further level to what Cash was talking about, and you have those Uncharted moments. And when things get really boiled down, and when this game is linear, is where I think it's at its best, which is really interesting to have it framed that way. And a lot of people have said like, oh, this is like Uncharted, or oh, this is like Assassin's Creed because it's Ubisoft, when in reality I think this game is most similar to Red Dead Redemption 2 in a lot of ways, is what I found. Like there's a lot of like smaller intimate moments where you'll be walking down the street and you'll be able to sit on a bench and just hear these two guys talk about how like, oh, there's some like trading going on, and I heard that this like Bantha is going to win the race over at the thing, and then you can make the decision to go and try to bet on that race because of a thing that you overheard. There's a lot of like emergent gameplay like that or I guess emergent situations that pop up. But from the Uncharted standpoint, and where I think this game excels like graphically and arguably like in gameplay wise too, is those big action set pieces, and it does a good job of funneling you in and out of those as well throughout the game. So you have like these kind of like three different instances where you're either big open world, kind of smaller environment that's a bit more curated, and then super linear like action set pieces like an Uncharted game, and that's where I think the game is the best.
Yeah, I like when it pans out. Like if you're like crawling up into like some kind of specific area, and the game will kind of like zoom out so you could see the scope of what is actually happening. I think
Would a
those moments
fair
are freaking amazing.
comparison be Zelda dungeons versus the open world? Is that a fair comparison? You know how Zelda, like, it takes you to a place and you have like your dungeon, you find an item or whatever, and you fight a boss, and then but most of the game takes place in the open world out in the kingdom.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've got
Pretty
like
much.
even less freedom than that, but it's basically like you initiate a mission, and that mission just kind of keeps you on rails, whether you're exploring like a abandoned starship that crash landed on a planet, or you're infiltrating a specific base or something like that. You'll just end up in these situations that you can't really escape from, and then you kind of realize halfway through you're like, oh, I'm really on the rails right now, aren't I?
Go ahead,
And
Cash.
that's something I also wanted to speak to as well. I've seen people talk about that. The fact that they're saying, how is this an open world game if I'm leaving and there's a countdown timer starting? I'm like, that's because you started a mission, jackass. You need to stay in the mission.
Like Grand Theft Auto.
Pretty much. If you leave a mission area, a countdown starts.
Yeah.
And I saw so many people complain about this online. Like,
wait, can you elaborate on that? So if you're on a mission and you leave the designated area, that it starts counting down in what sense? Like to the
10
failure of the
seconds.
mission?
Like, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
return to the mission area.
They want to give you an open world environment, right? So that way, when you start the mission, you're still in this world. So they have to have some barrier for you to not get off track with the mission or get lost.
Now,
but if you are
that is
staying in the
interesting.
mission, that timer isn't there. Is that what you're saying?
No, there's no timer there once the mission starts.
Wherever you want.
Yeah.
So something I'm going to ask, because this is actually interesting, because if you look at something like Elden Ring, which is also open world, if you're selecting a mission, you can still walk off and do what you want. But what you guys are talking about, where there's a timer, that's something I used to see a lot in older open world games.
Yes.
Something else that I'm seeing with the stealth is that whenever you're in a stealth
2 era.
section, yeah.
So
Whenever you're in a stealth
can I
section,
ask a question real quick, Maury? So
yeah, go ahead.
So if that timer goes off, do you restart everything, or does everything you did like outside of the does those decisions stay? You know what I'm saying?
So Yeah,
Yeah,
what I'm
more.
trying to kind of allude to is that those older game mechanics, right? Kind of like the having a timer whenever you step out of a mission, even if it is an open world, feels kind of PS3 era, especially with those
Mhm.
stealth curated moments in the game. If you get caught, you get sent back to the beginning. You don't just have to run and gun and figure it out, go and hide somewhere. Does this game feel modern? Does it feel like it's 2024 or does it feel like it's 2013? Cash, I guess I'll start with you. What do you
Well,
think?
in terms of my question, like in a morality based game, any like decision I make that affects the morality system of the game, do those stay if that timer goes all the way down? You know, that's why that was my question.
In terms of
Probably a good
morality, I don't think that
question.
once you don't really encounter morality issues during those segments. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
when you're doing like actual missions to like steal something or take out an enemy or some shit like that to that degree. If you're in that mission area and you leave, it will start a timer to count down the mission. If that timer ends, yes, you will restart the mission. It doesn't matter how far you are in that mission because there's no checkpoints in that mission. At least from my experience from playing that game, when I played it, if I lost, doesn't matter how close. I feel like I was very close at one point, and I either got caught or I got killed, and I had to restart the entire mission from the beginning.
Hmm.
And yes, I do feel like that's kind of like an antiquated mechanic that
No save state?
we've moved on. No,
Hmm.
I feel like we've moved on from that as gamers. So this was it made the game somewhat frustrating at times,
Hmm.
but I was still wanted to. I guess in a way it made me even more careful the second time around to like play the game. But I do get that that's something that we don't really see that much of anymore in gaming.
It used to
Right.
be an
Yeah.
old staple of RPG games that you just don't see anymore.
What about you,
I
Jake?
think-
Do you feel that the mechanics are older? What do you feel?
Yeah, and I'm going to relate that also to like the morality question that Germ had, because I think I'm maybe doing it a disservice by calling it like similar to Red Dead Redemption, more so in the mission structure. I think one of the things that really like ill-conceived, well, I guess misconstrued by the general public here as far as like what this game is and what it isn't, is that you do have decisions to do, but this is not like a go anywhere, do anything open world. Like I think when people think open world, they think Assassin's Creed, they think Grand Theft Auto, especially when they start thinking Ubisoft. Is that how it works? There is no like, you can't just pull out your gun and kill everybody at the cantina, and you don't like get good boy points for returning the lady's stolen purse or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like these missions are structured in a way that you are to complete the mission, and if you go off the beaten path and you don't return to the mission area within 10 points, like you're 10 seconds, like you're saying, which is something that happened to me literally 0 times because it's a video game. You know what I mean? Like, you know what to do. Complete your fucking mission. You are then granted with like an overarching and a sweeping decision to make. That is typically, which of these evils do you want to commit? Do you want to frame these scumbags or these scumbags? So it's a lot. Go ahead.
Kind of like Assassin's Creed, in Assassin's Creed games, when you get close to the killing subject, like the camera kind of stops and you kind of walk.
Yeah,
you can
kinda
still
like
move
graze
around, but you're listening to
There's
what
a lot
they're
of,
saying,
like-
but you can't leave
Correct.
that general area, right?
Yeah, it's like fail conditions. So basically the way that this game is made up is that it actually, I was surprised at the way that the gameplay variety kind of presented itself, because your main missions are kind of as follows. You can have something we haven't talked about is you can go to space and drive a spaceship, and it's fucking sweet and it looks awesome.
Yeah,
and it's
it does.
extremely simple, but it's effective and fun. But there's space missions, there's open world exploration missions where you're just kind of going from point A to point B, and you can, explore and get on your speeder or check out the wildlife. Then you have your kind of like platforming, Uncharted, puzzle solving, Tomb Raider style missions where you're not really in active combat. You're kind of just like platforming, and you're going from like jumping through this fan and turning off the engine so that you can have your, power turn off so you can get to the next place, or jump from this grate to that grate and activate this elevator. Then you have your main like action stealthy things, and those are separated into 3 different facets as well. So it's like 6 different things that you're doing throughout this game. One of them, this is shooty time. Go shoot the people. The second one is you can choose. Do you want to go stealthy, or do you want to kick in the door and start shooting people? You have that sort of think about so many games have pitched this, like you can complete this mission any way that you'd like, and you can choose if you want to be stealthy approach or, you know, go in guns blazing. Then the third version, and the thing that is like the point of most friction in the game, are the required stealth missions where you're met with like of frequent fail conditions if you're spotted or if you do something incorrectly. And those are the missions where you can go off the beaten path or lose sight of your target and you can lose progress. And there are some checkpoints that will be some more lenient than others, but there are definitely some, like I said, points of friction where you will end up so deep into a mission and then you have avoided 15 stormtroopers and you've made it through this corridor and you're about to get to your point, and then some guy walks around the corner, looks at you, and it goes like you sounded the alarms, and then it drops you back.
And this is not like Metal
before.
Gear, right? You have radar. It's not like that, right?
No,
if you get caught, it's kind of your fault, you know.
Yeah,
like
definitely. But it's janky, and there is AI, and that is like differing. And a lot of people would watch me fail repeatedly and almost get frustrated and be like, "Pay attention to their movements or learn their patterns." And I'm like, "No,
There's no pattern.
this shit is not. There isn't. It's not on rails. It's AI. People will spawn in different areas. They will go in different directions. It's challenging."
You said starships. Is there starship battles? Can you fight in the starship?
Yes, there are.
Yeah, there's dogfighting.
That's dope.
Yeah. Well, let's get back. I want to jump off of what you had to say just now too, Jake. Yeah, I've encountered issues in missions where there's no way I was spotted by anyone. I was crouching. The enemy AI was downstairs, and so for some reason, I got spotted. There was no cameras either, because I know there are also camera system throughout certain levels.
Mm-hmm.
There was none of that, and I got spotted, and I was like, "What? How?" So I feel like there was an issue. Yeah, there's
points of frustration with that, but there's also, I was able to I loved that this was to answer like Maury's original question until we started really going off on it. It's very much like this is a gamer ass video game that is kind of designed with like 2013 sensibilities, which is fucking fine to me. Like those games deserve to exist and still be here. Like that's absolutely cool with me. Like I like the structure of that, and I'm cool with fail conditions and retrying and trying to get it right after all that time. But what I found is that for every time, maybe not every time, but for like if 66% of the time I was getting fucked over by the AI and getting like pulled back and having to retry, 33% of the time I could kind of game the system and be like, this fucking idiot, I just walked right by this fool, he didn't see me. Or like I had some where they would sound the alarm, right? Or I would activate it and this dude would just like beeline it to the alarm to set the alarm, and I'm like, fuck you, dude, I can make it to my exit before you can get that alarm, and I would just take off like sprinting and skip big sections.
As a streamer, do you find stuff like that like really fun, like meme worthy for your community, for your chat? I think that would be fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so endearing. I love that kind of thing. I embrace the jank, and that's why I think I had so much fun with it.
That's awesome. Another question I have for you guys is, you guys have talked a little bit about the AI. It's a little bit faulty. Sometimes it gets it. Sometimes it totally doesn't get it. Maybe it plays in your favor one time, against you another time, all that. I want to know a little more about the combat. So when I think about stealth games that I've fallen in love with, I think of Dishonored. I think about the old Assassin's Creeds, where as you play the game, the amount of options that you have to kill people, to take people down, open up. It becomes more and more expansive as you continue to play. How do you feel about combat in this game? Does it expand as you continue to play? Is it immersive enough? Are there enough options? What do you feel overall about the combat in Star Wars Outlaws? I'll start with Cash.
Oh, you started me? Okay. So I think it's very satisfactory. It's not reinventing the wheel by any stretch of the imagination. The one thing I love was the almost like a quick scope mechanic that it has.
Okay.
Is that a glitch?
Are we watching picture? Which Jake should I be looking at right now?
Both time everywhere.
For a minute, so I'm sorry.
But yeah, there are some mechanics that I actually do like about the game. But I don't think it's reinventing the wheel. It really isn't. It's serviceable. Let's say that. It is a serviceable combat system that will get you from point A to point B. And that's it.
Jake, do you have anything to add?
It looks like
it is not. This is not like this is not an immersive sim. Do not go in there expecting like Dishonored or even like a Cyberpunk or anything like that as far as options here as far as how you like complete
It
things
looks
for
like
the
Mass
most
Effect
part.
in terms of gameplay. Is that an accurate?
Yeah, I would
assessment?
say that's a pretty solid way to put it. And the thing that Cash is talking about, like I do like when you're on like the speeder and when you're in combat scenarios, you kind of had like the Red Dead Redemption 2 Deadeye or Red Dead Redemption 1
or
you can kind of like
Splinter Cell Conviction. If you guys are familiar with
use
that.
your focus and then you can mark a couple enemies, let go of the trigger, and it's take everybody out. But for the most part, man, like I pummeled through this game. I did not a single side quest except for the ones that were required to progress the story, which I think is actually kind of nice when you pad out a story mission with like go retrieve this thing and go off the beaten path and like complete this quest for so and so to continue the story. Because if it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't do anything. And then also after hour 3, I didn't touch my skill tree because I realized that it gives you a couple different things to work with, but for the most part, it does not change or enhance the gameplay experience. I think it kind of makes things faster. But I don't listen, if I don't have to engage with it in your video game, I pretty much don't. I don't complete games. I don't do side quests. I don't get platinum trophies. Like, it's just not who I am as a gamer. I am going to beat Star Wars and then I'm going to move on to the next game. How many new games did you play this week, Heartless?
Damn.
Praise.
The real answer
do you have your schedule?
There's
do you have your schedule of games like planned out like weeks, months in advance? You have that all scheduled
Excellent
out?
question. I have what I call is like a soft docket, which like is new and exciting games coming out, and then also like a docket of old games that I really want to get to, and then I never have a schedule. I have what we call.
Give me just a round ballpark number. How big is it?
Like my upcoming games is probably 50 in between now and the end of the year that are just like on my radar is stuff that I could possibly play, and my soft docket of like old legacy stuff is probably 150 strong of like things that I'd like to get to or franchises I'd like to explore. But then I am like the only streamer on Twitch. If you look up like advice, they'll all tell you like have a schedule, let people know when they can find you and what you'll be playing, and I refuse to do that. I have what I call Twitch's only stream outline. These are my loose plans of things we might get to this week or next.
I love this. Cash, you gotta have this guy on every week. I love this guy. This guy gets it. This is what gaming is about. Not locked into one game, like trying it all. I love it.
For sure. I want to experience as much as I can.
Something Jake said, which I thought was interesting, was Jake, you said that you didn't really go and do the side quest content. So I wanted to pick your guys' brain about the narrative. I know that I heard Cash say something earlier, but I really want you guys to break it down. Is this a good Star Wars story? Is it an intriguing story? Are the characters any good? Jake, I'll start with you.
Matter.
Yes, Jake, what do you think?
It's okay. It's okay. Like I don't think it's great. I don't think it's revolutionizing Star Wars canon or anything like that. It fits in with the canon, but it doesn't do much to like enhance stories that we already know, nor does it add like crazy layers that I think are like super exciting for the future of Star Wars.
Question on that: is there no, without spoilers, is there cameos of like the main Star
Wars there's some stuff you're gonna want to see.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
For sure. Which is like something that like people love. Like, and I love that too. I'm so guilty of like, Mandalorian's good, but it's at its best when so and so shows up, type of thing. Okay. But maybe less than you'd hope and more than you'd think for like those cameos, I guess, if that makes sense.
Was it Jedi Survivor or Jedi Fallen Order?
I would say it's in line with the Jedi games as far as. Yeah, as far as like the amount that you will see for screen time and how much impact they have on the thing. And like I just played right before this game came out, the weekend before, we crushed through and I played The Force Unleashed all the way through, where like your lead character is Starkiller, but your second lead in that game is fucking Darth Vader. And he has like hundreds of lines of dialogue, and then the Emperor shows up and you're like fighting Darth Maul, and like dude, that is like Star Wars fan service, like right in your face. This is a much more reined in story.
Show, where Luke shows up at the end, spoiler alert, when Luke shows up at the end of season 2, it's like we all knew it was coming. When it happened, it was still so cool, right?
Yeah, it's more like that. It's more like that for sure. Yeah, it's cool. It's cool shit, but I don't think it's crazy. I think there are some nice, likable characters for sure, but I think that overall, like the story is not the strong point here. And even after rolling credits, and again, spoiler free, I'm not over here like, God, can't wait to see what Kay Vest gets up to next or anything like that. Like I like her as a character, fine, but I don't.
She's cool.
Wasn't crazy,
So I'm just clarifying, and then I'm going to move over to Cash because I want to pick Cash's brain. Kay Vest does not hold a candle to Cal Kestis. Is that what you're saying?
You're asking the wrong fucking person, dude. I like K-Vest way more than Cal Kestis.
No,
Oh, really?
Kind of a little whiny,
I'm with
kind of a
Jake
whiny
here.
little fuckboy.
I like
No,
I
no,
like
Cal
non-Jedi
Kestis,
for the
Not
win.
the
bro.
Joker. Not the
Non-Jedi for the
Joker.
I will always side with the non-Jedis.
Okay, no, I gotta say this on stream for everybody. I have a Cal Kestis statue right up there.
Yeah.
As you should.
Jake, go fuck yourself. And Cash,
get it.
Cash,
Listen.
go ahead.
You know, more real quick.
You're fine.
Every episode, you say you have a statue of something. Is your entire room just full of gaming memorabilia right there? Is it
Yes.
filled to the brim of gaming stuff?
There's too much.
Great.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to take a tour at some point on
Yeah.
your stream.
Make that Maury, legit. Make that a redeem on your channel. Like if they redeem something, they get a tour.
He should make that his
you
first
reveal
YouTube
one
video.
item in your room.
Yeah.
One item in your room. Make that a
No,
redeem.
that
Dude, I
should
had
be
one
your
for a long
first
time
YouTube
called
video.
Tchotchke Time.
Oh,
Tchotchke
yeah?
Time, where like when someone redeems for like 5,000 points, you'll just grab some random memorabilia from your room and show it off and talk about how you got it
Yeah.
or what it does or what game
So
it's
that'll,
from.
that's
that'll
fire.
pop off on your channel guaranteed. But anyway,
That's
sorry, we
dope.
got off
Yeah.
topic. So sorry.
No, that's a great idea. I love that idea. So yeah, okay, Cash, are you in the same kind of vein? Is this just a serviceable story? You could take or
That's
leave it.
exactly what I was gonna say. I only
Wow.
have one word for this
Wait.
game and this story.
That's not a
Serviceable.
spoiler right there, is it?
It's serviceable. That's it. You're
That's
you're chucked into a scenario
No.
and you're just there to experience the gameplay. That's pretty much what this game is. That's really what it is. And
that
it's
a
just
spoiler?
like you're kind of like you are now in you get to experience a world that you love, essentially. This is for Star Wars fans, right?
So this is
But there's
going
a lot of-
deeper, going deeper in the universe
think so.
itself.
I don't
Is
think
that
so.
fair to
It's
say?
not really going deeper per
No?
se. It's just you
Pause.
get to experience you get to experience something in a universe you love. That's all I can really say about the game. Like it's
Okay.
very serviceable. K-Vest is a cool character. I think she's a fast talking. She's kind of funny at times, and I like her relationship with
Mhm.
Nyx, so that's cool. But
This is
yeah,
not another one
as
of
regards to Cal Kestis versus K-Vest, I don't know. I kind of like Cal Kestis.
Do you
Hey,
think
I
this
like
will
how
fall
Kestis-
under that lost opportunity situation, like Finn from the prequel trilogy or the sequel trilogy?
No.
Wasted
Listen.
opportunity.
You can't compare any other.
No.
Finn is probably the most misused
Yes,
character
wasted
in Star
opportunity.
Wars
I said.
history, bro.
I'm
Yeah,
livid. I'm
There
livid.
was a lot of intriguing storylines
Bro,
they could have took
There were
that.
so many theories that we, as fans, came
Yep.
up with when we saw, especially with the first time we saw him in the trailer, and he lit that fucking
Oh,
lightsaber, and we were like,
Oh, sick, dude.
"Is Finn force sensitive?"
bro.
What?
Yeah,
Or he
the
has
sickest
that-
moment of that entire trilogy is that trailer moment.
Or he has
Bro.
that pointless battle
Bro.
with what is it, that silver stormtrooper? Like, you got the feeling there was
Phasma.
some type of
Yeah.
relationship there or some kind of history there. But
Yo,
just-
they teased a bunch of shit
like
and
they
paid
might
off
kiss.
nothing. Exactly, they teased so many shit in that movie and paid nothing off.
yeah.
See,
Because for the sake
And-
of what's the word I'm looking for again? Game of Thrones did it the last
Yeah,
episode.
and he had that love
Subvert
triangle,
expectations. Yes, they
He
did
had
all
that
of
love-
that to subvert expectation.
and he had that love triangle with that Rose or whatever, and they just dropped that.
Mm.
You know, it wasn't. It was totally irrelevant.
It felt like they didn't know what to do with fucking
Yeah.
thing. They didn't know what to do with Finn at one point.
all
That's
that
what it
said,
felt like.
we love John Boyega here. He was done deeply dirty. Guys, I've heard a lot from the both of you. I've heard a couple of things that have stood out to me, and I'm going to repeat them back to you before we ask for your scores. You've said that the combat is serviceable. You've said that the AI is serviceable. You've said that the stealth mechanics were serviceable.
That's
You said
crazy.
that the story was serviceable. So, and I'm not gonna lie, you guys did say the open world felt alive and like it was working, but damn near every single thing we discussed today was serviceable. So I now ask, on a scale of 5 points, I'm gonna lead with Cash and then we're gonna jump to Jake. Where do you place this out of 5? Because I'm hearing a lot of serviceable. Cash,
3.25.
So
What is it?
no, I don't do a point system. Like I have my own little rating system that I do, especially on my YouTube channel. And these are the 5 that I usually have as my rating system. So there is Shut Up and Take My Money, which is a solid 5. There is Worth. There's Pretty Damn Decent, which is a 4. Worth refunding, so you'll play it and essentially return it, or you could say Worth Bargain. No, Bargain is the third one. So third would be Bargain Bin. 2 is worth a refund, and 1 is absolute trash fire. Right.
So, like,
Shouldn't have
what
bought it
is
in the
it?
first place.
Would a 5
is
be
it?
considered a perfect game? On your scale, is a 5 a perfect?
Yes, 5 is a perfect game.
Okay.
Is there any perfect
very
games in
very
existence?
few games get 5s. Very few.
Very game.
But
Very
would
few
Breath of
games.
the Wild be considered a 5 for you?
The what?
No.
Just,
Outer
to-
Wild?
just to put a scale in my mind.
What? What
Like
get
Breath
5?
of the
Get
Wild.
to
Is that considered a 5 for you?
Breath of the Wild.
I just want to put a
Oh,
scale in
what?
my brain.
Of course it's a 5.
Um,
What do you mean? Of
But it's
course
on
it's a
Cashbox.
5.
Why are you thinking about
yeah,
this?
No. I
Literally,
think so.
Jake, we gotta
No.
jump this
Bro,
motherfucker.
we gotta give people suspense. What are we talking about right now, bro?
I have to put it. I
It's
have
a-
to put
yeah,
it
it's a
in
5.
scale for me. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
you
gotta
know,
figure out the
def-
scale. Like,
Yes, definitely a
if
5.
you're talking about 5s, and are there 5s, and does that mean they are perfect games?
I think Zelda is a perfect game.
So
Breath of
it's
the
a
Wild
5.
is a perfect game.
So it's a 5.
And but if you compare it to Tears of the Kingdom, as opposed to, apparently it falls very short, because
But for you, it's a 5.
yeah, it's a 5 for
Breath
me,
of the
because I
Wild is a
haven't played Tears of the Kingdom just yet. But yeah, if I were gonna gauge friggin' Star Wars Outlaws,
So what would be a 1? Well, let's put that on the other side. What would you consider a 1?
what would be a 1? The Gollum
Yeah.
game that came out recently.
Which one?
That's a
Disco Elysium.
Suicide Squad.
Disco Elysium. No. Jake,
See, I circled
you gotta
the fact
see me.
tellers.
Musty. I'm coming to
Baldur's
Boston.
Gate
That
3.
was by design.
Baldur's Gate 3, easy one, bro.
I didn't realize he was
Wow.
joking. I thought,
Wow.
guys, I thought he legitimately just said Disco Elysium was a 1. I was about to fly to Boston. We were about to throw hands.
Whoa! Jake, you're in Boston?
I'm in Maine now, but I spent the last decade in Boston. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's crazy. I'm 20 minutes from Boston.
No
Oh,
shit.
wow.
What part?
Wow.
Well, you don't have to dox yourself.
So
Off stream.
based at 5 being Breath of the Wild, 5 being Breath of the Wild, 1's being Suicide Squad. Well, let's see what else.
Suicide Squad
Yeah,
is
there
not
you go.
even a 1, bro. Suicide Squad is way past
No.
that. I'm sorry. It's like -10 at this point. I'm sorry.
That's
I am
crazy.
sorry, bro.
It's crazy.
Jesus, bro.
It's
Like,
even, it's
everything
way-
they released. Also, side note, this is not in the notes, but apparently Rocksteady is looking to pitch their next big game that they're
Yeah.
trying to move on to. I read that recently this
Mhm.
week, but
They're making
All right.
more games.
I don't know.
Oh,
If they,
WB Games is extra fucking money, dude.
Bro.
They're in bad shape.
Suicide Squad, the game is even free and people still won't play it.
The game is
Yeah.
free.
The
Yeah,
game.
it's
I
free
got
to
the
play
game
on
for free.
Amazon right now.
Remember,
You
I
guys
told
see
you the
videos
game was
floating
free.
around of like a Batman game set in like the Batman universe with Robert Pattinson's character.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
but
have that
no,
in
no.
the
James
latest
Gunn confirmed they're not doing that. He killed that
Yeah,
rumor.
that's what I'd say
immediately this
too
week.
if I was working on it.
Oh, true.
Oh,
You don't like the Robert Pattinson?
Fair,
Wait,
fair.
Wait, you don't like?
I
the
love
Robert
it, dude.
Pattinson-
I think that Batman rips, dude. They
I-
play that
yeah,
Nirvana
yeah.
song. He comes
I
out looking
like-
hunky as fuck.
I like the world of that Batman a lot.
No.
He
There's
surprised
something
that Batman.
in my ass. That
Imagine
shit's
if
nuts,
Ben
bro.
Affleck
Get it out of
played
here.
that
Get it outta here.
Batman.
Get that shit
Dude,
out of
okay,
here, bro.
okay,
That
Maury,
shit fucking does it for
hold
him,
on, hold on.
Besides the
Maury.
fact that Maury's hilarious.
I know,
Imagine
Heartless.
if Ben Affleck played that Batman. For real though.
No, that shit's buns. That shit is ass, bro. Get
Yeah,
that
what
shit
is
out
that?
of here.
I'm
What is
telling you,
asking about
dude.
it? That world is the most. That's the most cinematic Batman we've ever seen.
It
Oh
was a
yeah,
great
sure,
movie.
sure.
Bro,
yeah.
it surprised the fuck.
Heartless
No, it
normally
really
has
surprised
horrible
me.
takes on movies, but that's a
Mm.
good one. That he.
No,
he's
no,
right.
that movie surprised the shit out of
What,
me.
what do you mean?
Like-
That's not even like a. That's not even. That's an objective truth. When you're talking about like cinematography and like
no,
like the way it is the most cinematic Batman that
Hell,
we've ever seen.
Yeah, that movie.
Robert
is,
Pattinson
Matt
looks like he
Reeves,
listens.
fucking Kino.
He has nothing to do with the cinematography.
Nah, bro. He looks like he listens to Blink 182 in his room and cries. Like that shit is corny. Get the fuck out of here,
Yeah.
bro.
that
Like,
is the
nah,
that's a good
that's
Bruce
the-
Wayne,
that's
dude.
the
Like you listen to
point.
Blink
It's the most
182 and you will
90s
cry.
cringe, most 90s, early 2000s cringe Batman ever. And we love
that shit sucks.
Wild.
That shit sucks. Okay. Legitimately,
Sorry,
though, Cash,
back on track.
1 through 5. Where are you at with Star Wars Outlaws?
God damn. All right, so I'm at a 3, guys.
Wow.
I think I'm at a 3.
Bargain bin, huh?
Bargain
Yeah,
bin.
yeah. So I'm at a 3, close to 4.
So for $20, you will buy the game.
Probably 30. I'd probably pay 30.
You
for
would
it.
dig down a little bit in that Walmart bin to try to find
I
it?
think no. So here's the thing: even if I didn't get the game for free, right? I still think I would have bought the game. So I'd say, but I'm saying bargain bin, but I probably would have paid
So you're
this
saying
the
the game's
$70
worth
for the game.
$70?
I respect that.
Can you go on record saying that? You think it's worth $70?
I mean, if you're a Star Wars fan, I'd say go for it.
Yeah.
You'd enjoy it.
Yeah. I
That's
just went
what
out and spent.
Yeah.
And if you're not a
just went out
Star
and
Wars
did it.
fan,
If you're not a Star Wars fan, then I don't know why you're buying Star Wars.
Fair.
I'm gonna be real. I don't
Yeah,
know.
Let's just be honest. As Star Wars fans, like, dude, a 7 out of 10 Star Wars game is a 11 out of 10 Star Wars game to us. I'm gonna love every
Yeah.
second in this game, despite the fact
Right.
that it may not be that great.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm
It's
saying. That's why
average.
I would have spent full price for the game. I would have probably spent the $70.
back me up on
to
this,
get it.
Heartless. The average gamer thinks Street Fighter is probably like a 4 out of 5, 4 out of 10 game, but we think
No.
it's a 10
Oh,
out of
4
10.
out of 10.
Nah, I don't think so. The average gamer thinks
No,
bro. Street
I think
Fighter
Street
is
Fighter gets
up
a lot of
there.
respect, dude.
No, Street
Yeah.
Fighter is up there, bro. Street Fighter is
Even
up
the people
there.
that don't like it
I'm
respect it.
inclined to agree
Exactly.
with you, and I would love to, but I remember years ago when I was in high school trying to be like, yo, guys, buy this game, getting my friends to buy this game, and then being in an awkward situation where all my friends are like, yo, man, I can't believe I really listened to you and bought that shit. And
Yeah.
in my mind, I'm like, that's just because you're stupid and don't know how to learn the game.
You know, the majority of casual fans view fighting games like, oh, I'm going to buy this to play with my friends, and then they don't put the work in, and their friends surpass them, and then the game becomes a paperweight.
Listen, I'm not even no comment. I'm not even gonna say shit. Anyways,
Okay.
Heartless knows exactly.
Anyway,
what I was
sorry,
about to say.
we got off path there again.
Yes.
No.
Sorry, Maury.
No, we're great. We're great. We're fine. We're cooking, guys. We're
Well,
cooking.
Let's
I
go-
just
let's
I
go
have
the
to
next
hear.
subject.
So,
Just-
Jake,
Jake, what do you think? Is it a bargain bin game?
It's a 3 out of 5 for me, and I think that I'm in the minority because it's going to be more divisive like that than that for most people, and that's why you see the discourse that you're seeing on fucking YouTube comment sections around the globe, and I think that it's like a 4 out of 5 if you're a big Star Wars fan. Go for it, spend the $70, enjoy your Star Wars story before someone
There you go.
spoils it for you. And if you're just like a gamer-ass gamer who's either impartial on Star Wars or not into Star Wars, it'll be closer to like a 2 out of 5.
So,
Like it's
Maury,
not going
you
to be
said-
like
Hold
crazy.
on.
I like that take. I like
Maury,
that take.
you said you're an hour in. Are you going to finish this game? Like,
Yeah,
how
he
much-
is.
I know you're busy with Concord right now, but are you going to finish the game?
Yeah. Yeah, I will see. I will roll credits. We'll see if I do anything else beyond that. But I will roll credits, yeah.
Mm.
I
So, yeah.
will only be buying this game on sale. That's where my stance is.
No, I like
Yeah, it's
exactly.
on sale.
So Jake, what Jake said just now, pretty much encapsulates what I was trying to say. As a Star Wars fan, it's probably gonna be more of a 4, but as like a casual gamer or just like a gamer who just want to play another like adventure game, you're probably gonna be sitting at a 3 or a 2.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
That-
man.
that-
You tell me I can
that
like.
take.
You tell me I can drive a speeder into a bantha, like I'm fucking in. I'm not gonna leave that game on the shelf.
I'm probably aligned with Heartless here. Like, if the game goes on sale for like $40, I might pick it up, and there's no guarantee.
I'm surprised you're not saying that you were going to send money to Ubisoft so they can.
I'm saying for me, I would wait till it's $40, probably,
Yeah.
and I would maybe consider the purchase before I would consider it, because I'm not a huge Star Wars nerd. You know, I'm just not.
Yeah, I don't think I really got a chance to talk about like bugs. Like I have like a gigantic asterisk with this too.
Mhm.
Like we didn't talk about the save data thing. Like let me just ramble for like
Yeah,
3 minutes on this.
Please.
So I got this game. The way that they did it is they gave me this game 10 days early. They said you can stream it a day before anybody else gets their hand on it, which was Monday. Then on Tuesday, the rest of the world gets early access. That's when you get your day one. That's when you get like your day one patch comes out. That's Tuesday. And then Friday, the game comes out for the rest of the world. So I had the opportunity to play it early if I wanted to and review it. And I said, nah, dog, I'm not going to play it early. I know who I am. I'm a streamer. I'm going to play this for my chat and they're going to enjoy it with me. So I waited and I played it on Monday. I streamed 3 different times, took 2 lengthy breaks, put in like 12 hours into Star Wars, like got halfway through the game. Woke up Tuesday to stream again, and I have an email in my inbox from Ubisoft. And that was not my favorite email that I've ever got. It was Basically, it's to best experience the Outer Rim. We rolled out a maintenance to make sure that everyone is playing the latest version of the game. As one of the players affected who had access to an older version of the game, we are aware that you might be encountering some issues after this recent patch. We sincerely apologize. Blah, blah, blah. Make sure you're on the most recent update. Here's how to do it. Once you confirm that you're at the latest version, please start a new save to enjoy Star Wars Outlaws as our team intended.
Can I ask you a question about that? Is that specifically you, or was that just a blanket email to all people?
A bunch of people got it, right?
That was a blanket email to everybody that was issued a review code or an early access code before purchasing the game. That did not purchase the game. Anybody that just bought the game, deluxe edition or otherwise, that downloaded it on Tuesday and started a new save, they had that day one patch. This was only for the most part for creators. Now, granted, they gave it to a lot of fucking creators and a lot of people. If you gave Ubisoft the right wink, they'd send you a copy on this one. They went wide with the promotion.
They denied me.
And then
They denied me.
next round. But the problem that I had was that I was like, dude, I'm already halfway through this game. I'm not restarting it. So I had like a conundrum. If you go and watch part 4 of my thing, I read that email to my chat and I go, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to sit here and replay. I'm not going to put you guys through that. The way that I see it is we go pedal to the metal. We see if we run into one of these game breaking bugs. You know what I mean? I go the whole way. I find out that most of the people that were having an issue were having an issue in the first 4 hours of the game trying to land on a planet. It was not an issue for me. I didn't have an issue landing on another planet. I played that game for another 9 hours. I went all the way through. I got to the very last mission. I did the last piece of gameplay that I was supposed to do. Let's say that I killed or destroyed something. Who knows what the last function was? And then no cutscene played. And I had no objective. And I was like, let me try reloading, and I couldn't reload. And I got soft locked out of beating the game.
That's
So
crazy.
I went and I was like, wait, let me see how much of this game is left. Like, what do we do in this situation? So I brought up a full playthrough on YouTube, and I brought up to where we were, and we were 4 minutes away from the end. It was literally just the last cutscene didn't initiate. So I didn't get the trophy, but again, I don't care about trophies, and we just watched the ending, which is fine. I earned it. I did everything that game had, offered me to do. But it's just to say there is some jank. There is some jank in that game, without a doubt, and it'll be
to people that were reviewers that had this problem, right? If you bought the game,
and only on PlayStation 5.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Only on PlayStation 5. And people that bought the game did not
deal
deal with this.
Okay, but if you bought the game, this didn't happen. That for sure.
Nope, because you didn't have access until that day zero.
I would be outraged,
Correct. Yeah, and I think a lot of this comes down to like poor communication on Ubisoft's part. I think, and that's like it's you don't want to bite the hand that feeds here. You know what I mean? Like speak positively about our partners and stuff like that. But I think they could have done a better job communicating what the actual issue was. Because the fact that I was able to go as far as I did and then hit the stuff is a way better experience than restarting my save 12 hours in. So it sounds like they sent out a blanket statement to try to like, hey, everybody, sorry about this. And then they sent out another thing like, here's some compensation. We give it 100 Ubisoft credits and a little fucking bonus thing. And everyone is like outraged. They're all shaking their fists in the air as if it affects them. When in reality, everyone that's outspoken about this, it probably didn't even affect, and they probably have no idea what they're talking about. There's people with Xboxes that are saying the same thing.
Get the game for free, right? They did
yeah.
get the,
the only
yeah,
thing
so it's like you lost time at most. You didn't actually lose money.
There's the potential that maybe with the time zones, perhaps some areas might have been affected by it, but for the most part, it wasn't. That patch went live on Tuesday, and the game was available on Tuesday. It was set out primarily for people playing on PlayStation 5 that had access before the game's retail availability via early access or not. So I think it's a lot of keyboard warriors and people that are bandwagoning hating on this situation.
Yes. Also, I feel like a lot of the bugs and issues that were in the game that I've seen mainly came from PlayStation, which is crazy to even say. Like a lot of them were.
You know what's one way to avoid all this, folks? Buy physical media. That'll never happen to you.
I think I think that physical media would still get hit though.
There's a less of a chance.
Is janky. The game is janky. The game is janky. You're still.
Oh, did the whole save thing? There's less of a chance that'll happen to you if you buy. It's
important to remember that when you buy a physical copy, when you put that game in, it's going to
have
have
all
the
download.
It's going to have all the jank. The only thing that stops the jank from being there is the day one patch that
Patch.
you would have gotten even if it was digital. So just clarifying.
For a little bit of like inside baseball here is like it sucks. It actually, I think this situation sucks for people like Cash and I more than anybody else, because I think what happened is that like Ubisoft went really, really wide with their promotion for this game for creators, right? They reached out to smaller creators and gave them opportunities that aren't often offered to AAA, to people of our size with games of this like size and budget and IP, right? And because of that, we got some people in the mix that had access to the game early that weren't always like taking the high road and speaking like not like, again, they don't pay me for my opinion, they don't pay me for my time, they send me a game and they hope that I share it with my community and I can say whatever the fuck I want. But I think what happened is that a lot of the people that got their hands on this aren't the highest brow creators in the world, and they would rather get a headline than anything else. So it's easier for you to be affected by this and then bandwagon and then have that conversation online like, I can't believe Ubisoft fucked me with my saved data after I played their game early for them, when in reality wouldn't have had access to that game if Ubisoft hadn't sent it to you anyway. And it sucks and it's not great, but it's an asterisk. But
that's a great take, great perspective.
No, I do agree with Jake on this one. I do.
It's weird.
Definitely 100% agree with Jake on this one.
And I wonder if they go wide again. Like, I wonder if that affects who
I think they still
is
will.
Invited to play Assassin's Creed early or something
about
like that.
Business model. Like, essentially, you're giving a chance for someone to play the game that would have otherwise paid for it. You know, I find that curious.
Yeah, I think even that.
You know.
Yeah, I think even that. Like, if they went wide, I'm thinking it's like, I don't know if it's tens of thousands of creators. My guess is it's less than that. And when you're talking about games that sell millions of copies, it's a real small percentage.
Well,
I'm not sure that's cannibalizing
general,
too much.
Where the game industry, it seems like they're counting every penny. You know, it's just interesting that they would essentially give some.
But you gotta spend money to make money, and you want your marketing campaign sometimes to be a splash. And they experiment. They want to figure out new models of how to engage with the consumers. So maybe if that means giving it to streamers, so streamers engage with the consumers.
I mean, that
makes sense. This is a fairly new program. The creator program is a fairly. It started
that makes sense in
a year ago.
IP. Because you're trying to get that IP out there in front of people's eyes. But Star Wars, everyone knows Star Wars, you know?
Yeah.
So
it's just like, I just noticed it because I've had opportunities from Ubisoft over the past like years where like I've been invited to, like, I had the day early for like Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I got to check out like even like smaller games, like access to like Brawlhalla DLC and stuff like that, or X Defiant before other people had the opportunity. But I had never seen them go as hard as like early access with this much of a lead time on anything other than like the Rogue Prince of Persia earlier this year. Besides that, it's one day if you're lucky. None of this like 10 days for a AAA
game like Concord probably could have benefited from doing something like this, putting it into the hands of a bunch of FPS content creators and then letting them broadcast it out to the world. But I don't know about this game, you know?
I mean, listen, that's a whole can of worms, but Concord releasing at the time that it did during the changing of the guard that is taking place right now between, different CEOs that were running the company, I think they really got the short end of the stick when it comes to marketing budget, because if they would have really pushed and put some money behind that and put Concord in the hands of the creators that would appreciate Concord for what it is, we would be looking at a much different fucking reality.
Yeah, it would have had a much more well-received launch, most likely. Because
they should have paid Shroud his 6 figures to fucking play that game for a week straight, and I think this would have been wild.
Not only that, I think they should have also did a lot more like betas. I think they only had like 2 major betas that they did.
Well,
I think if they had like for the general public, if they had more. Hold up, Jeremy. Hold up. If they had done like more betas during that time, like before the game got released, where the general public, who is a potential buying customer, were able to play the game for free. So it's an open beta. You could play that open beta and try it out. See if you like it. If you don't, you don't, and then you probably move on. But if you do, you'll consider spending that $40.
Like Granblue? Like Granblue did it?
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Question on that, Mori. Like Concord, it was only available, right, to the people that pre-ordered it, right? So you'd already paid to get into the beta. Is that how it went?
No, originally the closed beta would have been open to people who pre-ordered, and then it was extended to people who also had a PS Plus account. And then they had a following weekend that was open to absolutely everybody, no strings attached. But we never saw numbers really go above 2,000 for either of those betas. So it started off in a really rough spot, even when it was available to absolutely anyone. People
Mhm.
did not
I
give the
think the-
game a chance.
But the first beta was
The
pre-ordered.
messaging on it.
The
So
first
it
beta
was
was
for Steam. I think that's where they really lost their footing, is that like, because we have to have this conversation and clarify, the messaging got really fucked up, where initially it was supposed to be the first one is for pre-orders only, and then the next week is for everybody. And that's very simple and an excellent messaging. And then it looks like they had to do like a snap reaction, like pre-orders were not in the spot that they wanted it to be. So they
Right.
changed it for PlayStation Plus members could get access to it, which now is complicating, like, wait, who has access and when and what can I do and what tier do I
Muddies the
need?
waters.
And wait, does that work for Steam? But truthfully, it doesn't work for Steam. Steam users have to either pre-order or wait until weekend 2. When in reality, I think that if they could have changed one thing in the past, would be like, nope, sorry, everyone can play right now on both fucking systems. Like
It's-
that would
But
have.
to clarify, Maury, for the first beta, it was pre-order only. Am I right on that or wrong?
Wrong, because it
pre-order
also included PS Plus members as well.
Okay, gotcha.
So and that was
Yeah,
a
that was
change.
added after the fact.
Yeah, it was added after the fact. So you're right, Jerm. The announcement that you would have seen would have been, hey, if you pre-order, you get access to the closed beta. But then they jumbled everything when they threw in PS Plus as well. I
So it
think
wasn't
more than
clear from the offset. Gotcha.
not at all. Not at all. And then going forward, I do not feel that the beta was marketed well either. Here's the deal. I know that at some point today we're gonna get into Concord.
Mhm.
Do you guys want to do it now?
Oh,
What
we're
do you-
bro,
Well,
we're
this is-
kind of
well, this is
already
kind of
here.
the
We just
transition,
did
yeah.
it.
This is kind of
We
the
kinda
Yeah, I'm
just
transition.
good
did
on
it.
Star
We kinda
Wars.
just did it. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're pretty much
We got
good
a
on
5,
Star Wars.
baby.
Yeah.
Everybody got, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
But yeah,
any
yeah.
final words on Star Wars? Any final words?
Good game, not that great game.
Perfect.
Not game of the year contender. It is not.
No,
Oh.
it's not.
You like how I did that like Yoda? You know?
My final thoughts on Star Wars: go woke, go broke, dead game, dead on arrival game.
I'm a straight guy. The last thing I'm gonna do is look at a girl on my screen all day.
She needs to brush her hair. What the fuck?
God, I love that shit. I'm sorry. Yeah, Cash, dude, there was some
Just-
Concord was in the news this week. What's going on?
I mean, I think I should ask you that question. You're
Yeah.
the go-to guy.
You're
You're
the
probably
guy.
the biggest fucking streamer on Twitch playing Concord. So
Yeah.
that question is more for you, Maury. What's going on with Concord, Maury?
Dude. People have been trying to find numbers. A lot of numbers have been guesstimates. I've seen people throwing around what the budget of the game would have been. Those are not substantiated. People are making guesses at how big the team size was, how much they would have been getting paid. People are saying 200 to 300 million, whatever. It could be larger than that number. It could be smaller than that number, but we do have a number that is somewhat substantiated. And that's that analysts are predicting that Concord has only sold 25,000 units. I'm going to give context to what this means.
Mhm.
We can assume that Concord was at least 100 million. At least, at the very least, it was at least
the very
100
least.
Right.
Yeah.
with 25,000 copies sold. People are guessing that 15,000 on PlayStation, 10,000 on Steam / Epic Store. With 25,000 copies sold, you're raking in $1 million. We are talking about one of, if not the biggest loss on a Sony first-party studio of all time. These numbers are not good. You guys know that I love this game, and you guys know that it pains me to talk about this title in a negative light. But if these analysts are correct, you are talking about 1% of revenue recuperated. If the game was at the cheapest it could have cost, which is
1%
$100
of
million.
budget, not 1% of budget recuperated.
Budget. That's not
Yeah.
including the price that it would have cost Sony to acquire Firewalk. That's not including marketing. That's not
Yeah.
including any of that. So right now, we are in one of the worst positions ever. Like for a title, there's never been a flop this hard.
Yeah,
Even
this is a
Gollum.
record-breaking flop.
Yeah,
straight up.
you could probably argue that even Gollum.
I
did
want
better.
to get into what it would look like for this to turn around and be a huge success. We'll
Okay.
talk about that later.
Yeah.
Okay, I jumped the gun there, but you know, I said it, but we can touch back on that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We've been talking. We talked a lot last week about my thoughts on Concord at large.
You love the game.
I
Yeah, he
love the
does.
game.
He does.
Across
I'm buying
beta
it, guys.
and-
I decided I'm gonna buy it in 2 weeks.
I have a
Good man.
comparison number. Helldivers 2 at the same price point sold 12 million copies.
Bro,
Crazy.
do you mind if I say something?
Come on.
Okay.
Come
Two
on.
games. This whole Concord thing has intrigued me because two games stick out in my mind: Helldivers and Power World. right?
Mhm.
That was like a tongue twister for me. But
Mhm.
anyways, Helldivers is $40. Power World is, I believe, still in early access.
It's
They
still
charge-
40. It was $40.
It was $40.
Yeah, Power was I
Oh,
think
I
was
thought it was free to
$40.
play.
No,
No, Power is not free to play.
Not
Just
free
on
to
Game
play.
Pass, so a
Power
lot of people
World-
got it for
Yeah,
perceived free.
okay.
yeah, perceived
That's
free.
but-
I
but
like
if you want
that.
to buy it on Steam, listen.
Perceived.
So Power World was full of bugs,
Yep.
and Helldivers was a PVE experience. There's no PvP. There's no people were super excited and ecstatic to pay $40 for those games
People
And for
thought they were getting a deal of
microtransactions.
the century.
and for
People, right?
microtransactions, and it has and they're like, yo, we can't pay $40 for this Guardians of the Galaxy ripoff. Yo, somebody came in Maury's chat today and said, I don't want the colors, bro. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. Listen,
But
I haven't played the game yet.
it is an
It looks
interesting
fun. I
thing,
haven't
right?
played the game yet. I'm going to try it out. It looks fun. I haven't played the game yet. I'm going to try it out. But my guy, I don't like the colors. Bro. And you know what's crazy? The irony about that is just the game is really fucking vibrant. You see this pink in the background here? I like vibrant. Lots of people like vibrant. Lots of people like. Look at the tie dye. Look at the X element right above me. Where you know what I'm saying? We like this stuff. We have RGB. My shit right now is green, pink, and purple, lavender even. And like, this dude came in the channel and was like, "Yo, I don't like the colors. I'm sorry. Play the damn game." Yo,
No, but there's a lot of people that complain about the
people
color
paid
palette.
$130 for Star Wars to complain about the graphics in that game when these characters look flawless.
Yes. Dude, I gotta say this. I love what Heartless is on. This is a conversation that I've seen, and I'm gonna actually get to the real substantial points of why this game is sitting at 25,000 units, because all I did today was right. All I did today was think. That's all I fucking did. So I have ideas, but I want to speak to what Heartless said, and that's that, like, yeah, you see these outliers. You see the person that's like, I don't like the character design. Character design is extremely subjective. Me and Heartless both like it. Somebody doesn't. There's no way for us to argue about that. There's just not. You know what I mean? Someone today said, doesn't Roadhog look more iconic than the other person in this game? I'm like, Roadhog has a Mad Max-ish feel.
Can I offer a comparison? Can I offer a comparison for character design? Like, I'm gonna point like Heartless. Look at Manon. Today's her birthday, by the way, in Street Fighter. Or tomorrow. That character, she looks weird. Her hair is weird. You know, she's a weird looking character. She's got weird looking feet. But the reason why people love her is because she's got a massive yacht. You know, so like, but if you look at Concord, the character designs are trash because they don't. You know,
a massive what?
You heard what I said.
I actually didn't.
Massive yacht.
Massive
like,
yacht.
Manon, you know,
a massive yacht.
She looks weird, right? Her hair is weird. She's just a weird looking.
Where are we getting at with this?
She's a weird looking person. Her character design is subjective, right?
For sure.
But Concord, people looking at those character designs are just as out there and innovative and outside of the box, but they get nothing but hate because it's not sexualized.
Exactly. And I'm gonna,
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're right.
It feels unfair to be pointing that as a criticism for Concord when it is.
Bro, it's because of the pronouns. Bro,
speak for yourself. I can't get Daw out of my head.
Whether or not he's our president, we live in Trump America, and you put pronouns in a video game, you have people who just simply will not buy it because there's two words.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? It's like,
and that's the thing. There's all this really super subjective shit. Because you're right. I was one of the prime people who went out, and I was like, dude, this group of people is pissing me off because they're calling it this and that, and I can't stand that someone doesn't have their rack out, and whatever. There is that group, right? There is the group who's like, I don't like the color palette, right? Like, but these are all, I genuinely believe, after 2 weeks, though they are very loud, I genuinely believe that these are a small percentage. I believe that they are a small percentage of a larger grouping. I think that the reason why this game didn't do well is for some very obvious reasons, some very distinct reasons that can actually be measured. I want to ask all of you right now, when is the last time that Sony had a first-party studio release a first-person shooter? Does anyone know what it was and what year it was?
Killzone,
Shadowfall.
Resistance. Right?
Killzone Shadowfall, 2013.
Resistance. Is it Resistance? 3?
PS4. No, PS4 is that 4th Killzone, right?
Killzone Shadowfall.
Okay.
The 2013 Killzone Shadowfall. It has been 11 years.
PlayStation Move compatibility.
They had PlayStation Move compatibility for Shadowfall?
Yeah, you could put the
pretty sure.
thing in the gun. I remember that.
Wasn't that 3?
Yeah.
Wasn't that 3?
No, I don't. Oh,
You
fuck.
could
Yeah, I
put
think
that
you're
thing
right.
with the squishy
Okay.
ball in the gun and shoot the gun on the screen.
Regardless, that's an interesting mechanic. Never got to use it for Killzone 3. But regardless, Shadowfall, that is the last time that we saw Sony market a first-person shooter. Okay. So I want to open just by saying that Sony has taken a new route this generation, the PlayStation 5. And they do this thing where they just shut the fuck up and they don't say shit. And I love that.
It's a bunch of cinematic games. Like most of the games that has been released for the PS5 era has been overly cinematic games. That was their bag. That's what their bag was.
Single
But
player
we have
narrative
to
adventures.
acknowledge that
Yeah.
this is a massive loss for Sony.
well,
They
yes,
ain't making that
yes.
money back within the next 5 years at this rate, if at all. You know,
And they're not
So-
they're not getting it back. It's gone. It's done. It's done. It's definitively over. This marketing campaign that they use for every single player free-to-play title, not free-to-play, sorry, single player narrative adventure title is not going to work for a multiplayer game. You cannot announce a game 3 months before it comes out when it's a multiplayer shooter. You can't, especially not when you're fighting the uphill battle of charging $40. Listen, all of us in here agree microtransactions are shit. They suck. Helldivers 2 is a phenomenal example because people bought that game and ate up the fact that they'd have to buy a battle pass every month for $10 and they didn't fucking care. They didn't. But most people don't like
It was a
microtransactions.
unique experience though when it comes in regards to
Yeah.
Helldivers. You got
It
to
was
play a
very
co-op
different than what was in the
experience with
market.
friends. It wasn't PvP. So Heartless is saying the fact that it wasn't PvP, it was probably a strike against the
Is there
game.
even a rank mode?
Hold up. The fact that there was a PvE is the reason why people gravitated to the game because they can now play together as a collective and
We could do that in
What,
Overwatch as well.
well, no. But this is like a story mission. There's like an
We do that in
overarching
Concord as well.
never. No. I think Concord is still like a
Oh, you
multiplayer
mean
shooter.
story missions?
Yes, like story mission. There's an overarching narrative with Helldivers that you're playing towards.
I have
and
a
you're
question.
playing towards a group of people.
How many? There's like 3 different planets in Helldivers,
Oh,
No, there's multiple
lots
problems. There's multiple
but there's
problems.
like 3 different types of enemies, though, right?
2 types.
There's only 2 types of enemies.
And they keep adding like different I
Variations
guess
of the enemy.
variation, yeah, like different kind of
But
grunts.
the,
and all
the
that. So-
variations are pretty.
To me, that
varied.
that type of game, you're not. I wouldn't even get 100. I wouldn't even get 100 hours out of that kind of game.
I'm not gonna
For
lie.
me, I
jumped-
think games like those are dead on the water because once your friends stop playing them, you stop playing it too.
So
So-
stick with me. This is one of my points against Concord. Something that I wrote today was PlayStation's isolatory ecosystem. Let me explain what I mean. Sony for the last is that right?
They don't
11
play well
years.
with others. They don't play well with others.
They don't. Can I ask you a question? Think about every
Mm.
Sony, because every Sony first party studio game, the reason why people go out and buy new Sony first party studio franchises is because they're like, well, I like God of War. Maybe I'll like Horizon.
Yeah,
I like The
pretty
Last of Us.
much.
Maybe I'll like God of War, right?
Yeah.
We have seen Sony build an ecosystem over the last 11 years that encourages all of us to not get in parties, all of us to not talk to each other, all of us to not play games with each other, because every one of their games is a narrative, emotional experience that we want to experience in silence. So many people were like, I'd buy this game, but none of my friends are going to buy it. I've watched thousands of people in my chat say that exact thing. Probably not thousands, it's probably hundreds.
To add on to that, Sony is one of the main sort of sponsors for the fighting game scene, the competitive scene,
Mhm.
and it's a 1v1 for the most part experience. So
Well, that's
they
a money
seem-
play. That's
yeah,
a money
but
play
I'm
for
just
them.
saying
though.
they seem to be more geared towards these solo gaming type experiences. One player, that was what I mean. You know,
I don't know
Clearly.
I don't know who
Yeah.
I was speaking to today when it came to Sony and that, like, particularly when it comes to like events like Evo and whatever. But I think they make it a stipulation in their contract for them sponsoring your event that you only use PlayStation in
that
that
is
event.
part of it for Evo specifically, but it goes even beyond that for Capcom games specifically.
Mhm.
Sony kind of has a deal with Capcom, and Capcom they make it as a stipulation to use their game in your tournament that PlayStation is a standard. So it
See?
kind of settles down.
So you see,
So-
but that's a money play for them. So that is something totally different
So
from what they're
in
doing right now
turn,
with the single
because
player games.
Capcom is such the big name in the industry and fighting game scene, Tekken's also going to follow suit because you're not going to get multiple setups. It's to cut costs down. You're just going to buy all PlayStation, and then it just becomes a standard all the way across the board. So
No, I get that, but what I'm speaking to is just the whole single player experience. That's something totally different from this particular.
Let's not
situation.
take away from the point though. Maury, what were you saying?
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna just say my 3 points about why this game bombed, and then I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say because I'm curious to see if you guys think there's any other larger, big picture reasons outside of like these little moments we're seeing, like the character design being subjective or people calling it woke and all that bullshit, right? Really definitive things. First being PlayStation's isolatory ecosystem. Over the last 11 years, they have almost exclusively released single-player narrative action adventure games that do not encourage all of us to get into party together and talk and ask what we're all going to play. That's number one.
They
Number
don't know how to
two,
handle that. They don't know how to market that for that.
and that's number two, their marketing campaign. I understand that for Astrobot, you can give a reveal and then release the game 3 months later. For a multiplayer shooter, a genre, regardless of what variation of multiplayer shooter it is, that is very oversaturated, you have to give people time. You have to give people time to get acclimated to it, to get used to it. You really shouldn't have had 2 betas one weekend apart. You probably should have had like 3 betas across a year. That would have benefited you a lot more in the long run. So
yeah.
Look at Deadlock. There, you can play the game until it releases next year. You can play it in early access.
Well, look at
For
2XKO.
free.
We just had the alpha, but it was able to be played at Evo Tokyo and Evo USA. Those are months apart,
Concord would have needed more than that.
I'm
Yeah,
saying
they
that's the model to
Concord
follow
needed-
is have it staggered like that.
What Maury's saying is that Concord needed to be letting people look at this game and touch this game a year
It didn't
ago.
get enough breath. It basically.
Yes.
what
And we
Maury's
know
saying.
2XKO
did.
isn't going to be out till next year, so it needed to be more separation.
Yeah,
It did.
You needed more hits. You needed more hits. Like people, you needed more people to like kind of feel this game out. All right, think about even with Marvel. Marvel. I was about to say
Hero?
Ultimate Alliance. Marvel Rivals. With Marvel Rivals, we saw how many betas this year? Or 2? We saw 2 betas, but the game we still saw the game throughout the year.
yes.
And
Yes,
the game
and-
isn't even out for another 3 months. So
There's a
Yep.
time trickle for that as well.
Yeah.
Yes, there's no, and that's my problem with Sony here is there's no time trickle. They thought they could do what they do with Astrobot or God of War, and it didn't work. And lastly, the media literacy of gamers is at an all-time fucking low. The amount of people that
For
came
real.
into my Jake, it's insane. The amount of people who came into my stream and said, well, why would I play this when I could play Overwatch? It's just another hero shooter. They don't know what an arena shooter is.
No. Here's the thing. Here's
They
what.
don't
how,
know.
But
They
here
don't
how.
know.
Here's why I would speak to that though, Maury. I don't think that's what it is. It's just the fact that the industry has changed in regards to shooters. Like
Sure.
we don't name
It's
the
a
last
saturated
shooter
market.
that you get that you can name the last hero shooter that you don't have to buy to get an experience out of outside of Call of Duty.
That
A
you
hero
don't-
shooter, every hero shooter that you see, not hero shooter, but shooter in general,
Okay.
it's mostly free to play. Name another shooter that is not free to play. Name outside of Call of Duty, and Call of Duty also has its own free to play aspect.
Could we say that Overwatch wasn't free when it came out?
It wasn't.
No,
That's
it
fair.
wasn't. But that was before the market
It's
changed.
Which,
The
technically
by the way,
market,
I bought Overwatch for
now.
$60 twice.
no,
It's
I get that.
essentially Overwatch 2 now, so that doesn't.
No. That's not even the case. The market has now changed since then.
You're right. You're right.
The market
Well,
has now changed
Rainbow
since then.
Six and those types of
How
ones.
many
You
of
have to
these
pay for
games
that,
go
right?
under? Because
No,
because they're
but
free to
name
play.
another shooter. But wait, name another shooter
Yes.
that is not free to play.
Battlefield, is that free?
Battlefield is a dead game, Jerem. Nobody's
In
playing
general,
Battlefield.
you said to name one.
No,
So-
That's right.
that does.
Term's
Yeah,
right. Term's right.
Yeah,
That is-
yeah, you're
Battlefield-
right, but it's like nobody's playing it.
He's
We're
right.
talking about that as a hit.
Yeah, you're right, Cash. You're right. No, I understand. I see what you're saying. You're
Nobody's
right.
playing them.
Yeah, nobody's buying shooters.
The market has shifted to the market
is
has
a big
shifted
problem.
to shooters being a free to play standard.
Yeah.
Call of Duty realized that, which is why they have Warzone. We have Overwatch 2. We have fucking Apex Legend. We have Fortnite. Name another one, because I'm pretty sure there's a shit ton more.
Well, there's-
Counter Strike.
There's
Can I go on?
This is a
Valorant,
recipe for disaster. This is a
Finals,
recipe for
Valorant.
disaster.
Valorant.
It's
Yeah.
like
Disaster.
DNA wise,
If
the closest thing
developers-
that it has as an example is like fucking Battleborn, which tried this 10 years ago and
Yeah.
kind of didn't work out there either. Like $60
Yeah.
2K games,
Exactly.
like Borderlands adjacent.
Well, I
Yeah.
think where they also failed in terms of the beta was usually betas are there to get information about how the netcode's going to work, but also to get feedback of the overall design of the game. Do they need to make changes in the characters? They need to just overall change aspects of the game.
Mhm.
And those betas are way too close to the launch of that game.
Way too close.
You know, so
like-
the people are not vibing with the character design. Fair enough. They're just not vibing with it. I'm not
Yeah,
for
that's,
whatever
that's,
reason.
that's preference. That's
They didn't
preferential.
give them. They didn't get. There was no chance to make any changes before the launch of the game. You know,
Mhm.
if to give the game a chance. You know, to maybe
Yeah.
Okay.
appeal to more people.
All right, let's go.
Two things. First of all, Hades saying it's not an arena shooter; it is a hero shooter. That's one thing. That's not really that important. Damn.
It doesn't play like a hero shooter at all.
Hmm.
At all. In any way. It's
Heartless,
much
you forgot your point.
I forgot my point. What were you guys talking about?
I was
Um,
talking about the
Concord
fact
line.
that
Yeah.
I was talking about the fact that you can't name another shooter that is free, that is
Oh,
not
yeah,
free to
this
play.
is a recipe for disaster. Because what developers are going to come to the consensus is that we can't charge for our games. And then if we live in a world where most of these free to play games are everything's free, so now you really have to say now or die, or like there's no chance for you. Like, probabilistically, there's no chance for new games, new IPs. And I know I talked about this before. We're going to end up in a world where everything becomes cookie cutter because the only thing that the audience will accept is Disney or Star Wars or
They're all
Dragon
Disney.
Ball Z, or we're going to keep getting regurgitated remakes, and they're going to keep adding new stories to things like Star Wars until they kill it because they don't want to leave the tried and true methods and the tried and true IPs because
have a
these other
question.
IPs just keep dying.
I have a question. Like, what is considered sort of the casual genre of gaming these days? It used to be platformers.
Shooters.
I don't know.
Shooters.
Yeah, shooters.
Shooters.
That's
Fortnite.
kind of
It's not even a genre. It's just a game.
Shooters.
Casual gaming is Fortnite, man.
Fortnite,
Yeah,
bro.
so
Yo, if
shooters
some
are the casual market of games now.
listen to me,
So that
if
has the
someone
mass-
comes to me and tells me the only game they play is Fortnite, you're not a fucking gamer, and I will
So
punch you in the throat.
the point I'm trying
not
to
a
make
gamer.
is
You're a Fortniter.
Free to play works for for shooting games because it's the most casual friendly to the market. It doesn't work for other genres because it's it just would kill it.
No. So to speak more onto what Heartless just said, right? I agree with what you're saying, Heartless, but there's also the fact that now the market is looking at the value proposition differently. That's what's happening. So you're gonna say, you're either going to be a groundbreaking shooter or die, but that's kind of like the same fate if you put a price tag on your shooter. Does
Yeah.
that make sense?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. So it's like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But I feel like if Concord had launched with like a free to play situation, it would probably stand a better chance because
They
a
just need
lot of
free
people
weekends.
even that. But I feel like that. But there's a lot of people that said I would play the game had it been free to play. This game
Well,
looks interesting. This
Would
game
it
is
been
fun.
good to have free to play and then have the multiple tiers where you buy the season passes in advance and that actually costs money? That would have
See-
been more reasonable.
And that's my thing. It's like, for me, it's like, Cash, you're right. If the game had gone free to play, we would have seen a higher player base, but that
Probably.
wouldn't have translated to that studio
Long-term.
making enough money. Yeah, it wouldn't have translated to a long-term financial security for Firewalk Studios. And this is my whole thing that I've kind of argued on stream a lot. And I'll just bring it here for the sake of saying it. And that's that everyone is correct. If this game was free to play, there would have been 1 million players or some stupid number of people trying it. And they could, taunt that number and throw it up and be like, look at how many players we got. Kind of like Game Pass does, right? But that's the problem. Game Pass isn't fucking profitable. Right.
Not only that, people they're not coming. They can't now come to their own conclusions to the game. They can only go off of what they actually see on fucking YouTube. So it's like,
And maybe you can
That's just what
speak
it
to
is.
this, Maury, is some of the hate that game is getting in terms of the representation, character design, etc. If the game would have been free, it would still been getting that hate.
Still.
That would not have gone
That's
anywhere.
also very true.
So,
Yeah.
So to add on to what Mori keeps saying is there's more to why this game is being hated than in the lack of free to play.
Do you think if they added white characters?
Nah, I don't even want to go there. I feel like if it really comes down to the whole
I
free
didn't
to
even
play
notice
versus
the
not
game
free to
didn't
play
have any
aspect.
white.
There is a white character.
I-
There's one.
until
There's
we
one
got
white
out
character.
You can
There
chalk it
is
up
a
to
white
so many
character.
things, but I think
Yeah.
if there is one thing that we can chalk all this up to is it is like transitioning from Jim Ryan's PlayStation
Mhm.
to Herman Hulst's PlayStation with like Hiroki Totoki in the center of it. And basically he was in charge, who's just like the chairman of Sony, not even really like the
A gamer.
PlayStation guy. Trying to figure out what to do with this video game. Like I think they just like ripped it and shipped it, man. It's a really fucked up situation, and I think they had one shot. I don't know if there's like one pivot they can make. I think they maybe have another chance to kind of rebrand or relaunch or do something, but I think we won't have the full picture of what happened behind the scenes as far as the release and the promotion of this game and the marketing for this game until years from now, when someone does a retrospective on what was happening behind closed doors at Sony during the transition of power between those CEOs.
Yeah, I think this game could see a second wind if it gets like a Netflix show, kind of like
They have a show in the works, but I
characters.
don't know how big that's gonna be. They have like an anthology series that they'll have one episode that they're gonna be featured in, but we don't know how
Some
well
people
that's
already
gonna
pay for
translate.
Netflix, so it would be maybe
It's not
they
Netflix,
give
it's
it a
Amazon.
chance if they like the characters.
Oh,
And
it's
a
gonna be on
Netflix show would
Amazon.
do that for some people.
Jeremy, it's going to be one of the secret level episodes. But all that said, I think I guess what I'll say is this: I want to, we just gave a lot of bad news about Concord. 25,000 units is really rough. $1 million is really, really rough. I want to have like one brief moment of just like, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about this as well. I think now Concord has to pivot. And I think what you do is I think you put a free to play weekend in the next 2 months. I think that by the end of the year, you put it into PS Plus. And I think that if that doesn't help, I think you take it, you repurpose it for live service, and you make all these greedy fucks who want all their games to be live service. You make them pay $10 for every fucking character, $10 for every fucking map, and you shove it down their fucking throat. Since everyone wants microtransactions, I want you to eat your words. But I think that's their only way forward is you got to give a free-to-play weekend, see if that bolsters PS Plus, and if that still doesn't work, free to play.
Here's the other thing too. I saw a lot of PlayStation pundits said like, who was this game for? Because again, it comes down to conditioning again. Like PlayStation is used to a single player experience. And I've heard a lot of pundits for PlayStation say, like, I don't want this game. I didn't want this game. This is not what I was looking for our next like upcoming PlayStation release. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So there's also that was working against it as well.
With numbers like these,
Yeah.
I think the game could get shut down by this point next year, if it even makes it that far. You know,
That's what marketing's for. Consumers don't know what they want; they need to be told.
Yep.
You know what this reminds me of? Gigantic Rampage. So Gigantic was a game that was initially free to play. Game shut down, but a lot of fans, because of fan outcry, they returned the game. But the game came back, I think, with a $20 release or a $30 release.
We reported on it earlier this year.
I think the game did fairly well. But I got it for free the other day. If you guys want to check it out, it's on the Epic Store. Go get the game because I want more people to play with. Yeah,
I got it.
You got it? Let's fucking go. We're gonna play it.
Well,
yeah, guys.
Noel Voidus plays that game.
Yeah, I want to try it out. Because the game flew under my radar. I didn't know anything about it until the re-release.
I think it's fair to say the future of this franchise is on rocky ground. It's very scary. You know, I'm very concerned how with player numbers like these, the game will be sticking around.
Yeah. Well,
all right.
There's another game, kind of multiplayer shooter that released, and that was the Deadlock beta. Cash, what's going on with the Deadlock beta? Much better numbers than Concord. Jesus.
Yeah, Harless and I tried it.
Much better numbers than Concord.
Yeah, it does.
Infinitely better. Yeah. It has like 1 million players. It had 1 million players at one point.
Yeah, it's going bonkers.
Yeah.
The thing is, I feel like there's
about this game a lot.
I don't know if it's me. Heartless can probably speak more to this because we both got to play the game. Did anybody else get to try the game out?
I haven't played it.
No. So we tried. We played it this past weekend, and one of the things that I feel like I already know this game is not for me. I already know. there's too much that is happening in this game all at once, and I have a hard time adjusting to what the fuck I need to do. I'm sorry.
Nah,
Like,
bro.
just-
If you can play Street Fighter, you could do this. But do you
Bro.
want? And there's so much you have to study. There
So
is
much.
so much you have to study. When you go to the menu to customize your character in game, by the way,
Mhm.
right? So like there's like lanes, and you have to like go up lanes. If you run low on health, there's like no way to heal. I don't think you have to actually go back.
To
You have
heal.
to go back
Yeah,
to
Like
the
a
base.
MOBA.
MOBA.
Like
Yeah.
a MOBA.
It's a MOBA.
It is.
It's a MOBA.
A MOBA.
It needs to be
Go back
treated.
to the base, and then you gotta customize your character in the menu, and it's like a whole book to actually get into that game. It's like you got to do some studying. You got to do some studying.
Yeah.
Sounds kind of like
You
Smite.
gotta,
I played
you gotta
years
do
of
your
Smite.
research. Yeah, you need to do your research. You need to understand the game's functions. It is a very easy game to get tilted in,
The
and
ability.
it is an easy game to like. It has way more in common with League of Legends than it has in common with Overwatch. Basically, like the only thing that's changing is your perspective, and that it kind of feels like a shooter depending on the character that you're playing. But it is
Right.
very much the same thing. Where like if you go to your lane and you die 3 times, you could ruin the fucking game for everybody else on your team. Like all 5
Oh,
other
yes.
people can help you. You know what I mean? And it's not until you find yourself in a competent team of like 6 people that know what they're doing against at least 4 or 5 people that know what they're doing that you're going to have like a fulfilling experience there. So there is a pretty big learning curve, especially for people coming in and expecting a hero shooter, which is what it kind of looks like on paper until you see that mini map pop up on your screen.
First
But-
impressions, I thought it was Team Fortress 2 kind of game,
Right.
but I guess it's a MOBA.
No. This is League of Legends all day.
Bro, listen.
Yeah.
I know I ruined
it's fucking
many a
sweet.
games for other players.
You enjoy the game?
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. It's fun. I just
So-
It's gonna
I
take
just
some
don't
time.
get like how the abilities they upgrade, but then you have these builds.
Hmm.
And
Well,
but
the-
it's cool though that they let you pick popular builds,
Yeah.
and that's cool.
Yeah,
That's cool.
it's nice, but it's again, it's like a really high barrier. Like it's one of those games where I'm like explaining, like I know how to have a good time with it, but I haven't had the best time with it yet, if that makes sense. Because it's one of those games where like if you're not performing well in your lane and getting last hits on minions and making enough money and not dying, then you're not going to be able to build your character correctly, which means you're not going to be able to have the right experience defending your lane and working with other people in team fights. Like there is a lot of like intricate shit. It's like, you know, people say like you need to play League of Legends for like 100 hours to like understand the game type of thing. It is very much the same thing with this. Like it is easy to learn, hard to master, I guess.
Yeah,
is kind of where I would
What
be.
was
You know,
that single frame of Captain America?
It's interesting. X Element, we were considering getting a Smite team together in preparation for Smite 2. And when I was looking into Smite and trying to meet some of the community creators and stuff, every single one of them said, "Oh, Smite's cool, but I fucking hate this game. Like this game is infuriating."
I have a
was
friend
like,
like that.
okay, well, never mind. You know, it seems like it would be that kind of game. Like it just
Yeah, I think put together a team for this now, because honestly, I feel like out of all the games that are on the radar that are in beta, Marvel Rivals and this and Concord, I feel like this is the one where in 2 years this is the most viewed fucking thing on Twitch. Like
can see that.
I really feel like this is going to be a very fucking big splash, man.
I think so. It looks different. Like it looks like a totally different take. You know, MOBAs have traditionally been more
Don't look. It doesn't look as
fantasy-oriented.
beautiful as Overwatch.
This is definitely a different feel to it. and I
The
think it
color
could be
palette
powerful.
too is very different.
Yeah, I think Overwatch looks better, but they're not the same game, so we can't like. They're not even going for the same thing.
But here's
Yeah.
the main question, Heartless: is it fun? Is it? Fun?
It is fun.
Yeah, see, that's all.
It is
That's all
fun,
I
but
needed.
it's
game.
not fun losing, and I've never won in the game yet.
Yeah,
Right,
there's
yeah,
a lot. I
exactly.
feel like there's a before I hop back into the game. There's a lot I need to learn before I do anything else.
If you guys
That's
need
how I
help with
feel about this
MOBAs, let
game.
me know. If you
Oh,
guys
you're
need
a
help,
MOBA
I
guy?
used to be that.
You're a League of Legends head.
I was a Smite head bad. Like that
Okay.
shit, like, dude, it was like Dr. Pepper and Pizza Hut just working 12-hour shifts on Smite, bro. It was bad. It was bad.
Jesus.
I was
I
a
was just
sweaty,
talking
sweaty
about
boy.
Smite. Like, yeah, Smite. Ugh.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, I feel like I don't know. I'm willing to give the game another shot if
I like
we have a full
the
team
art
to
design.
play the game.
I like the art design and the art style. It intrigues me.
Yeah, I'm very willing to give the game another shot, but I got to do my research before I hop back into it.
Kind of reminds me of BioShock Infinite, but in a MOBA. If anyone else gets that vibe, yeah.
Got that aesthetic for sure.
Mm-hmm. Something else that came out this week that I kind of wanted to talk about, completely unrelated to this, is let me ask you guys: have you guys seen the Sonic trailer?
I've not.
Yeah.
I've not.
You have not, Maury?
I'm not a Sonic guy, bro.
Can we have a reveal? Can we have a reveal for the
Wait,
panel?
bro.
Wait, what?
I've not
Let's watch
watched
it
any.
right now. We have to watch it.
I haven't watched any
Hold
of
on.
these movies. Not one of them.
I got a reveal for you guys. I'm throwing on my Shadow the Hedgehog
shit.
chain.
What?
Hold on.
Uh-huh.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I got the goods, dude. I got the goods. Yo, I'm
That's
under pressure
fucking
trying to
hilarious.
get this latch on.
You got it.
There it is.
I got the shadow bling, bro.
Wait a minute,
Your
is that
shadow.
rhinestones? Is that
Yes.
rhinestones?
No, they're
Holy
diamonds,
shit.
man, encrusted. No, yeah, this is from King Ice. This was $150 of
Oh,
my chat's
shit.
money.
$150.
Hold on, could we get that closer to the camera? I gotta see this.
Yeah.
I tried. I couldn't
I'll
do
give you
it.
the goods. I'll give you the goods. All right, so we're playing every Shadow the Hedgehog game leading up to Sonic Shadow Generation. So believe we watched.
Yo,
this
I
entire
had-
thing.
How many games
Yo, I had
is that?
someone in my chat say to me that Sonic was a very racist game
Oh.
because he's a black hedgehog with a gun, and I can't
That's
unsee
wild.
it now.
How many
I
games
can't
is
unsee
that?
it now.
How many
That's
games has
crazy.
Shadow been in?
Show
how
it,
many
show it.
We're doing
Show it.
main. We're doing main story.
Hold up,
Oh,
Jake.
here.
Yeah.
Show it.
I'm doing main story stuff. So 3D platformers that he was in. So he debuted in
That
Sonic
shit is
Adventure
fucking
2.
fire though.
Sonic Adventure
Then right
2,
into
oh my,
Heroes.
the
That
nostalgia.
shit is fucking fire though.
So it's Sonic Adventure 2, Sonic Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, Sonic 06, and then he's in DLC for Sonic Forces. Now we're messing around. We're playing like some Sonic Riders and like Sega Superstar Tennis that he pops up in. But for most part, we're going through like those like core games that he's a part of.
Is
You
he
know
a
what I mean?
skin in Smash Brothers?
No, he's an assist
No.
trophy though.
Okay, there you go.
That counts.
Damn,
That counts for
bro.
something.
That's cool.
That shit looks crazy,
It's
bro.
ridiculous.
I can't even hit you guys. Can we play the trailer?
Does John Wick
We're gonna
Wick
get into
movies
DLC
and games
trailer.
count as Shadow the Hedgehog?
I think so.
Sonic 3.
I think so.
We're just
So-
gonna
We're
Fun.
just gonna see it. You're not gonna really hear any kind of gameplay. Yeah, I mean, gameplay, any kind of shit from the trailer. It's because of the browser. So blame the browser, guys. But I hope they don't hit us with like a copyright strike to show this shit on stream. Please don't. We're just promoting your shit. You know, it's fine. Don't sue. But the game,
Oh.
the movie looks insane to me, and the fact that Keanu Reeves of all people is the voice
what
of Shadow.
perfect casting. What a perfect casting, right?
I'll never get over the fact
Mhm.
that they bullied the studio into making
Creating
a
the
beautiful
perfect Sonic.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Have
Holy
you guys,
man.
has anyone ever heard of the comparison between Dragon Ball Z and
Yes,
Sonic?
all the time. People
Yeah.
hate the fact that they
Very
compare
similar.
Shadow. They compare either Shadow or Knuckles to Vegeta,
Yeah.
and Sonic is basically Goku. That means Tails would be essentially
And
Krillin.
the Chaos Emeralds are the Dragon Balls.
Dragon Balls, pretty much. Like I could kind of see the comparison. Oh, I saw Maria. Maria did die, and I think Maria is gonna die here. That's Maria.
Oh yeah, they're going
They're
whole
going for
hog.
it. Yeah, they're going for it.
Knuckles. The whole
He's
gang
gonna
is
die.
here. The only one's missing is that
Wait.
girl
See,
cat.
that's Maria. This looks like Maria died here, right?
Oh yeah, that's
'Cause
Gerald.
Knuckles. Yeah, because Knuckles is kneeling. Yes, this is friggin' Robotnik's dad. Holy shit.
Ash's mind's blown.
Wild.
No, it just crossed my mind now that I see it.
Are you guys? Listen, I know I'm new around here. Sonic in general, where are we at? Are we Sonic
love
fans?
Sonic.
I'm
Yeah,
a big Sonic fan, bro.
Hell yeah!
I love
Oh, yeah.
old
Living
more-
Very
more
suspiciously
classic-
silent over there, young
The
one.
more classic
I-
gameplay it is, the more I love it.
I think I
Hey.
need to boot him. Do we boot him? I think we should.
You should. No, listen.
No,
I
we should just
played-
make him play a Sonic game.
Oh,
Bro,
that should be your
Sonic Adventure
challenge.
1
Yeah.
on Sega Dreamcast.
Make that
Specifically.
be the 100th platinum vote. We're gonna put Sonic on there.
Oh my god, Platinum Sonic Adventure, dude.
Oh
Dude,
shit.
so here's the deal. I played Sonic growing up when I would go to my orthodontist like every week. Well, not every week. I guess it'd be like once every 3
Oh
months.
shit. What's wrong
my
with
teeth
you?
were my teeth were fucked. No, like, but no, I mean, I would play it there, and I would also like, I guess I played a lot of Mario and Sonic, the Olympic games on my DS, but that's it.
Yeah.
That's Sonic for me. There's nothing else. Nothing.
Sonic and Smash Brothers is one of my favorite
I
characters.
feel like the
Like, you
Sonic
Sonic
have
Frontier-
Frontier.
that would be my
platformers.
character.
Sonic Frontier could have been a way better game, bro.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Way
I'm a
better.
Frontiers defender though. I think that's got
Yeah?
good bones for the future.
But
Yeah, I could
it's
say that.
crazy though. Sonic is really getting up there in terms of IP strength. Like they now
Mhm.
have a whole cinematic universe for it that involves a show and 3 movies. And
Yeah, and they're finally doing it right too, where they're like making the movie and the game like they kind of like patchworked this together, like this third Sonic movie and then this like remaster of Sonic Generations, but add like shadow additional content to it to kind of make them combine. I feel like this holiday season is going to be big for Sonic shit.
and they had the cartoons. If anyone remembers the Sonic cartoons from way back in the day,
Mhm.
those were bangers too.
Chili
Oh, yeah.
dogs.
Oh yeah. Was it Sonic X? Sonic X was
Yeah,
dope,
Sonic
bro.
X the cartoon. That was a banger. I love that
Mm.
cartoon back in the
Yeah.
day.
So Jim Carrey is playing his dad.
hmm
He's playing both. He's playing
Retired
Yeah,
retired
that's what I
actor
mean.
Jim Carrey.
Right.
was there 2
keeps
cartoon
coming.
shows back in the day, or was it just one?
Who? What?
There's 2. There's like the
Nope.
Archie Comics expansion
then,
one, and then there's
know,
like
the
the Sonic the
Dreamcast.
Hedgehog.
The
Yeah.
Dreamcast Sonic Adventures on that is one of the all-time goated experiences growing up. Like I think
Sonic
we all-
Adventure 1 on Dreamcast is in my top 10 games of all time.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I know it's a
The
6.
nostalgia I have for that game is
I
unmatched.
fucking love it.
That
Did
game
anybody
is
watch Knuckles?
Yo,
unique.
you guys want to hear crazy? Something
No.
really crazy.
No.
I didn't have a memory card back in the day. We didn't have a
Oh,
memory
this-
card back in the day. We used to play Sonic Adventure 1 from the beginning as kids
Wow.
every day.
Mhm.
This is how
Wow.
I was broke back in the day. So
See,
yes,
those-
I remember those days when I
Gaming
never
like
had
That's
a
the
that-
memory card.
heartless villain origin story. Sonic Adventure 1 from the start every day.
Gaming like that does not exist today. Gamers today do not appreciate games in that sense anymore.
Yeah, because that's
Cards
no
and
longer the
stuff.
struggle. Memory
Yeah.
cards, like I think a lot of like this newer generation of gamers will never know what the fuck a memory card is, bro.
Does anyone remember how much pain you felt to delete a game so you could save another game? Like
Forget about
Yeah,
deleting
they
a
don't
game.
understand.
Try not having a memory card to save a game and keep the game on for days to then
And then
go
your
back
mom
and play
would
the
go
game.
and be cleaning or vacuuming, and she unplugged the system
Bro,
or turned it
that
off.
happened. Bro, that happened to me with X-Men Legends, bro.
Yeah.
I was playing
Oh.
X-Men Legends with one of my cousins,
Sick.
bro, and
Sick.
I never had a memory card for GameCube, so we left it on. And my mom came home one day and turned that shit off, bro.
Nah, bro.
And I
Yeah.
was,
Nah, bro.
I was very close to beating the game.
At worst
guys.
these days, kids just uninstall a game and it goes into the cloud just for them to play it again.
And,
later.
and when
You know?
once you reinstall it, you pick
Yeah,
up right where
yeah,
you
yeah.
left off with your save file.
Yeah,
They won't know this struggle, bro.
You
that
don't
is
know
a
how
retro
good you have it.
Straight up.
Oh, you had a 16. I had a 32 megabyte memory card. I remember
got
that.
I've been streaming off of my PlayStation 2 for the last couple of months, and I only have an 8 megabyte card. I'm already struggling over here. One Tony
insane.
Hawk create a character, and I'm maxed out, bro. Wild.
That was
I'm
that
just-
was the system. Ironically enough, there was one system where I did deal with the memory card shit, and it was the same thing for you guys, but for me, it was on the PS2. I can't remember what garbage ass Star Wars game I was playing, but it was like it had the Clone Wars art style. It was
Mhm.
buns, but I remember every time I would boot up my PS2, I would just restart it from the beginning because I didn't even. But here's the funny thing: you guys knew what a memory card was. I just thought that was what the game was. I was like, oh. I guess it's like you just start from the beginning every time. I didn't even understand what was going on. I'm not kidding.
Wow.
So
I'm
you
not
made a
kidding.
you
It's
made a
gotta be
roguelike out
Clone
of the
Wars
game?
Republic Heroes, and that game's a banger.
That was probably what I was playing. That's hilarious. I think that was it. That's awesome.
That's
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
that was the old gaming experience, making roguelikes out of games that weren't meant to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
That was roguelike. Those were roguelikes, especially when you die and you start way from the beginning again, like start all over again after you died. That
Yeah.
was insane because
If
there were
you
no
really wanna
checkpoints.
consider it we call it Dark Souls types games now, Soulsborne's games, but no, rogue type was the first.
Mhm.
Soulsborne are modern day rogue likes.
Yeah, but speaking of retro games, GameStop now decided to open up like
Ooh!
select in
Ooh,
Ooh.
that was
Yeah, I mean-
nice. Ooh,
You see? Yeah,
I was waiting.
we were setting that up. Let's go.
right. Yeah, so
That's good.
GameStop is considering opening like in select I guess states retro stores. And I think that's a brilliant idea, but I wanted to extend it to you guys to hear what you think. Jake, I'll start with you and then work our way around.
I worked for GameStop for like 7 years of my life. I left
God
it and I
damn.
went back as like a area manager for a long time. And what a fucking dog shit company.
Yeah.
Truly like when I would work for them, they weren't bad, but like truly a shell of their former selves, you know.
Well, you're
terrible
not getting
suit.
hired again.
Physical me. I think I'm gonna be all right. But I think it's a good idea in theory. They just don't have the like the only thing that I've seen of this outside of the press release is that these stores have already launched, and the only thing that I've seen is like TikToks and Instagram posts about them and people absolutely clowning them for their fucking inventory. They have this tiny little like section set up that's like 3 or 6 feet of space, and it's like 85% of the stuff is like display cases with like, you know, handwritten box art or whatever that doesn't have
You're
their original
fucking
packaging. The
lying.
prices are all fucked up. Most of the stuff is
Most
like
of the what?
Wii U and 3DS. Most of the content is like 3DS or like Wii U games that are like kind of just like old inventory from modern stuff, less than it is retro stuff. They got some PS2, some Xbox stuff, but I just don't think that they have like enough actual inventory to support this. So it's, I mean, it's cool. It's a good idea in theory, but
retro gaming, first of all, like, are we talking Dreamcast and before? Is PlayStation 2 considered retro today?
Of course it is.
Fuck yeah.
Very.
Fuck
my
yeah.
rule of thumb is 20 years, but I will include the generation that falls into.
For me,
So
if
it's like
anything prior to PlayStation 2, I consider retro, I guess. So that would be
Basically, like-
Dreamcast, PlayStation.
Jerm, you know what that
1.
means? You know what that means? You're fucking
old.
old.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
yeah.
Old gamer.
All
At
right,
this
Jake.
point, there's plenty of 360 retro games.
Yeah,
Yes,
I agree.
360 is retro at this point.
Yeah, it is. Definitely is. Maury, what do you got to say?
Dude, number one, Jake, fellow ex GameStop employee here. Holy fuck, they were bending me
Sick.
over. God damn.
Hey, yo.
Nah, bro, that shit sucked. So I did not
Yeah.
work for 7 years. I worked there for 6 months, and that was last year, and that shit was hell.
Really?
me tell
That
you-
recent?
Oh my god.
Oh, that
Wow.
recent, bro, terrible.
Did,
And
did it,
was-
did it
how many-
almost ruin
how
the
many
dreams of the
fucking-
game world?
How many pop
did.
figures did you do price changes for?
No, don't. Because guess what I did? I took those stickers and I threw them in the goddamn trash where they fucking belong. Fuck them. No, dude, they had me working like 14-hour days, like 5 days a week. Like,
But what were you selling? Like, what kind of stuff were you selling in the last, when you were working there that recently? Physical
it was-
media is like dead.
Fucking
yeah,
T-shirts and Hulk fists and pop
Yeah.
figures.
Yeah, they were like, "Hey, dude, sell this random like Marvel collectible no one wants." I'm like, "Yeah, kill yourself." But anyway, so long story short, but no. So when I was working there, this kind of initiative went underway. This whole retro GameStop ordeal. It was when we first started taking retro titles in again. Here's the biggest problem with this: when you put it on paper, awesome, right? Like you think of V stock, if you guys know what vintage stock is, that's something really big where I'm at, which is basically just a retro game store. It's awesome. The
Yeah.
problem with GameStop is that when people go into that store, people aren't as dumb as GameStop needs them to be. Prime example, if I bring in a copy of Silent Hill 2 for the PS2, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to get rid of this. I know you guys buy retro games now. Wanted to see how much I could get for it. Yeah, sir, I can get you $3.50. People aren't dumb. People aren't dumb. And you know what? You know what they did every time they did that? Because they started doing it with me. They looked at me and they're like, oh, this kid's smoking dick. I'm going to leave. And so this is the problem, right? What you get is you get a bunch of NCAAs for the PS2 on the shelf, a bunch of Madden footballs on the shelf, and that's it. Because people are smart enough to know not to sell you their shit. So I know for a fact that those retro sections, because they used to be in every store, then they said, oh, wait, we don't have any inventory. Let's just put it into one store in each local area. So now it's only one store. Like for me in the St. Louis area, there's one store that has all of it. And it's still a joke because that like catalog, kind of like what Jake was alluding to, is so minute because people are not, number one, if they are bringing that super rare game, they know not to take $3.50 for it. And number two, GameStop doesn't have any money to advertise this. Nobody knows that GameStop buys retro games, and no one's thinking of selling them to GameStop. So, if
they want this to work, they would need a whole department that is dedicated to finding out fair values on these retro games. Right, they would have to slightly undercut to make their profit, but they would not be making the kind of profit that they used to make.
I think they're taking the wrong approach here. If I was to buy a retro game, I probably wouldn't buy it to play. I would buy it as a collectible.
Collect.
That's why they would need a whole department
on a shelf,
that would assess
like an appraisal. Yeah, like an appraisal.
Yeah, so the version they would have to have in the store would have to be like in pristine condition.
It doesn't have to be. If it's rare enough, and the collector wants to get their hands on it, bro,
it doesn't matter.
I seen open copies of old Pokemon games for like $150 at the local arcade around me, and it blows my mind. There's like an open copy of a Pokemon.
I have a secret to share with you guys. I have the first appearance of the Fantastic Four in one of my comic books.
That came out of nowhere.
I have
that shit is worth at least $2,000. I want to say.
Is it really?
Probably.
I'm not selling that shit.
Gotta get my collection game up.
But the value got slightly cut when my cousins, they were playing in the house. These motherfuckers ripped a piece of that comic book. So the value,
that's just over. That shit is
value. It was in mint, guys. It was in mint.
Now it gets a 3 out of 10. You know.
Yeah, and now every day I tell them like, you owe me money.
Lots of money.
You owe me money.
Every day. Well, took that from 2,000 to probably like $200, maybe $100.
Probably. Like, it's still valuable. It's still valuable.
To the right person, you'd have to find the right buyer to get the most money out of it.
Nah, listen, just tell them when they get older that you guys are boxing.
Yeah.
That's how you handle that.
You should take. Does the person have Lego? You should take their Lego and just smash it on the ground.
That's crazy.
This is one more thing I'll touch on with the retro GameStop stuff, and that's that like their price margins. They have to understand that the way that they do their price margins for like a PS4 title or a PS5 title, where they give you a third of what they're going to sell it for, they have to realize really quickly that like you're only going to be able to cut it by like 10%, right? So if I'm going to sell Silent Hill 2 for $150, I kind of had to give that motherfucker 130. Like, and they're going to try to give them 40.
The consumer has to be able to walk into the store. If the game's worth 150, you can say to them, I'll give you 120, 130 max.
Yes.
You're only going
to make $20 selling the copy. And that means it's going to take you a long time for this new program to actually be profitable. But there is a market for it. If you want to get into that market and save your company, because it is, I don't even know how they're alive. I mean, not alive, but
I think we're all familiar with
it's because of the whole Wall Street bet situation.
I think we're all familiar with DK Oldies, right? Like we're familiar with them, right? DK Oldies, that content creator, they make the retro games and retro stuff and they mail it out to your house. This could work because that has a market, and this could work as long as the stuff's in good condition, you know.
They would have to change their business model for this entire store. It probably would have to be its own like franchise in itself. It can't be seen as just an actual like GameStop that sells retro games. It kind of has to become like a collector store.
They have to be Hobby Lobby for GameStop to survive.
Pretty much.
Everything becoming digital media, you have to they have to have Gunpla. They have to have statues. They have to have retro games.
Retro games is
Pokemon cards.
They gotta start doing tournaments. They gotta start doing Street Fighter tournaments.
Yeah.
They definitely have to do shit to keep that company afloat. And yes, Heartless, you're right. They need to have it needs to become something like a Hobby Lobby situation where people know that they can get like rare stuff, like rare items from this.
Do they sell trading cards?
They need to have limited runs.
They do sell trading cards, yes.
Yeah, it needs to have limited runs of like statues and collectibles. That Funko's just ain't gonna do it anymore. It's not gonna sell you anything. Yeah.
Look what Hayden said.
With
I
those two statues.
Give me a statue of a cheerleader and I'm in there.
Jesus.
Like
Well, yeah.
what's that statue of Chun-Li doing the squats with the barbell? Like just
Is
have
it
those
Chun-Li?
before they'll
Is it
sell.
Chun-Li or Cammy? They have a
Well, they
Cammy
have
one.
both.
They have one of
Oh,
each.
yeah. They have both,
Mm.
but the first was Chun-Li. Yeah, broke the internet.
Jesus Christ. Speaking of Chun-Li, there were some reveals that happened on the the Nintendo Indie Direct. You guys want to talk more about that?
Well, look, that is 3 in a row. 3 in a row segues. You're
You
on
know,
fire, Cat.
I'm working on my
Rolling
Segway
this
game,
thing.
guys. I'm working on my Segway game. You know what I mean? A few of the games that got released, got shown off.
God,
got
dude.
released. Sea of Stars, Yakuza.
never
There was
been
also
to the Yakuza series.
Castlevania, which I'm excited for because
Yeah,
I'm a
the
Castlevania
3D
slut.
Shadow dropped.
Huh? It dropped?
The Shadow dropped Castlevania. The Dominus collection is out now, $25. It's got Portrait of Ruin, Dawn of
What?
Sorrow, and Order of Ecclesia.
Yeah, those are underappreciated
on all platforms.
titles. Huge.
All the DS games.
I wasn't ready for this.
Well,
But the game I
That's it.
think you'll like here, Cash, is Sea of Stars. It's kind of like a Chrono Trigger-esque game. I think you'd like that one.
Sea of Stars is good. I put like
definitely-
20 hours into that game.
Oh, yeah?
They announced DLC for it. It's really good. It was one of the better games of last year. It's a very traditional RPG, and you hit the nail on the head. It is extremely inspired by
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger, but it is like to the point of they even hired Mitsuda to do like the main theme of the game and like the battle theme. Like he's not the full composer, but like the original composer of Chrono Trigger literally works on this game that is inspired by Chrono
Speaking
Trigger.
of spiritual successors, like this one's definitely worthy of that.
That's
mark.
dope. That's dope. And we also have Capcom Fighting Collection too, which is kind of fucking crazy. They're throwing me through a loop with this
Dude.
shit because we've already seen the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Game Collection, which is fucking nuts. And they already made another announcement this year. Like, bro, that's kind of like
Dude, Capcom is
crazy.
On
Is
fire.
They're on a roll.
but
Capcom is
no,
Bro.
I get, no,
Capcom
what I'm saying
era.
is that's fast, bro. That isn't. Don't you guys think that that's too close to each other? No,
We
Am I
have
the only
been
one?
waiting 30 years for these games. It couldn't have been faster.
That's the first thing.
Long
The
overdue.
first thing that I said when I was watching the reveal, I reacted to it at the crack of dawn. It was like 10 a.m. And they started showing this, and I go, "Oh, we're getting a release date for Marvel vs. Capcom." And I go, "What the? Wait, what is this a different?" And then everything went out the window when they said they showed Plasma Sword, and I go, "Oh my god, are they gonna?" And I couldn't even get the words out of my mouth because when I saw that Dreamcast Classic, I was like, "I think Power Stone is coming."
yeah.
They showed
You know
fucking
about that
Power
game?
Stone, bro.
Yes.
But fun fact, Plasma Sword, Star Gladiator, those were my two very, very first home
Sick.
console fighting games ever.
Game
that's
is
it.
Those are
game
my
is
very
sick.
first
And-
two that I
Power
ever had.
Stone on
Dude,
the
I popped
stream.
so hard for Power
We're
Stone 1
playing
and
that.
2
Heartless, we're playing that stream.
Competitively-
Jake, you're gonna play with us.
all
Jake,
day, all day.
competitively.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
We're playing
That game
Power
is
Stone.
so sick, and
But
2 is so
isn't it
sick, and I played those so
interesting?
much as a kid.
Isn't it interesting that we got all 8 of these games in one collection? Capcom could have easily sold these individually and made money. But they sold,
For sure.
they gave them all to us at one time. Oh,
Yeah, but they're charging
Dude,
$50
they keep
for it,
on
right?
doing that. Like,
they
Is it
could
the
have
Capcom
easily
Classic
charged 30
Collection's
for each
one.
one. That's my point, you know.
or is it what's the fighting collection that has all the Darkstalkers game?
The first
that's
one.
Capcom
First
Fighting
one.
Collection.
Capcom
Fighting
Fighting
collection, or is
Collection
it Capcom Classics collection?
No,
That's
Capcom
Capcom
Fighting
Fighting
Collection 1.
Capcom Classic.
Yeah, Fighting Collection
is
1
kind of
has
fun.
that. Their naming conventions and the games they include are fucked, is what I mean to say. They have
Super
good
Ultra
ideas and we're
Mega
getting the
Street
games,
Fighter,
but it's a
Capcom.
fucking mess.
Yeah.
Because they have that one thing that's like all the Darkstalkers stuff, and they're like, oh, by the way, that's the only place to play Super Puzzle Fighter 2 online. So like I own that game just so I can play Puzzle Fighter.
That's
But
crazy.
I mean, I like Darkstalkers fine and all, but it's just like a mess. 2 years from now, I'm gonna be like, what do I boot up if I want to play Power Stone? Which one of these fucking things?
No,
It's
I
weird
don't
not
know.
to make
Yeah.
them
We'll have it in
dedicated.
I won't forget. I won't forget. That
No,
is gonna
listen,
be
listen,
permanent.
hold on. Cash has a scene on his OBS where on guest star,
Yeah.
it'll put your cameras, his camera and the player one side, your camera on the player two side, right by the health bars. Bro, we're gonna be doing some really dope stuff, and we'll see you
Wait,
on the
Hell
Power
yeah,
Stone.
dude.
Once we
I'm
get
down
to
with that.
4-player Heartless, we're gonna have 4 cameras on screen, so it's gonna be top and bottom.
That's gonna be sick.
Power Stone's
Power
gonna be a
Stone
great
rips.
time.
Yep.
That game has not been released since the PSP collection of Power Stone, which is
This is his
wild.
first
It's been
re-release.
trapped.
Yeah. Crazy.
With
That's not-
online functionality. This is for outside of Fightcade. This is his very first.
I think that's why they're doing
It
it.
has
They're
rollback.
trying to they're trying to steer people
Rollback
away
Neko,
from
yep.
5K. I think they're really trying to steer people
I
away
think
from
at some
5K.
point they're gonna revive every fighting game possible from the
rollback netcode
era to the post rollback era.
Well,
Mhm.
I said it. Well, Capcom made a statement about it. Remember when we did the quarterly reports a few weeks back? Capcom said that they plan on using retro titles in between its mainline releases to stay in profitability, and they're following that suit. They're following that.
That's
No, I love it. I can't wait to buy this. I never thought I'd actually want to buy like one of these old retro collections, but
I definitely
Yeah, I
get
mean,
the
they got me
Marvel, and
for-
I'm getting this.
But we
They
got a
got me for
release
$100
date
bucks
for
between
Marvel
Collection
Collection.
2 and Marvel.
We
Oh,
got a
really?
release date for Marvel Collection, September
Yeah.
12th. That's like
Yeah.
in 2 weeks.
Dude,
you guys
week
gonna be
and a
getting
half
that?
away. Oh yeah.
Are you
Day one.
fucking
I'm
shitting
not
me?
getting that.
Yeah.
What?
I'm not getting that.
No fucking way.
Oh yeah.
Oh no.
I'm in, dude. Such an easy.
I'm getting it.
Again, my
For
budget
me,
for video games is a little strange considering like content creation and stuff, but like the idea of being able to do a retrospective and look through all of like the
Every single
manuals
game.
and artwork and shit like that, and then play
You need,
through like
you need to feature me on that,
Street Fighter
that
versus
on that
X-Men.
playthrough.
Oh,
Listen,
dude, I'd love to.
and
That'd
we
be so
can shoot
sick.
the
But like to
shit.
play like
That'd be
Street Fighter
dope.
versus X-Men, and then get into Marvel versus Capcom, or it's like it turns into like Marvel superheroes versus,
This is
and
Street
then it's
Fighter.
Marvel versus Capcom 1, and
that's
then
what I
Marvel
plan on
versus
doing on my
Capcom 2.
YouTube, a retrospective.
So
of
sick.
old games. Yeah,
Mhm.
and this is gonna be a big part of that collection. But I'm gonna wait till the physical edition comes out on November 22nd because I don't
Oh
want
yeah.
I don't want them to take these games away from us again. So I'm only buying this game specifically physical and straight up.
Makes sense. Makes sense. You know what's a bigger deal that came out that blows even Capcom out of the water?
What?
The Power Wash Simulator Shrek Edition.
Oh god.
Shrek, dude, goes hard.
It looks kind of fun to me, but it's more of like a turn your brain off and kind of like play
Yeah.
kind of game. Nevo looks great as well. I like Nevo.
Isn't it Civilization 7 on the Switch? Like,
Yes, it is.
does he handle
Civilization.
this? That's
I have no idea.
Yeah, so-
Switches are gonna
It
be
might be
just
some
so
cloud
sick.
based.
fine.
It might
It's
be
crazy.
cloud based.
Also, I feel like just to like even pull it back even further, this is a really interesting Nintendo event. This is the first time that they've ever combined two of their events like this. They did a Nintendo Indie World Showcase in the first half. It was like 18 minutes long, and then like a 22-minute Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, which was
Right.
interesting. And
Mhm.
to just like further, let's just like put it out there right now into the world so that it comes true that this was allegedly supposed to be like a middle of September event, as was the big debut of the Nintendo Museum that happened a couple weeks ago. That was its own
Right.
little direct, allegedly, so that everything has moved into its perfect time slot so that this month, allegedly, a full-on Nintendo Direct that reveals the Switch's successor.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I
It'd
heard
be
that.
amazing.
Too. I heard that
It'd
as
be
well.
That's what I'm
Amazing.
hearing. That's what I'm hearing.
Ugh.
So
Feed
remember,
me.
Mhm.
So, Heartless, did you ask me
brought
this
an
question?
interesting point there, partner. And
Mhm.
Capcom has been in 2 of the last direct. So that means Capcom might be official Nintendo partner at this point. So could
Oh,
we
yeah.
see Capcom versus Nintendo? Just saying. They seem to be buddy lately. One can
Yeah,
hope.
I mean, ever
You know?
since if Ryu made it into
Smash.
Smash Brothers, I think they're all
Don't
good.
be
We're in cahoots at this
surprised
point.
for the next Smash if we see more Chun-Li and more Capcom characters.
Oh, dude.
in the next Smash.
That'd be
Don't
crazy.
surprised.
Fuck
I'm sorry,
yeah.
Kat, you asked me
Characters
something?
like those.
I lost my train of thought. Yeah, I forgot. But I remember. If I remember, you asked me something recently about something. I don't remember what we were talking about. What were we talking about just now?
Don't
We
be
said
surprised.
something.
Though.
You said
Capcom.
something before that. The whole Capcom situation. You asked me a question. I don't remember. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move on. It's fine.
If it comes to
So
us, it comes to us.
yeah. Listen, PlayStation 5 gets another steep price increase in Japan. What
That's
are your thoughts?
crazy.
Man,
It came out
That's
2
insane.
years ago. How many years ago?
5 years ago.
No,
it's been
whoa.
5 years.
It's
4
not
years.
been 5
4
years. It's been 4 years. Almost 4 years this fall. 4 years this fall.
Yeah, I almost lost my shit. I was like, wait a
4
minute.
years.
It came out 3+ years ago, and it's
Mhm.
going up in price.
hmm So this is what it's saying. This is from a report from VGC. So it says Sony has announced that the PlayStation 5 will get another steep price increase in Japan starting on September 2nd, which is pretty much today.
Tomorrow.
The standard PlayStation 5 console will cost 79,980 yen. as opposed to which equates to a $550 increase.
Insane.
It's
Yeah.
$90, so it's going to be going up by equivalent of American dollars, about $90 in Japan.
That's what it is. It's $400 right now.
It's currently $405 American. Granted, I'm converting it from yen. American for $409, $415, but it's going up to $505. So about a $90 increase.
83. It's an
This
$83 increase, which is crazy.
Crazy.
This has been one of the worst fucking things to watch people have hot takes on the internet. So like just to like put it all out there like ahead of time before, like it's really not that big of a news story. This is 100% dictated by like the weakness of the yen in our current like climate, basically. Like basically if you look at like 4 or 5 years ago, it was like $1 was about 100 yen, and now it's like 60 something yen to $1 essentially. So just for PlayStation to make their money the way that they should on console sales across the globe, they need to increase and decrease. Like this happens all the time. Like there was a story just like this 6 months ago about the PlayStation price in Brazil. It just happens in Japan, so everybody kind of was like, oh, Japan video games, Sony, this kind of thing happens all the time. It's just bringing it in line so that PlayStation's profits or their break-even point on their console that they're selling is...
To circle it back to Concord, the timing of this is really interesting, right? Because PlayStation hardware goes up in price right about the time they have one of the biggest flops in gaming history. Interesting, right? The timing of it.
I don't think the two decisions have one to do with one another.
No. It's all just economy based on like the region in which that PlayStation is selling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And there's rumors about the PlayStation Pro coming out later this year. So the timing of this is really interesting. Raise the price of the base model, if you will. And
have we gotten an official release date for the PlayStation Pro? No, right?
There's a rumor that they're having another state of play next month, and the rumor says the release details
October
come out in that.
No, this month.
No, I'm saying I'm shooting for them announcing an October or November release.
Oh.
The rumor.
I was thinking state of play, because historically there's a state of play and Nintendo Direct every single September.
Yeah,
like, they haven't missed one in like 7 years or something like that, either of them.
And the reports coming out of that saying that there might be a reveal about the PlayStation Pro, solid release dates at this state of play.
I would guess so.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So the timing is interesting, right? It's an interesting timing to granted what you're saying about economics, but the timing is really curious here.
So let's just switch things up again. And I'm going to say exactly what I wrote in this article. We lost a potential great crossover because of live service games. Recently, it was revealed that Activision canceled a Crash Bandicoot and Spyro team-up game, which is fucking insane to even think about, bro.
Can you put that photo on the screen, Cash? Just the photo alone. Just like the graphic arts got me interested. It's so cool.
The graphics look sick. I can't find the art though.
This shit's a fucking night. Like, dude, I am so red hot on like platforming characters. Like, I'm a huge Mario fan, I'm a huge Sonic fan, Kirby. Right. I love all the PS2 platformers like Jack and Daxter, Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank, Spyro, Crash. All of that stuff is all encompassed. And Astro Boy is like my most anticipated game of the year, coming out in a couple days. And I am red hot on Toys for Bob as a developer, and I don't know what this like means, but watching what Toys for Bob went through in the last 6 years and where they're at right now is absolutely miserable, but also like gives me a lot of hope, because this company was doing so well with like rejuvenating both of those franchises, where they went and they made the Insane trilogy, and it was so good. And they were off the heels of Skylanders, which, say what you will about those franchise, those were sound games that were actually bringing in a lot of money for Activision. And even though Toys to Life kind of ran its course, like those are well designed video games for the most part. That company has like a lot going for it, the developers. And then they do the Insane trilogy. It's a huge success, and it leads to Crash Bandicoot 4. And then they do the Reignite trilogy, and all signs point to that does well. Let's do Spyro 4. No, how about you're a support studio for Call of fucking Duty, which is what they pulled that team off to do.
Can I
It's the
read an
craziest thing
excerpt?
ever.
Bro, that's what they did with
Yeah.
Ravensoft, bro. Ravensoft that made so
Insane.
many amazing fucking games. They made X-Men Legends. X-Men
Yeah.
Legends 1 and 2, Marvel Ultimate Alliance, fucking Wolverine. Let's bro, X-Men
Mhm.
Origins Wolverine.
I did a
Those
full
4
playthrough
games.
that like 2 months ago.
Treyarch.
That game
I did too.
slapped in 2024.
I did too, because I was doing a retrospective. I did a retrospective video about
Unreal.
X-Men Origin Wolverine. And bro, the game didn't lose a beat. The game is still
Mhm.
phenomenal. And this is why I also said that if this Insomniac game has to be very similar to this Wolverine game. It has to be.
Mhm.
I don't see how they can really like diverge from this particular, because it's the quintessential Wolverine experience. The fact that when he whenever he gets damaged, he can heal. You can see his adamantium bones like heal, bro. That is insane, bro.
I
That
can't
is
stop thinking of that
nuts.
facial scene.
Bro, his face can blow off Heartless and you see it heal in real time.
Put
That's hard.
put some footage on the screen.
I'm gonna put my video.
I'm going to read an excerpt here from this article about this canceled game. You brought up Crash 4, Jake. So Activision deemed Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time of a failure, even though it sold over 5 million copies. It said it was underwhelming. That's crazy. 5 million copies sold of a platformer, and that is poor sales.
Yeah, it's because the Nicki Minaj skin in Warzone made more money than like that game entirely.
Pretty
It
much.
just shows
crazy.
Activision looks things through these lenses of not.
Mhm.
Not only Activision. I feel like a lot of companies do that.
A lot of people.
They-
I am so. Where did you guys stand? This is a can of fucking worms. Like, can I just get like one word or like just like a show of hands, like sideways, thumbs down, or thumbs up? Activision Blizzard getting acquired by Microsoft. Show.
Yeah, I'm sideways on this. Here's
Two
why I'm
thumbs up,
sideways.
dude. These
Here's
fuckers
why-
lost their way. I'm excited for that IP to be under Xbox.
I think it has something to do with
I'm
playing Overwatch.
sideways. I'm sideways, and here's why I'm sideways about this situation. I haven't really seen anything from Microsoft and Activision just yet to then say, you know what, I'm fully on board. So I'm still. This is more of like undecided. I'm undecided. So
Is
once
that
I
because
start to see
Xbox
stuff,
on Game Pass? I mean, because Call of Duty's on Xbox Game Pass.
For me,
Call of
I
Duty's
look-
on Game Pass, but one of the things that I've heard recently was the fact that they're trying to reacquire licensing for the old Marvel game. So like the Deadpool game that was fucking dope, the Wolverine game that was dope, Legends, all of those. They're trying to reacquire the licensing for those because the licensing Activision lost the license for those games, and now Microsoft is looking to bring them back because of the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, which would be fucking amazing. So if they can pull that off, I think I'd be fully like two thumbs up.
For me, I look at it from a sort of monopolization of the industry perspective. Those are two big companies working together, owning each other that I'm not on board with. They're just too big.
Here's my video,
to-
guys. Here's
yeah.
my video. And if you guys want to check out the video, guys, go check out this video. It's youtube.com/cashcrow. What? Go ahead, Maury. Go ahead.
So
Mhm.
no, I'm so sorry because Jake definitely said that we could give one word answers, but I just have to go. You have to let me run wild.
Right.
The reason why Xbox will be the next Sega is because they acquired Activision Blizzard, and the reason why Sony will not have any competition in 10 years for consoles and things of that nature is because Xbox acquired Activision Blizzard. I think that in 10 years we will all agree that it was one of the worst things that ever happened in the industry, not because it was too big of a company and not because Xbox didn't have like the right to purchase it, but solely because of the fact that that amount of money being spent on that has caused Microsoft to look so much more closely at Xbox, and that's why all their titles are coming to PlayStation, and it's why they're going to become third party within a decade. But that's all.
I think it's definitely valid, but as long as it results in like things like
Look for a
this,
second.
righting the wrong of this, like Spyro.
Sure.
Look at this
sure.
shit. Look at this shit for a second. I want to pick up right. So remember what I just told you guys a story about my mom turning off my thing. I actually talked about it in the video, and then I had an illustration of that being
No memory
shown
card. Teardrop.
about the memory card. But I want you guys to see how many games Activision worked on before they fucking got absorbed by Ravensoft before they got absorbed by Activision to make nothing but Call of Duty.
Yeah.
How many games that were just now?
You could say the
Is
same.
it paying off for them though?
They used to work on Spider-Man
I mean,
too. And
Is
then,
it? I don't know. Like this, the studio essentially doesn't exist anymore. Ravensoft doesn't really exist anymore, really. Do they?
Mhm.
Like, have we seen anything from Ravensoft?
Not
outside
outside
of
of
Call of Duty?
I think
Yeah,
they're
no.
a Call of Duty support studio.
No.
Yeah.
That's all they
They
are.
just make assets for Call of Duty and stuff, and like they manage.
They just
it
work
and
on the game. They
they
just
work
work
on the
on.
game. Yeah.
That's all they do.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's why I put the thumbs down, because I think it's just, I don't like the monopolization of all these different IPs and different things. I just don't like it.
Hold up. Let's not forget that Activision also is the reason why we have an open world Spider-Man game. Sorry to cut you off, Jerem.
Yeah.
They're the reasons why we have an open world Spider-Man game.
I mean, let's
Okay.
be real.
What?
Just because they were the first to do it doesn't mean that they would have been the only ones to do it. Whether or not Activision did it or not, somebody else would have made an open world Spider-Man. Spider-Man
Someone.
was born to be an open world game.
Not to
Yeah.
most people, because how long did it take them before they did something like that?
I mean,
Even the
Carlos
earliest
is
Spider-
right
even the
here.
earliest
Someone
Spider-Man
would have.
on-
It's not like a once in a lifetime idea. Like someone would have
Even
came.
the earliest game was you were zipping around the city. Yeah, you couldn't touch the ground, but we all knew if we were forward thinkers, we knew the future of this was okay. Well, next we'll be able to touch the ground, and next the city's gonna get bigger and bigger. Spider-Man
it's
was
just-
nothing.
Bro,
It's just
even the
reasonable
opening
progression
cutscene of this shit was
yeah.
crazy.
Someone.
That is the reasonable progression of a Spider-Man type game.
It's a reasonable progression of any game, really, if you think about it. You know,
If you
like
think
they
about
did the same to Mario and Mario Odyssey, or Mario 64. So, it's just the progression.
Deadpool? What was that?
Yeah, that was Deadpool.
That was Deadpool, right?
That abomination was Deadpool. Yes. What should?
And that's
have
Will I
been
Am from the
Deadpool.
Black Eyed Peas.
Yes. And
crazy. fun
supposedly
fact, I've never
Nightcrawler's
watched
dead in
Deadpool.
this universe. Really?
I haven't seen any of the
Correct.
Deadpool movies.
You're bugging. You're
Bugging.
You need to watch
Bugging.
The
This
first
guy has
one's
sex
better.
with Mystique.
Yes, he did. And that's Oliver Trask. Apparently. For some reason.
But
They-
this game was dope, and
This game is one of the best Wolverine games
No.
ever made, bro.
What did I just see? Hold on.
Well,
They forgot about physics. The bridge broke and he was still running up the bridge.
he shoots
Oh,
claws
no,
out of his
he jumped.
hands, and you're worried
jumped.
about physics.
The last thing this game was worried about was physics. I promise
Yeah.
you that.
Crazy.
Heartless. You play a game where people shoot fireballs out their hands, and you're worried about physics.
Bro, no. He cannot fly.
Bro, even
oh
his
my god.
even his tank top, bro. His tank top, if you got too much damage, his tank top pretty much got shredded off of him, bro. So when you heal back, that tank top is
Bro, he
gone.
struck some guy's head in a helicopter propeller.
Heartless.
Yes, he did.
Yoga doesn't give you really stretchy limbs. Sorry,
Bro,
to break
this game is
it.
nuts.
Do that, you
Trust
know?
me. This game
it's
was
fucking 10.
insane. Yeah, oh yeah. Solid.
Finish my thought on like the spiral thing, and I'll bring us like all the way back in reverse and get there. But like places like this that got absorbed, like Ravensoft was so good, dude. They were making such like cool, unique, and like taking chances on games. Is the same thing that was happening with Toys for Bob, and this is like what Activision is super guilty of over the past decade, was basically just like funneling everything into what makes them the most money as opposed to what gains them favor with gamers, and calling things like a financial failure or the game a failure because it didn't make as much money as what a skin can make in Call of Duty doesn't mean that those things couldn't be embraced. And it does seem like Xbox is starting to understand that, and they're starting to put games first and focusing on their software. And regardless of what the acquisition means for the industry going forward, as far as like competition goes with like the console wars and things of that nature, I feel like it puts IP back under a roof where they care about like making games in franchises that gamers want to see. Like, say what you will about the current state of Xbox, but the next 5 years does look pretty fucking good as far as software goes, which is exciting. And things got so bad for Toys for Bob that they have one of the most unique stories in fucking games. As soon as that acquisition went through, it seems like, for all intents and purposes, they were so like traumatized by what happened to their development cycle on, I'm assuming, this canceled game, and then being pulled off of it to work on Call of Duty, that they said, we don't even want to be under the Activision or Microsoft umbrella. We want to buy ourselves out of this and go back to being independent. And if you want to work with us, you can. And they said, like, props to Phil Spencer. And like, I pitch whenever I can, please go watch Double Fine's 33 episode masterpiece documentary.
Yeah.
You have to see this, because you do get a behind the scenes look of how these people operate, and like they care about video games, like Phil Spencer and Rebecca Bond, and like all Sarah Bond and all of those people, like really Matt Booty included. They do care about games and care about people that are creating games, and it might not always come off the right way, but they basically let these people out of like a brand new acquisition and contract so that they could go back to being indie developers, and then immediately, from what it looks like, signed a contract with them as a third-party studio to develop a first-party game, which seems to be all, I mean, they literally said in the press release, like, keep your horns ready or whatever. Like, it looks like they're going to be working on Spyro for Microsoft, just under an umbrella that protects them from getting like fucking bastardized the way that Activision did them dirty for the last decade, which is fucking sick.
And
like, I think it's one of the coolest stories in video games over the last couple of years.
And what I say to that as well is Microsoft is well known to be working with they work with a lot of independent studios. A lot of them. Think about even within the 360 era. You remember you used to have ID at Xbox? That used to be a thing. That used to be a very big thing for Xbox. So
the whole Xbox Live Arcade initiative back in like 2006 with like all of those releases. So cool.
Isn't it interesting that we are talking about Crash Bandicoot as sort of like an Xbox sort of property, when
it's
remember back in the day, retro days, it was known as a PlayStation. You thought Crash, you thought PlayStation. It's interesting how that switched, right?
All about licensing. All about licensing, bro. That's all it comes down to at the end of the day.
In the future, everything's going to be available on every console, and I firmly believe in the future you're just going to buy a TV and you can play games on that TV.
Yeah, we'll be playing Xbox Game Pass on our PlayStation 5s within the next 3 years.
Possibly. I can see that.
I would not be surprised.
Yeah, I can see it. I could definitely see that. No question.
It does allude here, what you were saying, Jake. Alluding to what you were saying, Jake. They were. They made a deal with Xbox, Toys for Bob's did, to develop a brand new game. And the last sentence of this article, it says a different shaped follow-up to Crash or Spyro is definitely not possible then. If I'm reading that sentence correctly, that means the new game is not a Spyro Crash game. Is that right?
You just don't know.
Yeah.
Until they make an announcement, you won't know. Yeah. Xbox is also teaming up with 100 Star Studios. And if you guys know about who 100 Star Studios is, they're basically the OG Rocksteady. They are the guys that left Rocksteady, which is can't remember his name, Safton Hill and Jamie Warner, right? They left and they made another studio from people across the industry and a bunch of like OGs from Rocksteady to start 100 Star Studios, and they're now working. They're now working on a AAA game for Xbox. So there's also that.
Yeah, this term AAA, I don't know. It doesn't even mean anything anymore.
No. When it comes to certain studios, I tend to like.
We're in a quadruple A world.
Right. You need to step your game up, guys.
Perfect.
It's just like a game can be AAA, but a 1 out of 5. It's like that's crazy.
AAA just means how many money they put into that shit.
That's crazy.
It's just the budget. That's really what
they should just call it a big budget game. The AAA. AAA almost sounds like you're getting. It's like receiving a grade.
Why do we use that term for games? We don't use it for movies. We don't use that.
We use Blockbuster. We use Blockbuster. Budget movie.
We use the word blockbuster for movies. So
but you have to use another thing for video games. So that's why they just use the AAA marker, because it's like, oh, look at all the money that goes into this. That means this must be a good game. No, not really. Not anymore. Because we've seen a lot of like AA games that kind of taken that kind of, motif and just ran with it. They look at again going back to Helldivers. Helldivers 2 was considered a AA game, and that those motherfuckers make buku bucks, bro. Yeah.
I mean, Spider-Man is the prime example.
Also,
really expensive
technically,
and not hugely profitable.
Technically, Black Myth Wukong is an indie game. It's a fun fact. Technically,
For sure.
the AAA game, the indie game. And look what
Triple
that
I.
did. Triple I. What's the I?
That term.
Indie.
Indie.
Oh, indie. But yeah, so think about that for a second. There's a lot of people, I feel like the market needs to come to some level of correction where
Well,
they need to get more creative and stop tacking on that AAA banner on all these games that come out and then just underperforms. You need to get creative in the content that you're now making and find a way to put money in it that is not considered AAA.
well,
Because
and
that's
on
not
that
working
note-
anymore.
On that note, Cash, technically every game that we consider now a major title started as sort of an indie project. Dark Souls is probably the best example. Any game, go all the way back to the history of gaming, was an indie. They're not indie games anymore, but you know, games got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I get that, but at the same time, it's just like, again, the industry needs to get more creative and figure out how they're going to not put that much stock into games, if you will, and trying to fight, because that's how a lot of these games fail. Like, I remember Spider-Man didn't break even until months afterwards, Spider-Man 2. And that's because, and that game sold. That game did sell. But the budget was 300 million? It was a $300 million game, right?
Yeah.
So and they broke even months afterwards. I think like 6-7 months, about 8 months afterwards.
They'll recoup their development costs and they'll turn a profit via the pseudo sequel, which is like the Sony pioneered way of taking like the money that you lost or theoretically didn't make on Marvel's Spider-Man, make on Miles Morales at a discounted price with a much lower overhead to create. Like,
yeah, because it's the same sandbox.
Ratchet and Clank Quest for Booty on the PlayStation 3. You do Uncharted, Lost Legacy, and Last of Us, whatever the fucking Ellie spinoff is called.
Yeah, because it's the same framework. You're exactly, and it's the same sandbox.
It's a super smart method, to be honest. I think it's a respectable way to do it outside of like nickel and diming people on DLC.
So what do you think the follow-up? So what do you think the follow-up for Spider-Man is going to be then? Is it going to be the Venom, or do you think they're going to do another Miles?
I mean, the answer is out there. You want to know?
You're not going to answer.
Do you want to know? Because there was a certain gigantic fucking leak that includes the plans.
I think the leaks mention allegedly.
Yeah, it's Venom.
It's
Venom is next. Yeah. Venom is next, then Spider-Man 3, then the Spider-Gwen game.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Because they had intentions of including the multiverse in Spider-Man 2, and they scrapped that idea.
Yeah, it's still kind of there via some
It's still kind of there. Still kind of there, but it was supposed to be more. Because remember that Spider-Man open world game, that multiplayer game that got canceled? I think that would have been so amazing, bro.
For
the
sure.
fact that they cancel it, I don't know. But I don't know what was the intention behind that, like why they canceled it. Is it because of the
a Venom game could be fucking bigger than Miles Morales? I think
Venom is
like that. You put a title like that and drop that holiday season 2025, that's going to be one of the best selling games of the year.
I wonder,
next to nothing to develop.
For me, it's going
to cost them a lot less.
For me, as a person who loves Spider-Man, when you said the word multiplayer, I kind of cringed a little bit on the inside.
No, I wanted to play Spider-Man with my friends.
Because Spider-Man is the hero, has always been kind of known as this loner hero. And I don't know how well the idea of Spider-Man lends itself to a multiplayer experience.
Spider-Verse.
You just don't know. It would have to be really well.
It's a cool idea, but if they announced that today, everybody would fucking turn around and they would point at Suicide Squad and say no, and the gamers would hem and haw.
That's a valid point. Like
I wonder if that's why they canceled it, because they saw what happened to Suicide Squad.
Probably that would be the smart thing. They would point at that and they would point at Marvel's Avengers, dude.
Because Marvel's coming out.
You would have to
Yeah,
sacrifice
Rivals.
elements. You'd have to sacrifice.
Listen,
elements.
Rivals just seems to be doing everything right.
You would have to sacrifice elements of Spider-Man as like a core character to make a game like that work. So, it's a give and a take there. It could work, but it also couldn't. It depends on how the goals for the game. So,
I wonder if they're waiting for the Venom movie to drop to then coincide that with the release of the Venom game, or just a few months before
Probably waiting for it to come and go so it doesn't.
Right. That movie's gonna bomb.
Stay away from that stank ass.
No, that game's not gonna bomb. That movie's gonna nuclear, bro.
Bro, those Venom movies are atrocious. They're atrocious films.
Oh yeah, but I can't help it. I love the first one.
That Venom.
I don't know why. I kind of love it. It's a guilty pleasure. No, it's a guilty pleasure for me to watch. I know the movie's bad, but it's just fun to watch. Gotham,
the show Gotham.
I despise Gotham. Yes.
Are you saying, Kat, that it's so bad it's good?
I swear to you, it is. It is hilarious.
Hilariously bad.
Like, what the fuck?
Hilariously bad.
It is.
Yes.
It is.
I don't know. I'm not sold on those movies yet. I don't know.
Like a turd.
Movie. They have that Craven movie coming out, and the rhino looks like some kind of zombie rhino monster.
I can't even with the Craven shit, bro. I don't even want to talk about the Craven situation. It's Morbius again. It's Morbid time, baby.
Yeah, exactly.
It's Morbius
again.
It's Morbid time, bro. It's Morbius again, bro. All over again.
Wasn't it crazy that they re-released that movie a second time?
Yeah, because the thing is, people meme watch the fuck out of the movie. So they thought, oh, people really love this movie. No, people were meme watching the shit out of it on Netflix, bro. Yes, the movie became #1 on Netflix. So Sony thought that, oh, people really love this movie. Let's re-release it in theaters. And that shit didn't go anywhere.
Didn't they
because people were meme watching it.
Time Spider-Man, the Spider-Man 3 was coming out, the third
people
one.
Were laughing at it,
that
bro.
Time, right? So,
yeah, people were laughing at that shit. People are laughing at Morbius. I still haven't even watched it.
No.
Speaking of which, they need to give us some Spider-Man movie news. It's been too long.
Bro, I don't know what's going on with Craven, bro. Like, I want to like the Craven. Like, it looks cool, but I think it would have been better as a standalone like movie and not Craven.
My question is, who is even asking for a Craven movie?
Who asked for Morbius? Who asked for Morbius?
Higher ups at Sony with their fucking heads up their asses.
Yeah.
Like, I understand Venom because everyone knows Venom, but not the average
bro
person.
Listen, I don't mind Venom, but you can't have a Venom story without the inclusion of Spider-Man. You can't.
He's essential. He's essential to the Venom origin story.
That's facts. But I think the success of the MCU had them like thinking that they could just release a film like Morbius. But like
no, it's not even MCU. That's the funny thing. That Morbius is not an MCU movie. It's an MCU adjacent movie, which is a Sony Marvel picture.
It seems like they're gonna tie it in like the whole multiverse thing. It feels like that's what they're gonna do.
That's exactly what they're gonna do because Vulture is in Morbius. He was at the end credit scene of Morbius, and he was in the Spider-Man movies that were in the MCU. And apparently, he got transferred to another universe, and that's how they're gonna explain him and Morbius teaming up together and all this bullshit. But again, I think that project is crap.
Yeah,
it feels like
this whole multiverse shit and multiple universes.
Confusing.
They got them a little too excited.
It feels like they're setting up some kind of multiversal Sinister Six situation.
Guys, welcome to Nerd Actual, a weekly podcast covering all things. And Jesus Christ, what are we doing?
Maury has nothing. You have a Spider Venom right behind you, and you have nothing to say about Spider-Man.
That is fire, though.
Got all 19 inches of him, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, that was pretty much it. Germ, let's kind of switch things up a little bit. We got a rapid fire section. What are some rapid fire news?
I was gonna say this has been a dope episode so far. Like straight up.
Sure.
I love the topics we go over every week. So rapid fire though this week, we have Square Enix announced that Foam Stars is now officially becoming free to play in October. Its biggest flop of last year, this year apparently.
Oh, really?
And then news out of Banjo-Kazooie, the 64 version has been decompiled and it's opening the door for PC ports. So Banjo-Kazooie might be coming to Steam. And Nintendo made an announcement saying that they are ending repair support for the new Nintendo 3DSs. So apparently the reason being, they say they're out of parts. They don't have any more parts for the 3DSs. And they said within the next 12 months, they will be out of 2DS parts as well. So they're pretty much just straight up going to the next generation here. And news out of Bungie, the Marathon game director Chris Barrett has been fired due to misconduct investigation allegations, especially sexual misconduct allegations. No surprise there. We all know how we feel about Bungie. I think it was a Hades. He called it the culture of there is just bad.
Take a shot when someone from a AAA game studio is fired for sexual misconduct allegations, bro. And everyone's hammered by the end of the week.
News out of The Witcher 4. Witcher 4 is moving into full production on the back of 88% profits growth out of CG Projekt Red off of Cyberpunk sales. So they're having a good year. CG Projekt Red.
That's good. That's good. I'm glad they were able to turn it around with Cyberpunk, honestly, because
plus now they have a guest release, right?
Flop is putting it lightly.
Yeah, they had tons of refunds, right?
Yes. So PlayStation took it off of their market, their storefront.
Did they refund everybody?
I think they did.
No, if you wanted to, you were able to.
Yeah.
Wow.
But a lot of people didn't.
Was it CD Projekt Red? Like they have a good year coming up. They have obviously they're working on Witcher. They have a guest character in Strive coming up, and CD Projekt Cyberpunk's doing well. They have the anime on Netflix. They're looking good. They're in a great place. And now we are in our rumor mails this week. We have a return. A video game we were talking about earlier. The video game based on the Batman film with Robert Pattinson. There's a game rumored to be in development. Which they say the Penguin show that they're just putting out. It's going to be coming out here shortly. So it seems like they're really pushing that.
It's on Max.
Yeah, it's going to be on Max. But also James Gunn.
Yeah, I piggyback what Harless said. It's a great universe. So I hope they keep building on it. I love it.
Yeah. But like I said, James Gunn did say that's not happening because he was recently asked about that game. And he said no. But again, like Jake said, that's what I would say if I were actually working on a game.
Yeah.
So there's that.
And reports are coming out that Sony is going to have a state of play this month. And reports are saying that there was going to be details about the Astrobot release, Dynasty Warriors Origins, Monster Hunter Wilds, and the PlayStation 5 Pro release date and details.
Okay.
And then we have one more last rumor. We have Chris McGabe, the Overwatch 2 product manager, as of 2024, is heading up an unannounced RPG/FPS game by Blizzard Entertainment. So, exciting news. What does that mean? RPG FPS. What kind of a game is that?
We've seen some RPG
like cyberpunk or
there you
go.
Yeah.
I would say like Mass Effect's third person, but Deus Ex, I guess, is probably the best example.
Yes, Deus Ex is definitely up there as well. So those games along those lines.
Narrative experience, or it'll be co-op. This seems to be Blizzard's thing. There's nothing but co-op type games. So
it'd be interesting if they did, because aren't they the ones that
basically
made
a StarCraft Ghost?
StarCraft Ghost. What a rest in peace. I wonder if that game will ever come back. Is StarCraft still a big enough IP for it to carry something like that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
there was rumors floating around last year about StarCraft 3 being in like full swing production, ready for an announcement, and that the only reason we haven't heard about that game is because Microsoft just wants to fit it into their upcoming like 25, 26, 27 schedule.
I'm surprised we never saw that character end up. I know it's been a skin in Overwatch, but in like some other guest capacity in other games.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's definitely a meme thing. Like if that character was to appear in Fortnite, it probably would, become a meme.
Fucking pour one out for Blizzard Warcraft. Can you believe there's a Warcraft expansion came out this week and like nobody gives a fuck?
Nobody said anything about
It's
it.
fucking crazy.
A member of the
right.
X Element team said that this is probably the best expansion yet. And I was like, better than Lynch King? And he's like, yeah, probably. I was like, wow, bold statement.
Yeah.
Bold statement.
Mhm.
Because Lich King, Wrath of the Lich King, that's like some of the best.
I'm still mortified that they never did Warcraft 4 on the heels of like World of Warcraft success. I was a Warcraft 3 fanatic, dude.
I'm
Showing my age
surprised
here.
not more pushes to make Warcraft in other genres. Like League of Legends does that. They seem to pour the League of Legends heroes into everything. So I'm surprised Blizzard's never done that with World of Warcraft. It's like, I don't know what it would be cool to have like sort of we were talking about earlier, Visions of Mana type expansion like that, but World of Warcraft, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, for sure. Every time they do it, they just do it. It's fucking Activision, man. Mobile games. They got 1,000 different Warcraft things you can play,
There has
and they're
to
all
be
on
some
fucking mobile.
PvP element in it, or it's not. They don't want to make it. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, guys. But yeah, that's
Swanky
pretty
said
much
in the
it.
chat, Hearthstone is built off of World of Warcraft, which
It
is true.
is, but
Yeah.
that's like the one example. You know.
Oh, we got a new first time chatter in here. Ham mods.
Ham
Who
mods.
is-
Ham.
That's my dog. That's my
Hell
dog.
yeah.
Ham mods. How you doing,
welcome
baby?
in. Welcome in. Welcome in.
Welcome.
Well,
What's
yeah.
the question of the week this week? What do we feel? I think maybe it should be retro game related since we had the GameStop story.
That's kind of what I was leaning towards, which is like, what's your favorite retro game? Are we gonna say retro I think retro console. Retro game is too broad.
Yeah.
What's your favorite retro console is gonna be the question. But let's look at the question of the week from last week and see what the chat had to say.
Just to
Hold up,
clarify,
hold up.
what is considered
Mhm.
retro console?
No. I have the whole question out. You have to pick between GameCube, PlayStation 2, Xbox, or Dreamcast.
Listen,
No, you can't
yeah.
have like no NES or Sega Genesis.
Right,
or
NES
fucking
has to
Super
be there.
Nintendo.
NES has to be there, bro.
N64.
And you could
And
throw in
any-
the Game Boys.
Bro,
as
I feel like
retro.
NES
PlayStation
deserves
1?
a place. PlayStation
Too broad.
We got to pick a sliver of time.
Okay, you could say a Game Boy Advance is considered retro. You
Yeah,
could
and that's
easily
why
throw
this
that in
list
there.
would
Wait, does it have to be does it have to be
have-
multiple choice, or can you have people leave like a fill in the blank?
They can comment if they want to.
Oh,
Yeah, but we have options there. That's how that works.
NES should be in there though. NES.
NES has to be there, bro.
Yeah.
NES has to be
Head
there.
Mod-
mods, Dreamcast is retro. I'm old now.
Who said that?
Wonder Swan.
How about like we define it even more, like retro company? Like retro companies would be like Nintendo, Sega.
I think retro console is more engaging, no?
I think so.
PlayStation.
I just think, remember that like 20-something years ago when you either had all your friends either had a GameCube, they either had a PlayStation 2, they either had an N64, or they had a GameCube. So I just that's where I kind of think of the question at.
Bro said
Mhm.
GameCube twice.
For me,
I said
said
GameCube twice.
earlier, I
Your age is showing. Your age is
Yeah,
showing.
old ass. Pushing 50, motherfucker. All of you bitches.
I said it earlier. I think anything from a PlayStation 3 forward is not retro. Anything PlayStation 2, maybe back, yeah, that's retro.
Would you say anything 360 is not retro?
It's within the
Nah,
last.
I feel like bro. I feel
I'm
like
calling
360 is
PS3
retro.
360 retro these days.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
retro. I'm sorry, it's retro.
No, I just don't feel like we're that far.
How
enough
long
to
ago?
move.
How long ago is that, Germ?
Is,
Over
what,
a
15
decade
years?
ago. Over a decade ago. Well,
When
because
was
you
the-
have-
That
Wait,
is not
Xbox.
retro. Retro
Xbox.
is like
It launched
360.
Xbox 360 launched in 2005. So if we're calling
That's
20
fucking
years
retro. I'm sorry. I was
It's
in.
19
I was
years.
in. No, yeah.
Cameo
yes,
Elements of Power and Perfect Dark Zero are retro games. Maybe.
retro, bro. Those are retro. That's
Maybe,
retro.
maybe you could argue that some of those newer games, like it's tough to call, like I don't know, like Mass Effect 3 doesn't really feel like a retro game, but
Yeah.
like Call
Yeah,
of
'cause
Duty 2 does. You know, it's tough.
it's like Gears. The Gears games. Those aren't retro, are they? Those are not retro.
Gears
games.
1 is.
Gears 1 is retro.
I would say Gears 1 is retro.
Yeah.
Fuck, that hurts. I feel
2006
like every
maybe?
time
Was
I
that
say it,
2006?
I feel like a little bit of my life
Is
just leaves
Halo-
my
is
body,
Halo
bro.
When Gears of War
3
1 came out.
considered a retro
That shit
Huh?
is retro.
Is Halo 3?
You were in what?
I was in 8th grade when Gears
Yeah,
of War.
me too. Me too.
Yeah, Halo 3 is
No,
pushing.
I
Like,
was in
I would say like
ninth
the
grade.
Halo 3
Ninth
should
grade,
be
yeah.
the point. Like if it came out before Halo 3, it's retro. If it came out after, it's not.
That's what I'm saying. Halo 3, I would not consider a
2007.
retro title. So I don't know. It's
2007.
where do
That's
we
like
fall
18,
here?
17, 18 years.
Yeah.
Nah,
Like,
bro. I feel like the
God of-
360 need to be there.
Like
How
God
many-
of War 2,
Mhm.
could that be? That's kind of that would be the cutoff.
That's
God of War
retro.
2 is
That's
retro.
God of War
end of
2
the-
is
God of War
retro
2 is
for
retro.
sure.
Retro.
PS2.
God of War,
Oh yeah.
bro. God of War 3 feels retro to me.
Fun fact.
3 is also. I think 2007 is where we're landing. Like 2007 is that line, dude.
Hold on.
Because I'm pretty
Fun-
sure God of War 3 is 2007.
God of War 2 came out right at the very end of the PlayStation 2 cycle. So that for
Yes.
me, that's kind of the cutoff for retro. Right at the very end.
All right, is
Like, PlayStation 3 came
Portal
out-
1 retro?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
listen.
Is
Fun fact.
BioShock retro?
First time
Yes.
I ever in my life ever seen the God of War series or franchise IP ever in my life. I was backstage at a Green Day concert, and they just
Oh,
had
really?
it set up. They just had it set up, and they were playing God of War.
Oh wow,
Yep.
So then for
Yo,
GameCube,
2007 is definitely retro.
so then for
Yeah.
Nintendo,
that's retro.
like Resident
I'm
Evil
still in
4,
school. I'm still in high school. It's
Man,
retro.
12 years and beyond is retro. Anything older than 12 years is retro.
Yeah.
In
older than
technology,
12 years.
in technology, only in technology, because it evolves so fast. In other things, in other mediums, it's not the same. But in technology,
Listen,
Anything
man,
that's
I'll hear
12
it.
years old
You
is
ready for some? You ready for some 2012 retro or not? Ready?
What?
Yeah.
Borderlands.
Retro.
retro,
Yeah, see,
Retro.
that's not retro. No. It's
Yeah.
not.
retro.
Jeremy's having a hard time
Not retro.
adjusting.
Nope, it's not.
Jerm's mad.
No,
Jerm's
no,
mad,
no,
bro.
no.
All right,
It's
I
not-
lied. It's Borderlands 2.
wait,
Max
let me-
Payne
let-
3.
Let me throw one out there.
Retro.
Resident
Pain
Evil 4.
in itself is
Retro.
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 Resident
Max
Evil
Payne
Far
2.
Cry
Four?
3.
Retro.
No.
Far Cry.
Far Cry
Far
3.
Cry?
Halo
retro.
4.
Retro.
No.
Halo
it's not
4, I
retro.
don't know. Halo 4, I
No,
don't
no,
know.
wait, Jerem. Did you just ask?
Call of Duty
if
Black
what game?
Ops 2.
Oh, wait,
Retro.
Resident Evil 4.
Retro as fuck.
Resident Evil 4 on the GameCube. Is that considered retro?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's not a retro
you saying
title.
that?
Yes, it is, bro.
GameCube.
Sure.
This
That
man
is
said
a
GameCube.
100%.
That's a
That's
retro.
a 2004 video game. That's 20 years old. That is retro by any
Man
definition.
said it's 3:30 on my sundial. Is that retro? Yeah, buddy, it's retro.
I don't know.
I think I'm in.
Man, how the years have flown by. Those games felt like they're literally yesterday.
All right, new rule is Wii U or prior, dude.
Yes, yes,
Wii U or prior is crazy.
yes,
I'm
yes.
okay with that. I'm okay with
holding-
that.
With
I'm
how
holding
fast
strong.
technology
I'm holding
evolves,
strong.
Wii U or prior
I'm
makes
okay.
sense.
I'm okay with that.
And
I
in
am
3
holding
years, we're going
strong
to be
on
saying
PlayStation
Nintendo
3.
Switch or prior.
I'm holding strong on PlayStation 3 are back. Like anything up to the
Star
PlayStation
Wars
3
Outlaws, is it retro or not?
Yes, it's retro.
Feels retro.
No.
I mean, the
retro.
setting.
Kind of
The
retro,
setting.
dude.
That's crazy. Man said it might as well have just been a PlayStation 2 game.
We were just talking about Power Stone earlier. Power Stone, is that a retro? That's a retro title, right?
Power
Yeah.
Stone's retro. Yeah, it's Dreamcast. That's
Yo.
like 2001. That's
Yo,
extremely
honestly,
retro.
Ham, if I'm being real, the Wii is retro.
Wii is retro.
The Wii's retro.
Oh,
Wii
yeah,
is
Wii is
We
retro.
got nunchucks. We living in a world with nunchucks. Do you see anyone with nunchucks anymore? Nobody
sure.
got nunchucks.
Nah, he's right.
Wii is
He's
retro.
spitting.
Super Mario
Retro.
Galaxy, that's a retro game.
Yep,
Yeah.
it is.
Shit came out in a collection.
Yo, what's that game? Was it Last of Us? They came out with the game, then a few years later came out.
Last of Us 2, that's fucking retro.
Retro.
Remastered for PlayStation
Retro.
5.
Retro.
Bro,
Wow.
bro, I still find it funny that they did that, bro. They made a game and then made a remaster the following year.
Yeah,
Pretty
for sure.
much.
Game wasn't even good, dude.
Yeah. Really okay. Really okay video game.
It's like just
God.
say shit and wait for reactions.
Yeah, I was blown by that. That blew the fuck out of me. But
Fun fact: The Last of Us 2 is the #1 most award-winning game across, publications of all time. It's got the most
Okay.
awards.
You know what the
All right.
highest selling game
Award
of
for
all time
most
is? You know
fumbled
what the highest
sequel.
selling piece of media of all time is?
GTA 5.
GTA
You
5.
didn't give him a chance to get it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is.
Is that a
Across
retro
any
game?
media-
Wait,
more
hold
than
on.
any album, more than any movie, more than any video game.
Is that a retro game? That is
Yes.
literally
Fuck yes.
10, 12
Oh
years
Yes.
old.
yeah, GTA
Yes.
5 retro.
GTA 5 came out on 360, bro. What are we
Guys,
talking about?
Guys, listen, I'm gonna have a stroke if someone asks is it retro or not for one more fucking game. Can we get to the fucking weekly question? Fuck.
Mori's age. Is Mori
Oh, man.
retro?
Nah, this is bullshit. No,
Mori
you
retro, dude.
This is
Maury-
why you old motherfuckers are bitter. That's why we're fighting over what's retro or not. Because you guys are like, well, I was like 20 then. That was a long time ago, motherfucker. You're getting up there.
Hey, you were selling
the
pop
last
figures at
topic-
GameStop. I was selling Nintendo 64 games.
That's
The last
crazy.
perspective. The
That's
last
crazy.
to close that
Yeah.
out. When I played Street Fighter 2 for the first time in 1994, I was 7 years old. So it's just yeah. I'm an old gamer, bros.
So what's the question of the week?
What's
So
the
before we get into the question of the week, this is where people landed on the question of the week last week, which is Concord getting unfairly judged? 50% said agreed, strongly agreed. We have agreed at 17%, and then we have a neutral at 33%.
And
So
nobody
I don't know.
disagreed. Nobody disagreed.
Nobody
That's
disagreed.
awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That
Nobody
that's
disagreed.
a lot of faith. That gives me a lot of faith in the community. Because if someone would have had disagree put down, we would have had a conversation right now. We would have.
He said, "I'm getting tired, but we can keep this stream going."
Oh,
Maury,
dead
you
ass.
got one vote for agree.
I didn't vote.
Okay. Yeah, we have we are very impartial here. I love it.
Mhm. But yeah, so let's talk about the question of the week. And that's the funny part. That's what we were talking about.
How
and we
about let's
kinda
make that
just-
the question? What is considered retro? Like, and
I
put
like that.
eras in there.
I like
Put
that a
eras.
lot.
I like
like
that.
eras
a
in there.
lot.
I like
What
that.
is? Let's make that the question.
And we
So,
can just do increments of what, like 4,
Generation,
8,
yeah.
12, 16,
Maybe console
20?
generation.
Yeah.
I
so
feel like.
generation 1 would be like Atari, Super Nintendo,
What?
and then
I feel
generation
like we should
2.
go like
What?
You would-
How do
you
I
would go
phrase this
further-
question?
You would go closest. Like you
Further
go
to that.
PS4, Xbox One, I guess Switch, and then 360, PS3, Wii.
Oh
U.
yeah. What
Yeah, okay.
console?
Like
So what console generation is considered retro?
So
Yeah.
we're currently on
Yeah.
PlayStation 5, Xbox Series, and PC. It's kind of where we are, and Switch. That's where we are now, right?
Yeah.
So-
Honestly, if it's older than a PS4, it's retro.
So
Well, we're
That's
gonna let
right.
the audience decide, Heartless. Thanks for letting us know what you're voting on. God damn it, Heartless.
Okay, okay, okay,
damn it.
okay, okay,
So
okay.
where are
I
we
hear you.
starting?
Damn it.
Where are we starting? Where are we starting from?
the
PS4
Are we
previous
starting from
generation
PS4?
would be PlayStation 4, Xbox. What
Xbox
was the last Xbox?
Xbox One, Xbox One.
And
So PS4 and
Wii U.
Xbox
Wii
360.
U.
No,
I would say
it's PS-
put Switch in there. It's not the Wii U, it's Switch.
So we're gonna say PS4 and Xbox One because they're gonna be the same generation. Like,
That's
let's
fine.
keep it. They're the same generation. So PS4 and Xbox
I think you could
One.
actually leave Nintendo consoles out of it for simplicity's sake
Yeah.
until you get to the GameCube, Xbox, PS2 era,
Sure,
because
sure.
they're mid-generational for the Wii U and the. Well, I guess you could actually just leave the Wii U out.
games,
Switch
the,
out.
the 3DS is kind of
Xbox
like
One
all-
era.
We're gonna bring the 3DS.
You start
into this
adding
now?
PlayStation Vita and fucking 3DS
What's
in
the other
there, so
one?
you get all
PS3?
janky.
PS3, Xbox
PS3,
360.
Xbox 360, and GameCube.
What about the
That's
PlayStation?
that
Wii.
era.
No,
Yo,
no,
is
Wii.
the PlayStation Vita
PS3,
retro?
360, Wii, and then it's GameCube, Xbox, PS2.
Yes.
Yo, I had a GameCube. I love that shit.
So yeah,
Xbox.
so then the
Oh,
next
yeah.
one would
I
be
still have a
PlayStation
GameCube.
2, Xbox, and the Dreamcast.
GameCube.
That's all that same era, or is that?
No.
or
No,
Dreamcast
GameCube is
a
the
little before that?
multi-platform.
Yeah.
Dreamcast is
So,
like early 2000s.
Xbox
so-
360, PS2.
I had a
Dreamcast could
Dreamcast
actually be a part of it,
1999.
honestly.
Dreamcast.
But
Could be.
Dreamcast is a mess. It gets into Wii U
Dreamcast-
territory.
It's indeed retro though.
Goes in line with PlayStation 1, no?
It's
Say
it's
what?
in between. Its closest release counterpart is the PlayStation 2. That Sega Dreamcast is like 6 months in a DVD player away from changing the world of video games.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking crazy. Like statistically,
yeah.
like
The
that's why the
web
PS2
browser
came out
on
and
it.
smoked it.
It had a web browser.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a little Tamagotchi character. Like those
Oh, I just realized that you guys aren't seeing what the fuck I'm
No,
writing.
we're
Give me a
seeing the
second.
last week's episode.
No, that's because I thought I was on because I had 2 pages open that are practically the same
So
thing.
can we agree that anything that's like PlayStation 1 and back, that's all like one category, right?
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
So
So
PlayStation
so
1
That's-
to
I think we should
64.
stop there. We should actually just stop there.
That's actually fine. I think so.
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah.
PS1.
Anything
I don't think
older than
PS1 and
PlayStation
back
2 is
era is up
obviously
for.
yeah,
After that, it's PS1 64, which is nobody's going to argue that is now retro.
exactly.
exactly. Well, true. You're agreed. So yeah, because this is the era that we kind of like had an issue with. You're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's the right way to do it.
The correct answer is obviously B.
I'm with you.
Chat, go in
Cool.
there
I'm with
and put your votes in.
So
Interesting.
chat, it's now live. Go over there and vote, please. Gamer
Can you
Action.
drop the link in the chat?
YouTube.com. I'm about to.
Yeah, please and thank you.
Crazy. That I think that's gonna be the hottest like question we've ever asked.
Guys, don't you think that our shows are getting so fucking like amazing, guys?
Straight up.
Don't y'all
My
think?
back doesn't think that.
Your back doesn't think that. Wow, because
Your
you've been sitting
back.
for 3.5 hours. I
I've
get
been
it.
sitting for 3.5 hours.
I get it.
This might be our longest episode yet. 3.5 hours.
I think so.
It
We
might
broke
be.
it. I
Is it
blame
me?
Jake.
I think it's me,
I blame
right?
Jake. I blame Jake. I blame Jake.
Yeah. You invited a fucking yapper on.
Oh no. I love that shit. I love
Yeah,
it.
no, we love it.
We're
We
all
love it.
I love that
yappers.
shit.
We're all yappers.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Like, look at
Settle in
the
when
tangent
Jake
we
is the
just went
guest.
on.
No, I
Look
could
at
always
the
go for a
tangent.
good old couple.
Yeah,
of
we just
No.
literally spent the last 30 minutes arguing retro games.
All right. So, Heartless, we are about to swing it over to you.
All right, yo,
Let the people know what
chat,
they need to
listen.
do. Before we go that, well, let's just read this last comment from Mod. Let's give Mod some love because Mod's been in the chat engaging with us. Yo, my favorite game of all time came out in December 1999. So I guess I'm old and can't reliably say what retro is.
What is
Okay.
that game? I have to
For,
know.
for the record,
What?
I was 2 months old.
Motherfucker.
Yeah, so you can't argue.
1999,
You don't even you
I
don't
was
even get to
12.
join the argument.
No.
No, I don't. I don't.
In
I was
1999,
nine.
You don't even have object permanence. So
99, I was 9.
Quake 3.
that's
Wow.
crazy.
God damn. Motherfucker pushing 50.
Based.
Sorry. Anyway. Fucking
Anyways.
affiliate links.
Heartless, please take it away before this goes off the rails again. Please.
First of all, I want to say shout out to Jake specifically. Everyone else go fuck themselves. Just kidding. Shout out to everybody here. You guys are incredible. What an excellent panel of people to discuss video games with. You guys are incredible. Shout out to Jake, Maury, Cash, Germ. Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to everyone involved. Shout out to all the viewers. We are gonna
on YouTube as well, because I just realized that we have viewers on YouTube. But goddamn,
That's what's up. We neglected them all night. We are horrendous, but you love us.
Yes.
So let's get on with it. The first affiliate link of the night is Origin PC. I think I'm getting used to these by now. Let's get it going. Are you trying to build the ultimate gaming PC? Then look no further than Origin PC. They are an award-winning PC building company, whether you're a gamer or a professional gamer. Origin PC has you covered. Check them out by clicking the link in the show notes or the description of this podcast. Also, this is an affiliate link, so any qualifying purchase will result in us getting a commission at no extra cost to you guys. The next one is GameFly. If you are looking for the ultimate gaming experience without breaking the bank, with GameFly, you can rent discs hassle-free, dive into unlimited gaming, and snag great deals on used games and movies. Use GameFly to check out games on your terms. If you're not so sure about a game, you can check it out. And then once you are sure, you can buy it outright at a discounted price or send it back with no problem. If you want to pause your subscription, you can do that too. GameFly makes it easy to check out games however you want. So just click the link in the show notes to get started. Honestly, I have not seen an ad for GameFly. We are the only people promoting GameFly in the year 2024.
They need to do something with us.
They need to do something.
Or-
They need to do something. Anyways, I can't keep pouring all this energy and finding out that I'm the old. I look like Will Smith in the end of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
But Heartless, you could be keeping GameFly in business. you
I
know?
could be, but they're not paying me.
Yeah.
And the next one, the last one. Fanatical is the one-stop shop for over 1 million passionate gamers like you. Whether you are craving the latest AAA title, hunting for indie gems, or searching for incredible deals on your favorite games, Fanatical has you covered. With a massive selection and unbeatable prices, you are sure to get your gaming fix met. Just click the link in the show notes of this podcast. I love you guys.
Yeah, bro. Have a
Woo!
good night, chat. Have a good night. Tonight was dope. Tonight was amazing as always. Thank you to Jake. Thank you to Germ, friggin' Maury,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Heartless. Yeah, Jake.
Thank you
I'm
guys for
telling
having
you,
me
bro.
again.
Yo, do you want to be
Straight
full
up.
time, bro?
Back,
If you want to
bro.
be full time, let us know, bro.
I want to get on here as much as I can. We should talk about it.
We
It's a
can
really good element to have on the show.
double you your guest salary right now.
Let's
can tell
get
that right
that
now.
fine print worked out. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to go a month without being on this show. If that ever happens, it's been far too long.
Yeah. Thank
That's
It's
you.
an honor to
fucking
have
dope.
you.
And
Thank
I'm glad that you enjoy like coming in and just like enjoying
Oh,
being on the
dude.
show as
What
well.
I
I
love chopping it
enjoy
up with you guys about this shit.
Is that you like retro titles? Like seriously, I've been facing daggers.
You
from
know what
these
I
folks
enjoy?
Ever now? You
That
have
he and
appreciation
Maury-
for this gaming.
If we're being honest, guys, I'm the support role here. Cash, Jared, Maury, and Jake, they actually have such a passion for some of these studios, some of these companies, some of these series, some of these exclusives. And they, like when Jake was talking earlier, like I know like he's not bullshitting. He knows what he's talking about because he
Mm.
actually cares about this shit. And it
Mhm.
is really cool. And I love to have that energy on the show. And it makes us all a better team. Straight up.
For sure,
Straight
for
up.
sure.
Dude, that,
Hey,
hell yeah.
Just for the record, we couldn't do it without our anchor, Heartless. I love you, big dog. You're
I
the
love
best.
you guys. I'm here for
Hell yeah.
I'm here for like the comedic value.
You're the comedy relief.
That's what
You're
I
the
am.
comedic relief.
Heartless is the voice of reason when we start getting too passionate up in
You
this
know,
place.
sometimes when we start talking about business models, you know, I have takes and I understand certain things, but when it comes to the passion behind these companies and these teams behind these games, yo, Cash could tell you every fucking X-Men game there is, every
Mhm.
iteration of Wolverine in a video game. You know, it's like
I mean, I'm big on
big
video
thing
game
here
history
is
in general.
naming Star Wars planets.
That's real. That's real.
You don't even know like half my power. I can keep going. There's not in the game.
Individual Star Wars planets.
Did you mention
Yeah.
Jakku? I think
The
you
name's
did mention
right.
Jakku.
No, they're not in the game. We can get Jakku. We can start going Naboo, bro. I can keep it
Yeah.
going.
Oh yeah.
Mon Cal.
hmm
Oof.
I'm surprised you guys
deep
knew the
pull.
name of the main star, the main lady in Outlaws. Like that, what a weird name. I would not remember that.
K Vest, dude.
Hey, Vest, yeah.
Nix, ND5.
We've gotten weirder characters. Trust me when I tell you, bro. They've been weirder characters in Star Wars. I promise.
Just for the
you.
record, Greedo shot first. If you watch,
And
the
for
film.
anyone that's
I
mad,
don't have a fucking horse in that race.
anyone that's mad that there's pronouns in Concord, just remember R2D2. Is a
Thank
hip.
you, bro. Thank
Is a
you,
hip.
bro. God, he's spitting.
What about Heart2D2 is a what?
There have been people saying, "Why are there pronouns on robots in
Well,
Concord?"
Well,
No,
Heart2D2
they were
is
not
a
even that-
him. He's a fucking robot.
They were not even. No, they call him a C-3PO him. They refer
Yeah.
to him as him. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
the
he's
funniest.
gendered.
I,
There was no one.
I never
ever
even noticed that, to
that.
be honest. 'Cause that's never been like topic of discussion or any kind of
No,
hold any stake in my mind whatsoever.
Dude,
I don't give a fuck.
If you have a problem with it, I get it, but let's not forget that we have been gendering robots for 40 something years, and no one batted an eye.
the best part was
I
Heartless.
care.
Heartless gave them so much more credit than they deserved. The exact quote was, "Why are they pronouncing the robot?" That's not a sentence, you fucking moron. I'm sorry.
I just want to say, I want everyone to ask Siri a question right now. What its voice is gonna sound like a female, right? So whatever.
You can change that in the settings though.
Yeah, but no one's gonna, right?
But they're still gendered.
Yeah, they are. Well, yeah. Overall, guys, tonight was fucking awesome as always, man. And
Oh,
Jake,
always, man.
again, do not play that Marvel vs. Capcom game without me. If you're
Oh,
gonna
I'm
do
going
like
in
a
for sure.
breakdown,
You gotta
if you're
do
gonna
it.
do a breakdown,
Mhm.
we're gonna fucking We're gonna do it together.
I'm looking
yeah.
forward to seeing you guys on the Power Stone streets because that's gonna be a walk down.
Oh fuck yeah!
It's gonna happen. It's
Can't
gonna
wait.
happen.
I played
By
that
the way,
game back on
This
the
is my shirt.
arcade.
This is my shirt. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Born to game, forced to work.
There we go. That's
Born to piss, forced to shit.
But yeah, we're gonna raid out to the homie Jolty J. He's playing Guilty Gear Strive right now.
Strive this time. What's up?
Yeah, that's the homie in real life. He was
Everyone.
actually at the crib just before we started the podcast.
Everyone asked him
Sick.
about his Victrix because those.
Yeah, he got a Vitrix. So he came to my house to get the Vitrix because I
have
collected
one
the
of those
Vitrix.
too.
I collected the Vitrix
Great.
from Pinksy today.
Very nice.
Oh yeah.
So I saw a bunch of friends that I rock with on Twitch today, one time.
We're gonna get him
That's actually
sponsored
sick.
by Victrix by the end of this stream because you're gonna just shout it out.
But yo, again, thank you guys. That was dope. Jake, when are you streaming again? Also, let the people know where they can find you before we get out.
Bro, I'm so easy. You can just find me at amazingstreamer.com. It'll get you everywhere you need to go. You're an adult. You'll find me. I'm Jake Twitchin. When am I streaming again? Literally every day.
Heartless, what about you?
I'm sorry. You asked me when I'm streaming next.
When are you streaming next, or where can the people find you?
Check me out primarily at whatever the Twitch thing is, at the Heartless_99. I love to play some Street Fighter and shooting games and some other stuff. I'll be on tomorrow.
Okay, Mori, because the biggest
number
Concord
one.
streamer,
Number one.
the number one Concord streamer.
Dude, yeah, I might be the number one Concord streamer, but you guys are number one in my heart. GWTmori, you can find me everywhere under GWTmori. It's a good time, and I'll be streaming again tomorrow probably.
There we go. Jerm, what about you?
You can find me. I don't stream that often, but you can find me supporting the X Element team players once a week through various streams on my channel. And I'm also currently building a YouTube FGC lore channel. I'm currently about a third way through of the content that I'm looking to make.
Guys, you're on my channel, so you know where the fuck to find me. Just hit a follow if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.
Bring back
Right
Soul
on the-
Calibur.
Wait, did you tell them about the
Yeah, Jake did.
Okay. Cool. I had to make sure we didn't forget
missed that.
Can't leave that
Just
out.
missed
Can't leave that out.
Hold up. I'm going to switch over to here, and then we could